I think we should replace Leicester City Council with an elderly Polish couple.
Damn straight. They weren't even elderly.
Well, I'd still go for the elderly Polish couple. Okay, I'm going to turn on CATSMANBOT. It takes a while to warm up. Anybody see Dom and Shiny? They're supposed to be joining us right now.
Is that a rhetorical question? Obviously, I don't see them. Like,
well, as what I mean is anybody like, you know, they've left vapor trails that anybody can see sort of carved out into the sky?
Can you smell them?
Let me just look out the window.
I haven't talked to anyone today.
No.
I don't know.
No, I don't.
I imagine Dom smells like fight sticks and Shiny smells like quinoa.
Quinoa.
Yeah, that's what I said. Quinoa.
No, that's a Final Fantasy character.
No, it's not. It's like an ethnic food that
like
the middle class stole.
It's a pulse, I think.
I think I got quinoa.
I got Quistis and Renoa mixed up in my head, I think.
Happens to the best of us.
Fuck you, CATSMAN.
Hey guys, it is what?
It's alive!
Oh no.
I have created artificial intelligence.
If you don't know, beep boop.
There you go.
What?
I
What did he
can't
say?
understand what he's saying.
What do you mean? It's just that really strong British accent that you can't understand.
I'm British.
I know decided they would cover an area almost 1,500 times the size of a few persistent issues. Beep boop.
Is he Irish?
It ends everything with beep boop.
So that you know it's the robot me and not the real me.
Yeah, like
Totally indistinguishable.
that's more of a robot Irish accent than a robot British accent.
But you know it's not Irish because it doesn't start every sentence with "top of the morning to ya, Blarney Blarney."
Someone put a bomb in me potato.
Eat me up, Nintendo.
I don't know what he's saying.
He said, "Hit me up, Bomtendo."
You're probably like making him say really funny stuff, but he's so bad that we can't understand him. Sorry.
What are you using for the voice on it? Like, that's not a normal text to speech, is it?
You created the first robot with a speech impediment.
CATSMANBOT is a highly sophisticated neural network that uses everything I've ever said as training data, put through a highly sophisticated text-to-speech algorithm running on a high-powered Linux server. Isn't that right?
The props are largely unchanged from the desolate wastes of a manual cover retro studio's new game is mostly a question of good timing. Beep boop.
Couldn't say it better myself.
Bape boop.
Beep boop.
Swear he sounds Irish.
Hi, Mike.
Hey, Mike.
Hey.
The digital shackles trademark and bullshit, and it constantly demands attention, asking to be particularly good. Beep boop.
Now it sounds like Everdark.
What?
Yeah, a little. I know what you mean.
Hold up.
Ask it. Make it ask me to play Path of Exile.
The truth is on fire.
Did you get it?
My house is on fire.
And look, this is the most sophisticated text-to-speech that I have access to.
Can you make it have a girl voice?
I'm
You gotta
sure
cool
you
it
will
on me.
you that you are, in fact, the game are carried by pretty graphics, witty dialogue, and celebrity voice actors haven't found in the studies.
It sounds like it's trying to like take down video game journalism and media, but I can't understand what it's telling me is bad about video games.
Video game journalism pretty much just did that to itself, though, didn't it?
Yeah,
I
but now
wish
we
it
have
did.
CATSMANBOT. I'm gonna get him to write me one article on Gather Your Party every week.
I think that's how you go Pomo with this.
Oh my... What is this fucking thing called? There's like a... Oh my god. A predictive text imitator. You put a bunch of text into it. Like, you could... like, for example, if I took all the articles on GYP and just put that in a text document and gave it to that thing, then it would write, like, new articles based on that shit.
That'd be great.
Oh my god, no, because it would be articles from when I was a terrible writer to when I was like a little bit lower than okay.
Yeah, and it would all be modeled up by a robot and made into an article.
There's something ever since
recommendation algorithm. Beep boop.
I don't understand. I'm sorry.
Hold up. Let me give it a pleasant North American dialect.
Please, please.
What does a North American dialect sound like, just so I can attune my ears
Like
to
this
it?
guy right here, huh? You know?
That's pretty sexy.
You gotta get real low down there.
It's kind of stored in a humble bundle a year or two backgrounds, which are used in which the kill mode. Then it must be prepared to sell me Grayman 2 before I get bored of it. It is time to remove them at the website and download executables and installers directly.
Well, I guess
and
it's stuck being British then.
Make you feel comfortable
Jesus
playing as characters of the game's approach to difficulty.
Shut up!
Keep blue.
Can you make it talk with a voice that is more understandable?
Yeah.
Can you give it an old man voice?
Like, I'd like to hear what it's saying, really.
Anyways, how are you guys doing? You know, I don't
I have
come up
too
to
much work. Mike, help me.
I don't come up to this neck of the internet woods a lot these days.
I'm doing the same bullshit I always do. Really,
I'm doing
change.
a lot of this. I'm doing a lot of that same shit too. I'm moving to a new city and I'm 30.
Ooh, 30.
Yeah.
Exotic.
I'm moving to Richmond.
I have heard of it.
Virginia?
It's the South, but it's not the deep South, and they all have this kind of
shallow South.
Yeah, it's the shallow South. It's the genteel South.
Nice.
Stereotypes about people with you know seersucker suits and like that weird kind of refined Southern accent. A lot of that kind of comes from Virginia because it was the capital of the Confederacy.
Is that where the Southern gentleman wearing an all-white suit stereotype comes from?
That and like
That's my
deep
favorite
South
stereotype.
plantation owners, yeah.
Yes.
But that was where the Confederate version of the White House was, and that's where still to this day you have people calling it the War of Northern Aggression, and only some of them are being ironic about that.
So, what are you doing moving there?
I'm moving in with my boyfriend.
Cool.
Sounds pretty gay.
It is. This is
this
is where life has brought me. I was CATSMAN caught me right in the middle. I was playing For Honor, and someone was telling me that you look like you fucking suck dick, and I'm like, I love sucking dick.
I love it when people do that, and then you come back and you just agree with them, and then they can't go anywhere with it. Are we gonna start or?
Yeah, we'll probably start soon.
We're going off field.
Can you have CATSMANBOT do the intro?
No.
Yes. Okay. I've made him Scottish. So let's see if this works.
God. Is he Glaswegian?
Also, why do restaurants invite carol singers so goddamn persistent? Beep boop.
No.
That was all right.
You can make him Scottish.
A word of that other than beep boop.
You can make him Scottish, but you can't make him American.
Okay, I'll make him American.
Maybe the American accent was just like a 1700s American accent that's the exact same as British. And that's why he talked like that.
The average price to unlock. Beep
That's
boop.
the American
That's
accent.
not that different.
Okay, well, in order to make him do the intro, I have to scoot my chair over to his control console. I'll keep him Scottish. I think that was the easiest to understand one.
I disagree.
The profound irony.
Make sure he says the word gobshite in the intro.
Hello and welcome to That's right. Rock me, baby. Baby. Rock me, baby. Baby. That's right.
Hello and welcome to Gentlemen Discussing Vidya. BROUGHT. I'm CATSMANBOT. With me today, CATSMAN.
Hiyo!
And? Is that it, or?
No. He's working.
We're all
He's
final
working. Give him time.
He's processing.
He is an
Just-
artist.
A one-man podcast.
One man and one robot podcast.
I listened to that.
A boy and his bot.
Good
Yeah,
fucking
but-
name. You got a concept right here. Oh, that's me. Hello.
H. Mike.
Hey.
BROUGHTt.
He's not here. I like that you you pronounced it
He'll be
Roosty.
back.
Roosty.
Saber Creek.
Roos-
I
Sandbox.
Hello.
Now,
Good work.
imagine you do not I book seats anymore. I can't stop using railway. Beep boop.
What?
You did well, CATSMANBOT.
You can't
Yeah.
stop using railway? What?
I guess I'll leave him alone for a moment and let him think about what he's done, and we will begin with... What do you guys want to begin with?
Oh, you can't do that to us.
What?
Cats.
What did I do?
I don't have a fucking Nintendo Switch and haven't played it, so I can't talk about Breath of the Wild, but I imagine all of you guys want to talk about that.
I don't have a Nintendo Switch, but I have played Breath of the Wild. My
Yeah.
prepared show and tell is all about how the voice acting in it is bad. But we can save that until we're talking about Breath of the Wild.
Well, in that case, I will go through all of the comments that we've gotten on the last 3 podcasts, which I
Let's
haven't
go.
read out.
Most of them are me.
Happy Man says, by the bones of Amunkara and the
And
many
the many
moons of
moons
Juju.
of Saturn, the Dungeon of Doom's monster truck is far superior to Hogan's.
Spec says DC's animated films are very good. They are. Oh, you
They
were
are.
just talking
Oh, yeah,
about that
yeah.
earlier. There you go. He also says he stabbed himself with a fork. And it's my fault.
Yeah, it was. I stabbed myself under the fingernail with a fork while I was washing up my cutlery, and it's
Jesus.
your fault,
Ugh.
Cats.
That is like my worst nightmare, stabbing myself under the fingernail.
Well, it's my reality. Thanks to you.
This comes with no warranty, this podcast. Express or implied warranty.
There's certain kind of injuries that just make you like writhe in pain thinking about them, like that. Like, someone being shot in the head, you can't relate to that. You don't go but if you
Yeah.
damage to like fingernails, you're always like, oh fuck, that sucks, because you can imagine
like
that.
getting a pimple on the inside of your ear.
That's
I
not
don't know
the
if
worst
you've
thing
ever
I
had
can
that.
think
No,
of.
but that
Yeah,
sucks.
no, that's pretty tricky. Yeah, I know that.
RD says, of the 61st episode, this was by far the best 61st episode of GDV to date. Loving the Animitch redemption arc. Of course, that arc is now over because I can't find him online. Haven't been able to find him the whole week. Maybe he's on holiday. Regarding Space Coast Coast to Coast,
Great show.
I think I've been conditioned to fall asleep to old Adult Swim shows because they were always on late at night. They used to air. They didn't actually air on Cartoon Network over here. When we had Sky TV, they aired on like some shitty cable channel like Bravo or
Yeah, I
something.
don't remember ever having.
But they just
Swim,
aired.
no.
They only ever aired, even when it was like 2008. They only ever aired Sea Lab, Space Ghost, Coast to Coast, and Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
That's
We
a pretty good selection, though.
We
Yeah,
had
Especially
Tsunami.
Toonami though. Do you remember Toonami?
I never saw Toonami. No.
Oh, Toonami was great.
Well, it's back
Had
now.
all the poorly dubbed anime from 4Kids' One Piece to Rave Master. Rave
Don't
Master
fucking
was
talk to me
great.
about 4Kids One Piece. I actually kind of like One Piece.
I really like One Piece. It's one of my favorites. And I got into it because of the 4Kids dub.
No way, that's amazing.
Yeah,
Actually.
I love the theme music as well. It's the best.
I remember on if we're talking about UK TV airings, they had The Simpsons at 6:00, and then they had Malcolm in the Middle at 6:30. That was the
Yeah,
best
I'm
one.
back.
Oh, those
Those
were
are
the best days.
that sounds like a great hour of TV.
That
Yeah.
was. I must have watched every episode of Malcolm in the Middle because it aired on Sky.
Malcolm in the Middle was really underappreciated in its time.
Such a good show.
Yeah, the entire show's on Netflix, so I watched through that the whole thing last year.
Yeah, I guess I'll binge all of it now that you've said that.
It was one of those things. I mean, even King of the Hill was really underappreciated in its time.
Regarding the council, Dirk Gently, he says, that's what happened with Red Dwarf. He says, Neil and Grant wrote a script that bounced around for ages before getting picked up because network executives are afraid of sci-fi comedy. They knew about the bias against sci-fi, tried to give the impression the entire show could be shot on BBC corridors and in the canteen.
Which is basically what the first series of Red Dwarf was. It was just in the
canteen. It was a bunch of plywood corridors that had been spray painted grey.
Yeah.
I return.
Hello,
Yay.
Rusty.
Did you start yet?
No.
Yes.
What did I miss so far?
Nothing.
Keep going.
That sounds like every podcast ever.
Bloom says, I think GDV should write and perform a TV script. What? Wait, which TV script? You mean like perform an episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia? Give me some more information, Bloom.
That could work.
I think he wants us to make a TV show about us.
That would be a terrible TV show.
Absolutely.
Which means
Most of Always Sunny is improv too.
Yeah, I can't do improv. I have to write all this shit down. He also says Bloodborne is better than Dark Souls 3.
I agree.
Yeah.
I haven't played Bloodborne. So
Dark Souls 3 is a really good game, but Bloodborne's better.
RD, I am going to tell you that Catsman isn't Jerry Seinfeld and that Happy Man isn't George Costanza.
Man.
Would you want to be George Costanza?
I mean, I wouldn't want to be George Costanza, but I'm not going to say that I'm not George Costanza.
I'm not going to compare you to George Costanza.
I think, no, Costanza is way more neurotic than I am.
Maybe you're Newman.
Animich is Newman.
Sigma says there better be some fucking skellies in this next episode.
There will be.
Yay!
Well, you do your skellies thing now, then.
No? Okay. Want to talk about Death from Castlevania?
Ooh!
Which one?
Just in general, the character, and the reason, I mean, he's pretty cool, but also I love that he's best friends with Dracula. It says in the Symphony of the Night, I think Bestiary, that Death is Dracula's close friend, which I think is really good.
I really like how Death's not even the final boss in Castlevania. It's like Dracula is more evil than Death.
Yeah, Death works for Dracula.
Yeah.
I still haven't gotten back past him in Castlevania 1.
Oh, neither have I.
Fuck
that.
Castlevania 1.
So that's actually my favourite level in Castlevania 1, because I worked out how to do it really well without getting hit at all, because it's so hard. And what you can do is there's one of the boomerang cross things in the room where if you die to death, you respawn in that room. And
you die to death.
If you die to death,
you die until you're dead.
You have just enough hearts if you go through just that level, I think, to then farm the skeletons in that area to get the 2+ power up, so you can throw more crosses, and then you've got enough to get through the long hallway where there's Medusa heads and the knights coming and stuff. And then death's not too hard if you got the boomerang.
So is this like a parlor trick that you bring out? Like, hey guys, I'm going to beat Death in Castlevania.
I'm going to beat the 5th level of Castlevania.
So that's easier than Holy Water, because that's a classic strategy he'll use.
I don't know. I don't think I ever had Holy Water to try it. I found this the easiest.
It's at the start of the area, so you only get one shot, really.
Yeah. Holy Water can stun lock him. So if you hit one, as long as you have the magic, you can just keep hitting him with it. You gotta trap him.
I didn't realise that Holy Water stunned Dracula until my second time playing through it. So I had a really tough time on Dracula the first time I played the game, and then second time through it, I was like, oh, Holy Water destroyed it.
Catsman brings up Castlevania as a parlor trick. I actually have a story about that. Shit, I don't know if I should mention. You guys know who he is. Yeah, Hexler, at a games convention we went to in 2013. My ex-girlfriend was also at that con, and he tried to impress her by speedrunning Castlevania 1, and he got stuck on Death and didn't finish it.
Oh, jeez.
So thanks,
That's-
Steph, you cockblock him.
There's a couple of missteps there.
Was he trying to impress your ex-girlfriend, or was he trying to impress himself?
You know what? It was actually probably himself, now that I think about it. I hope he doesn't get mad at me for telling that story.
I impressed a girl by playing Castlevania 1.
Really?
Yeah, she was already my friend though. So.
Oh.
They're making a Netflix are making a Castlevania series. Apparently.
Why?
Is it going to
Because
be live
everything
action
needs
and
to be a
have
Netflix
Felicia
series.
Day?
Yeah,
these days.
I think so. I think it's.
What?
I don't know. They have done anime. They did that.
And they're
Seven
still
Deadly
doing
Sins
anime.
thing, didn't they? So maybe they'll do it anime. I don't know. I've just heard
Death
they're doing
Note.
it.
Death Note.
Well, Death Note's live action.
This is
Oh, yeah.
this is why I really want to invent time travel so I can go back in time and warn myself. You know, Mike, when you were 14 and you thought it would be really cool that if they made a movie out of this video game, it'd be really dark and edgy. That you'd just get sick of that. That and comic book movies. Like I have thrown in the fucking towel for video game and comic book movies. I'm done.
Anyway.
I didn't watch. It was Avengers 2 when I fucking sat through that. I was just like, what am I doing?
The last one I liked was like X-Men First Class, and shortly after that I gave up.
I mean, as many problems as it kind of had, and how sort of blockbustery it got. Like the Christopher Nolan Batman movies, at least like took like some license with it.
They
Like
took
they're like-
risks and had an original identity
Respect.
that wasn't homogenous with respect to all of the other Batman stuff out there.
You know, the first movie was like a lot of the action is kind of it's crime thriller kind of stuff, and the you know this it was the first time they made Batman that like brooding, and
Batman
I
had been brooding for a while.
yeah, that brooding. like I'm gonna fuck off to Tibet because my parents are dead.
My parents are dead.
Obviously in the comic books they fucking cover that shit up and down, but
Not just the comic books. Every medium.
but also just doing the fights as those really, you know, kind of horror movie, but the good guy is the monster. I thought that was okay, cool. It's like license, and then you know it kind of became a fucking blockbuster action series.
You think the darkness is your ally.
Of
Nice
course.
house and feed me. Beep boop.
Anyway, best death boss fight, Aria of Sorrow. It's pretty awesome. Really fucking hard to. That's all I got. That's the skeleton.
I
Kinda
feel
went
like
off
I'm
track, but
outcast
we always
because
do.
I'm probably the only one here who has never touched a Castlevania game.
Oh no, dude, me right here too.
Yeah.
Play Super Castlevania. It's sort of nice and easy and fun.
It's pretty
That's the
awesome,
one
yeah.
with the whip, right?
Yeah, well, they're all the one
Isn't,
with the whip.
I was about to say, hasn't every Castlevania have a whip?
It's the one with the wacky
Maybe
whip
not
that you can
the
spin
newer
around and stuff.
ones.
Am I allowed to play the God of War ones?
You're allowed to play whatever you like, Rusty.
The God of War Castlevania.
Although I've heard the
I
God of War
forbid it.
Castlevanias are really bad.
I think he's asking: is he allowed to play it without handing in his Castlevania card?
I don't
Too
have
early.
a Castlevania card.
I will give you a Castlevania card.
You need to get all the stamps from Castlevania 1
From all the
way
bosses.
up to Super Castlevania 3 before you can progress to 3D Castlevanias.
It's just like achievements.
Yes.
And then start with the Nintendo 64 ones.
There's one on the N64?
There's two on
I
the
never
N64.
played them.
Oh, Castlevania 64 is actually shit. There's a future skeleton of the month in
Well, I
So
mean,
it's a shit
Castlevania
game,
64.
but it has a good skeleton
it has
in
an
it.
amazing skeleton.
it's a shit.
Ah!
It would be borderline unplayable if you bought a game, and why? Beep boop.
Whatever that was.
Yeah.
It would be borderline unplayable if you bought a game and then I couldn't catch the last bit.
I think it said why.
That's
why?
philosophy.
So I've only played Castlevania 1 and then I started Castlevania 2 and then I stopped playing Castlevania games. I've been told by people just to skip it and go straight to 3, but it's like, it's so bad when Castlevania 1 was so good. It's just, the game feels unfair. You walk up to an enemy and you hit it and it doesn't stop the enemy like it did in Castlevania 1. You change screen to a new screen and there's an enemy inside you as soon as you're like there. Castlevania 2 just...
I'm going to be honest, I haven't played Castlevania 2. I was told to skip it and I took that advice and went
Yes.
straight to 3.
Okay.
Castlevania
Yeah.
3 is amazing, and get the Japanese version because
Yes,
it
'cause
has
it's
that
got better
special
music.
Konami sound chip.
I find that so cool that NES games, like, a lot of the technology to make the games run was actually in the like game rather than in the console. So you got better graphics as it went along because they had extra chips in the cartridges.
You don't
Yeah,
get
but
that
like-
anymore.
like
It's pretty
the-
sad, really.
Save gaming in the first Legend of Zelda. And I think there
Yeah.
was another game that uses special music chip.
But NES games, as they went sort of along, got more advanced memory mappers, and it basically it meant that the game could load stuff from the cartridge into graphics memory in a different way. So there would be like a buffer for things that were in graphics memory but not on the screen, and then there was what was on the screen. And you had a certain amount of space available to you, and the memory mappers meant that you could access different and more areas of memory at once. So that's why you get like early NES games had like only are on like one screen and they don't scroll, or if they do scroll, it's like fake scrolling. And then medium NES games have like 2-directional scrolling, and then the later NES games like Super Mario Bros. 3, I think, was one of the first ones that had 4-directional scrolling. And they couldn't do that until they had access to memory management techniques that would let them load all of those extra tiles onto the screen. It's really cool.
That
And then there
totally
was
makes-
Mode 7, and then there was 3D.
Yes.
Neither of those are on NES, but yes.
Oh,
And
yeah,
then
yeah,
we
that's- sorry,
stopped
yeah.
putting special technology in game cartridges. Because let's be honest, it was kind of a stupid idea when you really think about it.
I don't know, it would stop things
It
like
was-
the PlayStation Neo.
It was good
Yeah.
for the time.
Yeah, it meant...
Hello, and congratulations on getting this far through the podcast. Unfortunately, at this point in the podcast, my internet connection had a bit of a hiccup. It's not my fault. I was over at my parents when I recorded this on the internet instead of spending time with them. So in order to make up for what would be a 1-minute silence, I will now read one tweet by Ted Cruz. Wow, a cow made of butter. My girls would love it. In fact, the first sentence Caroline ever said was, I like butter. Okay, now we're back.
only worked with like 2 games, didn't it?
There was...
Donkey Kong and Majora's Mask.
yeah,
So-
I think Turok as well.
Yeah, maybe. If,
But
if
I
you
think
fall
that's
down for
it.
that for 3 games, it's like, well, it's kind of a waste. Whereas if it was a cheaper price,
It
'cause
was worth
in
it for the
game-
DK wrap.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
that's true.
Donkey Kong 64 had like this horrible game-breaking bug, and for whatever reason, putting the extra memory in fixed it, and they had no
Yeah.
idea why.
So Rare lost a lot of money on that apparently because they had to they had to fund the cost of everyone getting it with the pack because
Yeah.
Nintendo's like they'd run out of time developing the game and Nintendo said, "Look, you need this. Otherwise, you have not fulfilled your contract correctly.
Yeah.
You're
There
paying
was-
for it."
There was something though about the jump from cartridge to CD. Like I was getting this incredibly like fragile piece of advanced technology that I had to delicately put in the thing to play Tomb Raider, which was blowing my mind at the time, you know.
I miss
Okay.
Vib Ribbon.
Yeah, I grew up with the N64 and never owned an original PlayStation, so I can't really relate to that.
Yeah,
It was the I went straight from Super Nintendo to a PlayStation.
I went
had a
straight from a Nintendo Entertainment System to a PlayStation.
Mega Drive was my first, and then N64 after that.
Right, let's move on.
I really love the N64, and then they discontinued it because they came out of the GameCube, and it's just, why?
N64 was a bit shit though. Actually, if you
I-
think about it, all it's got is the games that Nintendo put out. Because of the
I s-
cartridge thing, Sony sweeped it in that generation because they were like, "Look, it's cheap to develop for our console, and you don't have to put up with Nintendo's bullshit cartridges. You can fit more or on a CD. You can do full motion video and stuff. And so there's so many more games on the PS1 than on the N64.
What good third-party games are there on the N64?
Rare
For some
games.
reason, the only one I can remember is Space Station Silicon Valley.
Rocket on
actually,
Wheels.
let me-
Robot on Wheels.
Robot
Rocket
on
Robot
Wheels.
on Wheels. Bomberman.
Yeah, Bomberman.
That's an awesome
Let me
game.
No,
just
the
open
Bomberman
my
Nintendo
N64
6.
emulator,
Bomberman
because-
Hero was great, not regular
Yeah.
Bomberman.
Shadows of the Empire.
Yeah.
Well, that was second
Rogue
party,
Squadron?
wasn't it?
Bomberman
Rogue
60
Squadron?
Bomberman 64 is amazing. What are you talking about?
Wasn't
No,
there
it isn't.
a Rogue Squadron?
Yes, it is.
Well, Rogue Squadron.
There's Rogue Squadron.
That series
Rogue Squadron.
became Rogue Squadron, I think. But, right, we have got Rare
Bomberman
was
64
in-house,
is good,
wasn't
fuck
it?
you,
Bomberman 64, Bomberman 64, The Second Attack, Bomberman Hero, Castlevania,
Gold
Castlevania
Squadron.
Legacy of Darkness,
Blues
Those are
Brothers
crap.
2000.
Clay Fighter,
Clay Fighter.
Doom 64,
Doom 64 is a good version
The-
of Doom.
I'm sorry,
the,
right.
the official Doom 3.
We're forgetting GoldenEye.
Got,
Sorry.
But
I think
second party.
Rare was sort of in-house.
Oh, that
at
was Rare,
time,
okay.
So, yeah. Glover?
Of course it's rare.
Fuck
Well,
Glover.
let me go
I've
look
never
at my.
played a lot of these. I've
That's
just
a
got
first
them on my
I like
computer.
Glover
Glover.
is like a needlessly precise game. It's
I've
like
heard people say good things
with
about
really
Glover.
convoluted controls. It is not a good game.
Goemon's Great Adventure.
That was
I love
alright.
those.
Harvest Moon 64.
Uh,
Hydro Thunder.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got two games. WWF No Mercy and what was the other one?
Of course.
of course.
I'm serious. That game's amazing.
Mischief Makers.
Mystical Ninja starring Goemon.
Yeah.
Yep, that's the next one on my list. Mischief Makers, Mystical Ninja, Ogre Battle.
No, fuck Ogre Battle. Fuck Quest 64. You guys play that game?
Snowboard
Oh my
Kids.
God.
Snowboard Kids is pretty good.
Snowboard Kids 2. Turok.
No, not Turok. That game is.
That's it. That's all I've got. That's
All
all
I
of
remember
that's
from
all of the
Turok
good
is the
N64
fog.
second party.
It's
third
even
party,
harder
rather.
to play than GoldenEye. Yeah.
They just re-released Turok and Turok 2 on Steam, didn't they?
Why?
I played Turok. Turok was my first-person shooter game, and I've
I'm
only
so
played
sorry.
3D platformers up until this point. And I just I need to jump over this. I can't jump. I can't see my feet. Where am I?
Turok actually was playable if you had a PC with Voodoo graphics card.
It was.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
I had
Voodoo.
one of those for Shadows of the Empire on PC.
They were amazing when they came out.
They on the box, you know, they had it's like check out this incredible update to MechWarrior 2.
Well, hello.
Hi, mate.
Oh,
Hey.
hello.
And how are we?
Broadcasting from inside a tin can, it's Moogle.
Am I broadcasting from
But
within a
no,
tin
it's not
can?
fun to me.
It's not fine.
Entry.
Yeah, it's not too
Beep,
bad.
What?
We're
Yes, man,
talking.
it's a stupid bot that talks and nobody understands what it's saying.
Yeah,
See,
because
I
it's being
found
cut off
quite
because the
a few
sensitivity is too
bullets
low.
before the transition into a darker and more directly interacting with the fourth bundle. Many of its value in the supermarket
Yeah.
or whatever price matches the
CATSMANBOT,
current
you seem
new
clever.
bot
Where
or
have I
type
put my
screenshot
slippers?
full page to get bought by hobbyists,
Under your bed.
not average
They're not under my
consumers.
bed. I don't know
Beep,
where they've gone.
boop.
Well, I'm out of ideas.
I'm very confused. I had them before I left the house, and I don't know what I've done with them.
Google,
wear
did
them
you
to
get
work?
your couch?
I did not get a couch, no. It seems to be a little bit too big for one that was recommended to me, so I'm going to go back in again on Monday.
Oh,
82 to 85 inches. I've got like 81, maybe 82 if I'm really, really lucky, but I need to measure it properly.
that
I
sounds
will
like
be
a
doing
big
that shortly.
couch.
It's 3-seater.
Whoa.
It's alright. It's the only couch I'm really going to have. I mean, I've got like a reclining chair as well, but that doesn't really
But
count.
moving on from N64. I can only be here for another like 45 minutes. So.
Should we move on to Zelda now, then?
I
Zoldo.
guess.
The Legend of Zoldo.
Yeah, you guys talk about Legend of Zelda and I'll listen because I haven't played it.
Who here played The Legend of Zoldo?
I
I
did.
did.
I did.
I want to. I can't though.
Oh.
Looks
I
amazing.
did.
It is a pretty good video game,
I would agree.
as video games go.
I would agree.
It's okay.
Yes.
9 out of 10, IGN, best game ever.
Yeah, this is the thing. Like, it got it got ratings as the best game ever aggregate, didn't it? When it came out, it's like
The
97
hyperbole is
on-
ridiculous, but it is worth pointing out that Skyward Sword got a 10 out of 10 from Edge.
Yeah, but
So worth
yeah,
pointing that
Skyward
out.
Sword was also awful.
To temper
Fuck off.
expectations.
Okay, never.
It's
We're not
okay.
having this again.
It's okay. We've had this
We
conversation
won't
many
talk about
times. It's not
Skyward
worth having
Sword.
again.
We'll talk about Breath of the Wild. I'd say it's about an 8 out of 10. I think.
I would probably put it high. If I had to put numbers, it would be high 8, low 9s, maybe mid 9s at the most.
See, I'm
Yeah.
between 7 and 8. I'd say 8 at the highest. But I'm playing on the Wii U, so it's got the frame rate issues still. We've got the update now to the Switch version that kind of deals with that, which is good.
I think that's
I mean,
kind of
it's
the
a month
interesting.
too late. But
The
it's
interesting
still
thing
good.
with Breath of the Wild is that for some people who have played it, technically it's a portable Zelda game, which is a really weird way of looking at it.
That's true.
But it is in some ways. I mean, it's not really a portable game because it's not really made to be portable, but you can.
You can
In
save
that
anywhere
respect,
you want, pretty much.
You can
so,
do whatever
know.
you can take it wherever much you want because I've got the Switch and I'm happy with that. So, but it's weird in that respect to think about that. I think they did good work with throwing out all the conventions of Zelda, but I think they went a little bit too far.
I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
it could do with more dungeoning.
It could do with
and-
more dungeoning. It could do with more traditional Zelda item stuff.
Yes,
It could do with more
definitely.
story.
It could probably do with a little bit more work on the characters and story. Yes,
I'm okay with the story, actually.
I'm
And it could-
okay with how it is, but I don't think
It
it's
could
particularly good.
It could
That
do
makes
with
sense?
less voice acting.
Yes.
Okay, so do we want to talk about voice acting now? 'Cause
Shall we talk about voice
I-
acting now?
I have prepared a piece on voice acting. Since Kat said do a show and tell, I thought I'd get some evidence as to what it is that makes the voice acting bad in this game.
What it is.
And,
Is it Mifa? And
It's
just-
Mifa
is
and
it just-
Zelda.
That's
Is it
the-
just constantly Mifa all the time?
That's the start of my talk. So in
'Cause-
for you guys who don't know, in Breath of the Wild, there's 4 dungeons, and each dungeon has a champion. This is a character who you'll meet throughout the story, and they're pretty major roles. The first one of these I did, and the only one I've done so far, was the one with this character Mifa, who
You
we're
poor
talking
soul.
about. And you go through this area. I don't want to give away too many spoilers or anything, just in case people don't want that. But you go through this area and you learn that Mifa and Link were like childhood friends. They were the best of friends essentially, and I got really emotionally invested in this. I was like, I am pumped to see Mifa, see what happens, between Link and Mifa. And then you get to the cutscene where you finally meet her, and she opens her mouth. And her delivery of the lines is so flat.
It
that
is very bad.
I just went, I want my ears off my head now, please. Because you have ruined this touching moment for me with your terrible voice acting.
Is there an option to turn the voices off but keep the subtitles
No.
and stuff? See,
No.
that's unfortunate because a lot
Well,
of
you can
games
mute
these
your
days
TV.
do that. I think it probably would have been the better option to just do that.
You
What
can
I-
mute your TV,
Well, yeah, but that doesn't really have the same effect.
but it's still the better option.
What I have done, since I own the Wii U version, and the Wii U is extremely hackable, was I very quickly went
yes.
online, figured out how to change the voice files from English to Japanese. Now, this is extremely easy to do. You just launch a file transfer protocol on your Wii U, and then you copy all the files across from your computer to the Wii U. It's about 700 meg, I think, all the
Nice.
voice files.
Yeah.
You can completely... It doesn't work for some of the out of cutscene voice files, but it's pretty thorough other than that.
There aren't many of those anyway, though, in fairness. Are
There's
there?
not many.
So,
It's just the champion voices where they do things like when Mifa says, Mifa's grace is ready, and it's like, thank you, Mifa. Good to know. But yeah, that was my solution to this. I know that the Switch users probably don't get that
We don't
solution,
get that, no.
which,
We don't have any of
which
that.
sucks. The thing with the voice actors is I went and I looked up the voice actors for the English version because I was like, none of them are particularly good. Mifa's is terrible, and is the only one that made me think I want to stop listening to this in English now.
For me, it was majorly Zelda.
Zelda is also not very good. So
Zelda, I don't think she's great. I don't have any major issues with her, but I don't think she's
I
particularly
could
good.
put up with her,
Yes.
but given that she is the main character
Exactly.
in Nintendo's, what is arguably Nintendo's sort of fourth largest series after Mario, Pokemon, and putting the Wii Sports series
I
in
think
there. 'cause
Zelda
it's
tends
sold-
to be really
it's
popular
sold-
there, though, which is part of the thing.
Especially in Western territories, actually.
Yeah,
Zelda
it's
is really
popular out west, rather
Given
than in
that
Japan.
this is one of their biggest titles, you'd expect them to put a lot of work into getting the first time since the CDI Zelda has been voiced correctly. And since
I just feel that any company, any Japanese company that's doing voice work these days should just be doing what From Software do. Whoever they work with, they should work with. Because From Software, I don't think I ever remember bad voice acting. I remember voice acting that was neither good nor bad. But there's never been anything bad from them.
Is that a coded Zelda should be more like Dark Souls?
No. Yes, absolutely. Because the voice acting in Dark Souls is genuinely good at times. Like, genuinely great. There are some people who sound very, very natural in it.
I would also like everyone in Zelda to laugh at me after they finish talking to me.
Yes, every single character should laugh at you. Giggle, sneer, laugh, mock, whatever.
I've just posted a link to a fact sheet I have created on the voice
Rusty,
actors
stop
in
3D
the
printing.
game.
Rusty, stop 3D printing.
So Zelda's voice actress, her name is Patricia Somerset, and you'd expect someone who had a lot of voice work done before to play, the main character who is going to have the most voice work, especially when it is Zelda, the titular character. Her voices that she's done before include background voices in For Honor, a character voice for one of the operatives in Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege, a character called Galina Voronina from Assassin's Creed Syndicate, which I haven't played, so I don't know how much of a part she plays in
The
that.
fuck Assassin's Creed Syndicate? What is that?
A couple of...
It's the English one, I think.
I think that's the
Yeah,
fifth
it's the one in Victorian London.
Sixth one, though.
I see Rivali's voice actor has a fur affinity.
He does.
Affinity.
He does.
Wait, what?
That's quite interesting. Yeah. He
Oh.
announced on Fair Affinity that he was the voice of Rivali.
Oh.
He's actually
Wait,
one of
why
the
do
better,
you know that and not me?
Whoa,
because
lad.
I browse the internet very heavily.
Too much. Too much.
Too much.
TMI.
But the last voice that the person who played Zelda did was Smurf voice number 2 from the
Nice.
Smurfs 2 movie.
Nice.
Now,
Nice.
when we compare this with the Japanese voice actress who has done voice work for Zelda, she has a large history of voice acting going back to 2007. I've in that sort of picture I've sent you guys. She's got loads of stuff. It's also harder to find out what Japanese people have done because, obviously you're searching on English websites. So I haven't been able to match up everyone. Mifa's voice actress has done practically nothing. She did character grunts for one of the character voices in Let It Die. Character grunts, essentially. She did background voices for Moogles in Mobius Final Fantasy, which is a free-to-play phone game. Other background voices in Lightning Returns and Steel Battalion as well. Apparently she's got a background in stage acting. You've got the guy who played the main Goron character, Daruk, who has done character voices at Disneyland Resort.
What?
I've heard his impression of Stitch from Lilo and Stitch, and it's pretty good.
I think Daruk's voice was actually pretty good.
It is.
Daruk, I had no issues with.
Rivali was the one I thought was the best, and Urabosa, and they've actually got a good body of work behind them. So Sean Chiplock, this guy who is also a furry, but he's done voices in Shin Megami Tensei 4, Shin Megami Tensei Persona 5. Rash, one of the Battletoads in Killer Instinct on the X-Tone.
Maximum furry.
And he's done a lot of anime as well. The woman who played Urabosa has quite a good body of anime voice acting, as well as being one of the social links for Persona 5, some MOBA games and other stuff as well.
It feels to me like they only made the decision to make it voiced quite late on in development. And
Perhaps.
so, I don't know. I mean...
We spent $1 bajillion in this game quickly at the last minute. Let's get some bargain basement voice actors.
In the E3 trailer from last year, and I think that's the first time we heard it.
Now,
I think so, yeah.
It's just I'm wondering if Nintendo thought people are going to buy Zelda anyway. let's not bother spending the extra on voice acting.
It's weird. Their priorities are slightly. I won't call them odd because I think that the game itself is very well done. But their priorities when it comes to localization and other stuff like that is very, very odd when it comes to Nintendo.
Yeah.
Very strange.
The other problem is there is an easy fix for this, which is allowing people to choose the voice work that they want to hear in
I
the
agree
game.
completely.
Which it actually would be easy to do.
Even Atlas have done this now.
Yeah.
Even Atlas, who for the longest time said, "No, our dub work is fantastic. How dare you not want to hear it? We'll make you hear it instead." Even they went and did it. So I don't know. It's one of those really weird ones.
You expect Japanese businesses to be progressive?
No, I don't, to be honest with you. And I don't think it's a Japanese thing specifically. I think it's a Nintendo thing in this case.
a lot of
when
them.
you play Nintendo games, it's a little bit like Apple in that you force yourself into their mindset, or you don't have their stuff for better and for worse.
Yeah, I mean, before you listed all of those like expensively voice acted other Japanese games, like I was initially going to say, it's like, well, a lot of American voice actors who do video games are not used to that Nintendo kind of mindset.
No,
like we don't have anything kind of comparable, even in like similar things like platformers. There hasn't been like a high budget, high profile American platformer in a long fucking time.
Ukulele.
What about
Nintendo don't make games that rely heavily on voice acting. For a large majority of their stuff.
Yeah, it's the same as actually with Zelda.
Why was it even there then?
Well, it's a good question. Maybe
it's
they
a
felt
buzzword.
that maybe they just felt that they came to the point where it was harming them to not have it in there. It was going to happen eventually. It was never something that was going to just stay there forever.
Yeah, I mean,
not voice acted.
People kind of joke about how Nintendo kind of lives in a vacuum because they do. Yeah,
they do.
Pretty much.
But here's a question: how much of that do you think was like honestly influenced by something like, say, the Witcher?
Skyrim definitely, because there is an interview with Aonuma where Skyrim is mentioned to him, and the interviewer says, and his eyes lit up as he spoke about Skyrim for 5 minutes. So Skyrim was definitely an influence, something like that.
Yeah, he liked Skyrim. Yeah.
He does like Skyrim, yes.
It's just so weird to me. It's
very, very odd to have a Zelda game like this.
That it has that kind of like pedigree.
Yeah.
amongst like certain people, like Skyrim is what you talk about the most cynically when it comes to kind of like watering down
one of the
open
things
world
that I'm very
games.
cynical about. Mostly because I think the gameplay in it is complete trash.
As a fucking Elder Scrolls lore nerd, like, tell me about it.
I can't really comment on that because I never played the games for that side of things. In the same way that I never really played it for the minute-to-minute combat gameplay side of things. A lot of what I like in Skyrim is just transferred directly into Zelda. In terms of, oh, there's an interesting thing over there. That looks really interesting. I'll walk over there and I'll see if it is interesting. Oh shit, it is interesting. Holy fuck. Because they've actually bothered to do things that were interesting.
If I hadn't played Morrowind and Oblivion, I would probably enjoy Skyrim a whole lot. I would be much more impressed by it.
Yeah, give Aonuma Oblivion or Morrowind.
Preferably
Then ask
Morrowind.
his opinion. Then ask his opinion again on Skyrim.
Well, you probably still like Skyrim because you played it first.
Yeah, well, it's possible. It's difficult to say. It's difficult to say if they've even. I say even if they've even played these things. If they're just using parts of what made them successful to make their own successful thing.
Well, it's why I ask about the voice acting thing, because I think that was part of what was sort of the draw for The Witcher 3. Like that even like these little kind of side quests would have, extensive voice acting.
Yeah. I think it's interesting because a lot of what people like about Ocarina of Time from the character and story perspective kind of plays into what they tried to do this time, but they didn't really succeed. So I think they were trying to go with like a character-heavy game, even though they've obviously made a mechanics-heavy game, and it didn't quite pan out for them. I think that's why they went for voice acting, because they wanted to try and jump on that. But
yeah.
I don't think it went as well as they wanted it to.
Nintendo should stop trying to make stuff like Ocarina of Time.
I agree and disagree with
Well,
this
this
statement.
this is very, other than perhaps the characterization, this is very unlike Ocarina of Time.
Gameplay-wise, it is as unlike it as you can probably find. The interesting thing is, I think the strongest part of Ocarina of Time, going back now, is probably the characterization and like the story elements and story beats and stuff.
That was bad.
No, I don't agree with that, because I think they introduce all of the main characters as a child, and you get to see them as a child, and you get to then see how it progresses into the future. And even Naburu, who you meet later on in the game, you meet her first as a child, even then, and then you meet her as an adult later on. I think the way it's paced is very good. The way they introduce them as different characters, I think, is also interesting. But Breath of the Wild tried it, and I didn't think it succeeded.
I
think
still haven't done 3 of the dungeons, so I can't comment too much on the other characters.
You will find that it's very much like Mifa in that way, that the way that they introduce them and the way
they build
that
they build it up,
them.
and then it kind of falls flat.
It's you see it all in flashbacks. You never get to meet these characters properly and see them as they were. Which is part of the problem.
I see what you mean. Going through sort of Zora's Domain, I thought I really want to see what it was like Link being a child growing up here. You know, I want to be Link living up here. It sounds great, but then you don't see any of it. That's true.
Here's the other thing, and I can kind of understand this one, because Nintendo always wanted to make Link as bland as possible, so he can be you.
Yes.
Give him no characteristics at all. Nothing. No voice, no real lines, no...
He's your Link to
He doesn't
the game.
have lines. He does have emotions, though, and that's been the case since Ocarina.
Yeah, I mean, the hardest, the most extreme example would probably be one of the Toon Links.
Yes.
Like Wind Waker, for example.
Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, they're all kind of emotional...
What?
But lineless characters.
Wind Waker is super emotional.
He is, that's what I mean. He's emotional, but he's
the
lineless.
extreme deviating from the norm.
Yeah.
And I can kind of see that, but at the same time, I don't want to play Zelda as me, I want to play as Link.
That's interesting, because I think that contrasts with a lot of people who don't view it that way at all.
Yeah,
I know.
I think people
they
want to
play
self-insert.
a generic open world RPG. I don't. I want to play a Legend of Zelda game.
I think you can do both of those very easily, and I think Breath of the Wild does that very easily.
But Zelda was never about Link the character, so how can you say, I want to play a Legend of Zelda game? Like, why is that what you want in that case?
I think this
I
is where
agree with Rusty. I have always liked Link as a character. Despite him not having much characterization, I've always thought he was a cool character, and he's always been one of my favorites.
My question there would be, do you like Link as a character because he has a character, or because he does the things that you want to do because he is a self-insert?
I guess I like Link because he gets shit done.
He's
and
amazing
I guess
in Wind
he
Waker.
gets shit done because I tell him to do it. But
let me look at this. Who would you look up more? Link or your character from Skyrim?
There's a difference there, though.
My character from Skyrim is badass. No,
there's a difference there, though, because the Link in Breath of the Wild is still recognizably Link.
Yeah.
And he's still recognizably a self-insert. He's both of these things all at once.
Well, yeah, I mean, not to jump back to this again, but I mean, so compare, say, Link to someone like Geralt, where it's there's hardly any kind of self-insert there at all. Like, there's still choice and stuff that you carry out, but it's blatantly like a completely fleshed out character with like books and books of backstory. Whereas like Link, I mean when I've played Zelda, it's almost more we're going to go through these familiar Zelda tropes again and again. You know, it's more the adventures that Link finds himself in, as opposed to any kind of character or history sort of coming from him.
It's the situation you find yourself in rather than the character.
Link winds up in a lot of very interesting situations that are unique to Link. There's certain things you can expect from that, and that like it's not even like a self-insert versus like a extrinsic exposition thing. It's just it's the gestalt of it, you know.
I think there's something about Link though, because if I think about playing a Mario game, like I like Mario games. I play a lot of Mario games. I don't really care about Mario. Like, he's just the guy I play as. Whereas,
Deepest lore, man, but the
Mario,
deepest lore.
yeah, no, but Mario's characterization is like in terms of
I'm
say
gonna say
Mario's.
the princess.
Yeah, no, he's
the
silly.
everyman.
but Link.
He's the silly everyman.
He's
This is kind of what I'm trying to get at. Link has just enough that you can see him as a person that you care about and you want him to succeed and stuff. Mario is just your vehicle for the game.
I can vaguely agree with that. Yeah, I can agree with that.
You could swap Mario out with like any platforming character and it'd be fine. The game would still work fine. But I think Link being the character in that situation, he's got just enough personality that you feel this is Link.
But isn't that also an effect of the genre of the game that he finds himself in? Because Zelda, as a genre, the genre that Zelda is more story focused than something like you would find Mario in.
I guess,
unless you play something like the RPG games, the Mario Luigi games.
Oh yeah, and I love Mario and Paper Mario, and I think he's a badass.
Well, this is slightly different, I guess. The thing I like about Breath of the Wild when it comes to Link as a character is that you can play him like snarky smartass. And I love it when games let you do that, so you can be a dick to everybody, but still be the hero.
Nice hair.
It's one of my favourite little kind of tropes in RPGs. Same thing I like about Persona a lot of the time, whenever I end up playing that. Yeah, you can just be the douchebag, but everyone still loves you because it's a video game and they have to. It's great.
But another thing is, even in cutscenes, Link always has the same expression. The most emotion he shows, the most emotion he shows is when you take selfies.
Rusty, have you been to Hyrule Castle yet?
Yeah.
Have you found Zelda's like secret lab in Hyrule Castle?
Yeah, I did.
Have you read the diary entry?
I have read the diary. Yeah, and it's kind of funny, and it's poking at something that is kind of a drawback. Still is a drawback.
You can shitpost ironically, but it's still shitposting.
I guess. So there's this diary entry in the game that basically says, so Link told, from Zelda's perspective, Link told me today that he never says anything and never shows any emotion because he feels the weight of the burden of like being the hero so much that he doesn't feel that he can show any emotion or talk to people because he might fuck up. Basically, Link is really socially awkward.
The thing is, with Breath of the Wild, Link actually does talk, and you can see him in not quite cutscenes, but when you talk to people and you make a decision, he quite blatantly moves his hands around and his mouth is moving, and he's blatantly talking to people.
Yeah.
He just doesn't have lines.
Yep.
I wonder at one point if he was meant to have lines, but
he's going to turn into Master Chief.
Take that one last step. Because they broke every other convention except for Link waking up as the start of the game, which is a thing that is still the case.
He's talked off camera in quite a few Zelda games. It's normal.
The example that comes to mind when I try to think of Link talking is the one from Skyward Sword explaining the thing that happened with Zelda to her father.
Yes.
When he's waving arms around and talking.
Wave arms around.
I'm talking.
It's just because you don't understand that Link is actually mute and is talking entirely in sign language.
Yes.
So,
very important. Very important.
But he still goes, here!
Yeah, skink! Should we move away from talking about story and talk a bit more about
holy
gameplay?
shit, that was so long.
That was really long.
You'll point out the flaws first because I think
you want to end on a high note.
Well, there's that, and I think that so many of the good things that it does have been talked about so at length so much anyway.
Yeah. So what have you got to add that you don't think other people have said about this game?
It's difficult.
Good or bad?
It's very difficult to do that.
I don't think people focused enough on bad stuff during reviews, and it annoys me that it got so many 10 out of 10 reviews because there's so many things that it could have done better.
I think it still deserves. Well, I say it still deserves 10 out of 10. I can't make that judgment
praise.
Really. I think that it's for a Zelda game. I would definitely probably rate it that highly because it's something so different and a direction I'd quite like to see them move in. I absolutely agree they threw away too much.
Higher for a novelty almost.
I think they threw away too much.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with novelty.
I think the hookshot not being in the game is fucking criminal.
Yeah.
I don't understand how there isn't a hookshot weapon in the game.
Yeah.
Even if it's got like 3 uses before it breaks.
Especially when you've got a lot of climbing to do, you know, you could just make it take longer to recharge.
You could just have it
stuff.
hook onto wooden objects only. And it's
Yeah.
still fine because there's plenty of trees on mountains and stuff that you can hook onto.
Yeah,
Would have been perfectly
I'd
fine.
be fine with it hooking onto rock as long as it was, you know, they could limit it somehow. You get Ravioli's updraft or whatever, don't you? Ravioli's Formuoli.
Ravioli,
that allows you
ravioli.
to fly up higher with the glider. So, you know, you could have had a hook shot because that's just as game breaking.
It is that.
For
It is pretty much that,
exploration.
isn't it, at the end
Yeah.
of the day? There are several items that I question the lack of them. I question there only being 3 weapon types. I mean, it's nice that we
Yeah.
have 3 weapon types as opposed to you have a sword,
Well,
here,
actually,
use your sword.
it is more than 3 because then you've got the bow,
You've got the bow,
rods,
you've got
which
boomerangs
you can
on
find.
one-handed
I actually
Boomerangs
very
are
heavily
cool.
use boomerangs.
I like the
boomerangs.
boomerang. The boomerang's a good weapon. You've got
you-
fire rod.
You've got fire rod, ice rod, electric rod.
But you've got 3. You've got 3 archetypes.
3 types of melee.
movesets essentially.
Yeah, you do.
You've got 2-handed, you've got 1-handed, and you've got spears or pole arms.
My biggest problem with the game is it's a very combat focused game. You do a lot of fighting in the game, and there's such little variety. In
I agree.
enemies. You've got,
Yeah.
and the reason you've got such little variety in enemies is because they wanted it so that any enemy you kill can drop a weapon you can use.
Yes.
So every enemy has 3 move types. They've got the same as you. They've got big sword, regular sword, and what's the other one?
Spear. Pole
Spear,
arm.
of course.
Basically, yeah.
Well, moblins can kick you in the face.
Yeah, and then they've got unarmed. And it annoys me that Link doesn't have any sort of unarmed moves.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree.
you cannot throw rocks. Everyone else can.
Again,
I'd love to be
power wrist,
suplexing
Titan's
fools.
mitt, all
Yeah,
these things they could
yeah,
have put
power
in.
gloves, something like that. But you don't
Gauntlets.
have. You have very few enemies that aren't humanoid. So you don't have dodongos. You don't have Tektites. You don't
No, you
have
don't.
like little.
You got
You don't have
choo-choos.
spiders.
Yeah, you got
choo-choos.
You
got
choo-choos
Octoroks.
and keys.
You've got
and
Octoroks.
Octoroks.
Oh,
The
fuck
Dark
these
Souls
Octoroks.
2 approach.
You got
Fucking
you got the
fucking-
Talus, I guess.
Sniper
Yeah.
artillery Octoroks.
But the
I hate
Talus-
these guys.
The Talus
Sniper
are
artillery.
jokes.
Learn
Like,
to parry, bro. Just parry it back at them.
I parry it. It just flies over their heads.
Oh, I
It
guess
does
and you've got
sometimes, yeah.
Guardians.
just throw a
Unless we
bomb.
forget
Yeah, the
Guardians.
Guardians.
Oh yeah, Guardians. But
Well,
you,
sometimes you can take their
you
weapons.
don't have all these staple Zelda enemies. You don't have
I agree.
Darknuts. You don't have Iron Knuckles. You don't have Dodongos. You don't have like levers, those little things that pop
Yeah.
up out of the ground.
I
They're
got
fucking annoying in
to-
Zelda 1.
Yeah, the
I got to
white
Hyrule Castle and was disappointed that there were no new enemy types in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, likes as well would be a major thing because if you didn't kill them fast enough, they'd eat your sword, which you
Is a
can
thing.
for a while. You know, they
Yeah.
could eat your
Yeah.
best sword, and you'd be like, "Shit, my best sword." So
Even
you
though that
had to
doesn't
take
really
them
matter
down quick.
at
It
any
doesn't
point.
really matter. you
It
know.
doesn't really matter.
I never even bothered repairing the signature weapons because you could just go to a
those-
high level place and get a ton of replacements.
Going around Hyrule Castle, you're popping swords
Hyrule
that are better
Castle, every
than
blood
the
moon,
Master
you've
Sword.
got like
and
the
it's
dark weaponry.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. The Royal
The
Guard weaponry, I should
durability
say.
system is bad, and
I don't
Yeah.
agree with this statement.
no,
But I will let you go on.
I don't mind that it's there, but I think it could have been implemented better because you've got this problem where you don't want to use your good weapons for like piddly little enemies because you'll break your good weapons and then you'll get worse weapons for using your good weapons.
Yeah.
So eventually you're stuck with either using the Master Sword, which doesn't last long enough outside of Hyrule Castle, or you're trashing your good weapons to kill lame
You
enemies.
see, the reason I don't agree with this is because the game wants... I say the game wants you to. I think the game wants you to mark on your map where there are high-level weapons that you can just find, and then you use those, and every blood moon you go back and you replenish yourself.
But then the game becomes a chore because I'm keeping a shopping list, and rather than doing
But you're not
tasks
keeping a
in
shopping
the
list
game,
because what you're essentially doing is you're marking it on your map with a stamp. And then
Okay.
you're going, oh, well, I don't have a sword. Oh, well, I've got one over here.
but
if
I'm
you
still,
need it, then
I'm
you
still
can do
having
that.
to go to the shops to get those weapons to proceed as I want to in the game.
Well, I think...
I would be fine with the durability system if there was a shop somewhere in the game, a blacksmiths or something,
I think
where
that would
you
have been
could
useful
repair
as well.
weapons if you
I
wanted to.
I think what they wanted to do, and whether they were successful is probably down to perception or not. I think what they wanted to do was stop people from just doing the same thing over
Oh,
and
yeah,
over and
I'm-
over again.
I'm fine with that.
Because
you
if
know?
if you could just repair your weapon, that's all that you would do. It would be something on your shopping list instead. It's like, oh, my sword's about to run out. I better go and repair it again.
But
then.
there could be
Um,
ways of making it hard to repair those weapons by making the materials you need to repair them difficult to obtain.
Like they did with the
there are
signature
better
weapons, for
ways to
example.
implement
Yeah.
the system. I don't hate the system like as a whole. I just hate how it's implemented.
I think the problem. I say the problem. I think the thing that I'm no longer worried about it. The reason I'm no longer worried about it is because I'm far enough now in the game. I've done like more than 90 shrines. Everyone I meet is carrying royal weaponry,
Yeah,
like
that's
guard
true.
weaponry.
Yeah.
So I no longer care. If I lost my royal guard sword. Oh well, here's another one from this enemy I just killed.
Yeah,
The
it
only
does
time
get
it ever
that way
really becomes an
eventually.
issue is like when I'm fighting Lionels.
Yeah,
The best thing in the game, by the way, is
Yeah,
the
the
Lionels.
I love
Lionels
Lionels.
are quite fun. To
Easily the best fights in the game. We missed them on the enemy variety thing. I love that they brought Lionels back because they were one of my least favorite enemies in Zelda.
I ran into one of the first time I met one. What the fuck?
What the fuck
this?
is that thing?
And then it saw me. I just, I'm just gonna hide behind this wall. He takes aim, shoots an arrow up in the air. I get hit and fried.
Yeah,
The interesting thing with Lionels is that they don't immediately engage you.
Nope.
Like they notice you and they go, "Oh, okay, he's over there, is he? Well, what are you gonna do?" If you draw your weapon, they immediately go for you. If you don't draw your weapon, you have a grace period where you can just run away, which I really like. I think it's a nice little, not characterization, but I think it's a nice little bit of world building. It's like
because
these things
Lionels
they
are
only
the
care about
smartest
fucking
ones.
you up if you want to get fucked up.
they want to
They're
challenge.
honorable.
They want to
I
fight
do
you.
like that the bow is so powerful, so you can't
Yes.
really cheese them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can't
Their
really
bow,
cheese them.
yeah.
I mean, you can cheese them, but you can't really cheese them. You actually have to put
Well,
some
you
skill
can
into your
cheese
cheese.
them
I
with the
watched-
dodges, but that's not really cheesing.
Yeah, that's playing
It's-
the game.
It's so funny to see people trying to tame them.
Yeah, I will
a good
confess
way
that
to
I
do
spent
damage to
about
them.
7, like, increase your maximum stamina in an attempt to just have they put it in the game, just made it really difficult? No, you can't tame them.
No,
Have you
you
seen
can't.
the special mounts though?
The Satori is the best one.
So there's a giant horse that you can get, and you can keep that one. There's like a spirit of the mountain one, which
Lord
you
of the
can
Mountain.
find. There's also a skeletal horse. There's like
Yes.
a stall horse.
The Stal
horse.
horses,
But they
yeah.
die as
And it
soon as,
only lasts
daylight
until
comes out, yeah.
morning.
Yep, it fades away when the sun comes
No,
up.
I was bringing it back to the stable. Try to register it.
You
What
can't.
the fuck? No, we can't. It's gonna eat the other horses.
It's gonna
It's
put a curse
hey,
on us.
It's
What are you
okay. Here's an apple, and at that moment the horse just falls over and
Yep.
pff, no.
So
thought-
you've got Zelda's old horse, or the descendant of Zelda's horse.
Yep.
You've got the giant horse.
You got
You've got
Epona,
Satori,
technically.
and you've got the Stal horse. Those are your specials, I
You've
guess.
also, you can also ride deer,
Deer,
and
stags,
stag, and
bears.
I
And
think,
bears, bears,
Bears.
bears.
which is quite nice.
It
I don't know
is
if
really
can't
funny.
ride goats.
I really want to play that.
also
I really
like
want to
the,
play
the
this
reaction
game.
from the stable master. If you go and try and register it, it goes, "I'll just register." What the hell is this thing? What are you doing?
Yeah, that's
that-
not a horse.
That stable master has to put up with a lot of shit, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Can I also just say that I'm really happy that every single character is named in the game. It's
Yeah.
a little thing, but I really like it.
I'm Spinch!
Yeah,
The
just
horse's
the-
name is Spinch!
With
Where
the
Spinch is.
exception of travelers that you
Travelers.
meet on the road.
I really like
Who-
travelers.
Who aren't your friends anyway.
Travelers are the best characters in the game.
So the,
Yes.
the
They
first
were
time I
so
met one
funny.
of them, there was a thunderstorm on, and I was like, okay, that's fine. Like, he pulled a knife on me, and I'm like, okay, you'll just get zapped by the lightning, that's fine. Then he teleported at me, and then lightning struck him. So he exploded in a fiery ball of electricity, and I was just knocked, like, meters away, going, what the... I actually shouted, what the fuck?
I love how the
It was great.
mechanics just end up. You just end up finding things through mechanics, and it just happens accidentally, naturally, and I think that's really kind of special.
I still want to try throwing a boomerang as it is struck by lightning,
Oh,
so that
God.
it hits an enemy as the
Do
boomerang.
they
like,
conduct
hits them.
lightning?
The metal
The
Any
giant
laser
one,
weapon does,
I think.
yeah.
The giant one and the lizard force
Oh,
Yeah.
right, yeah.
boomerangs.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
the laser
Have you-
boomerang, the tri-boomerang, I think that's like one of the easiest to get in
It is. You
uh,
can just
Good weapon.
stealth.
one-handers.
You can just stealth into Hyrule Castle and stealth attack them, and they get fucked.
They're a
Right.
really good staple weapon. I
Yeah,
think
36 attack. 36. Which is
they're
better
as
than the
strong
Master
as
Sword
Knight.
without the buff.
Yeah,
And
they're
better
as
than the
strong
Royal
as
Guard Sword without the buff. Not
Knight's
the Royal Guard Sword, the Guard
broadsword,
Sword.
I think.
Yeah.
It's a really solid little weapon. And it's a boomerang. Have you ever had
Yeah.
all the Zalfos catch a boomerang as you throw it at them?
No.
Because
I
that's
have
AAA
not.
shit. That is AAA fucking bullshit right there.
Yeah, they have
I did it and he
nice-
caught it and I was like, well, what the fuck?
I think I threw
There's a lot of
spear
cool
at
little
an
things like
enemy
that.
once and it caught it.
Like you can you can get them to attack a cuckoo and then they'll be mobbed
Oh god,
by them.
yes.
Yeah. One thing that
Shooting
happened to me.
beehives.
One thing that happened to me yesterday. I have like 200 hours clocked into this game, and yesterday for the first time this happened. I attacked a silver moblin, and he grabbed a bokoblin and threw it at me.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Goblins will throw bokoblins
grab
at you.
smaller enemies and throw them at you. Yeah.
I know
Also,
if
you can play Reflecto with the rocks that they throw at you. You can just lob them back with your sword.
You
Just hit
can
them with the sword,
them
it just hits them back at them.
with a stick. Yeah.
Dead man's volley. It's great.
I accidentally beat the game the other day.
Hey!
So I was exploring Hyrule Castle, which is a great dungeon, and I wish the other dungeons were more like it because
It is
it's
huge.
very big and you're free to explore, and there's lots of little
It's
puzzles
very
and
odd.
things
And
to
so
find.
many guardians.
And yet it's still not like a traditional Zelda dungeon in
It's
any way, shape, or
it's
form.
very not. Yeah, it's just trying to find your way through without getting your ass pounded.
It's a huge
essentially.
maze filled with enemies.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's good.
Um,
It's
Yeah,
like the
very good.
original Zelda dungeon, basically, which
But
is the interesting part.
I got close to the top and I thought that room looks fun to explore. I'll go in there.
Oh,
And then Ganondorf showed up, and I was
Sanctum,
like,
yeah, there you go.
okay, well, I guess I'll complete the game now. And it was really easy. And I didn't even, in the second phase of the boss, I had to fight three, because there's like a boss rush if you haven't beat the dungeon. So I had to
Yes.
fight 3 bosses.
Oh.
Then I had to fight Ganon, and then I had to fight Final Ganon. But the second form, when he's Ganon, again, that's easier if you've completed the dungeons because it takes like half his health off or something.
It does,
It
yes.
does.
And I fought him, and there's a point in it where he becomes invulnerable
Yes,
unless
he
you
does.
find a way to stun him. Now, I assume doing a flurry rush allows you to break that invulnerability.
Yeah.
To this point, I still don't know how to kill him.
I
actually don't know how to beat that bit. I reflected lasers at him.
I
That's all
reflected
did.
lasers at him. That is how I beat his invulnerability because I couldn't figure out any other way.
Urbosa's Fury also stuns
Oh,
him.
Urbosa's Fury, yeah, that'll be the one.
And I think
Yeah,
some-
I did
sometimes
use
he
Urbosa's
drops
Fury.
lightning rods, and if you pick them up with magnesis and hold them under him,
Oh,
it'll shock
God.
him.
Of course
so,
it does.
Yeah.
Of course it does, because that's a mechanical game. For you.
There's a bit where he can also throw like fireballs, and I thought this was supposed to be a dead man's volley thing, so I kept
Yes.
trying to hit them, but they explode.
Yes, they do.
I think if you throw a bomb, then it sucks it in and you can explode it.
Oh.
Right,
Because that's
okay.
what you do with fire blight, Ganon.
I knew it would be something like you have to use, because you only get 4 abilities in the game, right? 5
Yeah.
technically if you count the camera. You get 4 abilities, main things that you can do, and all of the boss fights hinge on them in some way, shape, or form. Pretty much.
I
think.
actually, the only thing I used was magnesis, and I didn't realize the other ones. And even with magnesis, I needed Mifa to give me a hint.
Yeah.
Right,
I mean, it's-
I gotta get out of here.
Okay.
That's what it'll be.
See you later, Happy.
Take
Yeah,
care.
goodbye.
Bye.
And,
Bye, happy man.
Thanks, Happy.
remember Donkey Power, the power to stay chill and be a good buzz. See ya.
Love you.
Bye.
Lots of love.
LOL, mate.
Yeah.
Lol.
The thing is also the first dungeon. The first dungeon I entered was the one in the desert.
But that was fun.
I think I had by that time I had like 8 hearts. I'm sure I died like
Thunderblight is the hardest
Third-
one, isn't it?
30 times
Yeah.
at least.
Thunderblight's the hardest one.
I reckon,
Yeah.
I only fought him once, obviously, but
I
can you
did the
just
same.
stasis him while he's doing the thing where he jumps towards you?
No.
I don't think so.
That's
no.
exact-
What you're supposed to do is you are
Parry.
supposed to either block or just like backflip to just get like a
I
flurry.
just blocked because I couldn't get the timing for flurry rush.
The gimmick with the fight is you just magnesis his little pegs into him, and he goes ah,
Yeah.
and then you just wail on him for a while.
Yeah, and the
Um,
lightning actually takes off a substantial piece of health.
It does,
too.
yes. When we're talking about lightning, can I just say I was really impressed about the fact that you can just chain metal weapons together to conduct lightning.
Yeah, you can create
Yeah.
And just solve
Yeah.
puzzles
metal
that way.
weapons. Yeah.
Because if you need to conduct electricity to like a switch or
I
something,
really
just...
like how the puzzles in the shrines.
Yeah.
There are so many ways to do them. So I was doing one with a lightning puzzle the other day, and I was like, it's the one where you have to turn on the sort of elevators
Yes.
using box. So the first one there's an elevator comes towards you and then goes back, and then if you take the thing that's powering the elevator off the pedestal, the elevator stops moving. Now what I did was I moved the platform halfway out, threw the like block onto the platform, walked along the circuit that
Yep,
made,
'cause
and
you
then like picked it up with the magnesis to move it to where it needed to be. I realized yesterday while thinking about it, I should have just stood on the platform and magnesis the thing near the circuit, because it still would have powered it.
Yeah.
When I was going through a lot of the shrines, I realized I was overthinking it. What you have to recognize with what you're playing, it's a Zelda game. It's designed for children to be able to beat.
Yeah.
All of the dungeon solutions are really, really simple and elegant.
Yeah.
So
Also,
don't overthink it.
I need to point out, I've done all shrines. There has none been. No, actually, there was one where I was just wondering, what the hell did I need to do? What the hell is this hint? What the fuck is going on?
Was it the stars by any chance?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck the
Yeah,
stars.
boy.
And
Yeah,
I
that took me a minute.
I tried to
It's so
brute
obvious
force
as
it.
well.
I
Me
tried
too.
to
I know it is.
I tried to brute force it, and then I was okay. No, this is not. I cannot brute force this. I'm going to try and
I
do it the
think the
digital way.
problem
I
with that
solved it by
shrine-
accident. And then, okay, what the hell is this supposed to be? I looked up. Oh,
Yeah, exactly.
oh, I'm an idiot.
I think the problem with that shrine is when you walk into it, you see the thing on the wall at the back, and you go, "That must be for the next room," because you can see there's
Yeah.
2 rooms.
Yes.
I did not see it. I did not see it at all.
I saw it, but I was going about it. The logic was just completely wrong.
When,
I don't know
yeah.
if you. There's this one shrine where you have to like golf a ball with stasis
Oh, that was annoying.
across, and it's like
Oh, I hate that.
infuriating.
that
There's a
was-
setup,
Inside.
there's a
I
setup
love
for it,
that
by the way.
one.
There is absolutely like an easy setup for it, but you just have to. It's trial and error.
It-
The only thing I
love
really
that
didn't like
one.
about that is it degrades your weapons while you do it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
couldn't
Little
be
bit
bothered
bullshit.
because there was a
Um,
bonus chest as well, and I was like, nah.
Nah, mate, I'm
yeah,
not
I
gonna
didn't
do it
even
this
bother
time,
with
I
the bonus
refuse.
chest after one try. Neither 4 nor 5 hits put it in, so I'm like, I'm not dealing with this.
Maybe
Yeah.
I had the right weapon for that. Then.
I think it's like 10 hits with a one-handed weapon. If you get the angle right, will absolutely 100% of the time it will go in. I can't remember though.
Yeah.
But they're all solvable and they're quite easy.
There's
Yeah, I
another
was using a heavy
shrine
one.
that I did that I got like the completely wrong solution, and I knew I was doing it wrong, but it let me do it. So
Yes.
it's one where you walk in and there's like a big metal door, and if you bomb the wall that the big metal door is attached to, you can move the metal door with magnesis to
Yes,
make a
you can.
bridge.
That's the way you're supposed to do it. Yes.
So what I did, because I didn't realize I could bomb that wall, was there's a block that you can take out of one of the walls that's a big metal block that's
Mhm.
hiding a chest. So I stacked that up near the exit on top of another like little stone block that I pushed across there using the big block while it was magnesis. I put the big block on the little block. I took a chest that was metal and put it so I could like get enough height to jump
Yeah.
from this
Yeah.
metal chest onto the big metal block I had placed and then up out.
They're
of
pretty
the
rusty.
dungeon.
Yeah. Also, speaking of magnesis and metal blocks, I'm so glad they got rid of pushing boxes for puzzle solving, and instead just have magnesis them all over the place.
Because
Yeah.
when they put magnesis in, everything else was redundant. So there was
Yeah.
no need for block pushing at that point
Well,
because you're
you
block
can-
pushing, but it's easier than block pushing.
Yeah.
It's
It's more
I
elegant.
really like how many of the shrines, they will let you do any solution that you like, so long as
Yeah.
it kind of does what they want you to do.
Have you been
Vaguely.
Have you been to the Snake Eater shrine yet?
The one with the gigantic ladder.
Yeah.
Yes.
What the hell? I was
The
just-
gigantic ladders
yeah,
are great.
I climb up, run forward, and fall down into a pit of lava. What the hell is this place?
Can I just say I really like the theming of each area as well. Like the Twin Peaks area has everything in the Twin Peaks stable. There's two of it. There's everyone in there is a twin.
Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember thinking that.
There are two mountains. There's the shrine on the top of each mountain.
Mm-hmm.
There's the puzzle in each that the solution is the starting state of the other one. So you have to
Yeah,
go
that
in
was a
both
cool
to get
touch.
the solutions.
Oh, I
There's
haven't done
the
those
little
yet.
twin and big twin bridge.
I'm sorry.
I haven't
spoiled
done
for
that
you.
quest either. No, it's fine. Like,
It tells you at the start when you enter the shrine. The answer here is the memory of the other shrine on the other peak. So you have to go
Maybe
and
I have done
flip
that
between
one.
them.
Yeah,
sounds
twin
familiar.
memories.
Really, really interesting the way
Yeah.
that they themed that entire area, and a lot of the other areas are exactly the same in that respect, in that they've picked a little thing that they want to do in each area, and they've gone, okay, well, we want this area to be the lightning area, so all this has got lightning stuff and that and that and that. And
I was so expecting a boss fight in that area when I tried a little.
Which one? Because
okay.
there's like two different lightning areas.
No, the
different
lightning
areas.
plateau. The lightning plateau.
Yeah, okay, that one, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I was so okay. Am I ready for it? Because this was right after my attempt of doing lightning blight began, and
Oh god,
Just-
you
oh,
wouldn't
God.
have liked lightning very much.
yeah, and then am I ready for this?
Lightning is interesting. The weather as a whole, I think, is really entertaining as a
let's
mechanic.
talk about rain, though.
I know lots of people don't like rain. I don't mind rain.
Okay, so
There is
I have
rain.
a problem with rain.
The main problem I have with it is that the mechanic for skipping it is unavailable while rain is present.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you can't light a fire and sit by it to pass time.
You
to
can
wait
light
for the
an
rain to go
overhang,
away
and you
because
could
it's fucking raining.
Put a fire under the overhang and do that.
You can do
But-
that though, yes.
And certain fires like the cooking pots will stay lit.
Yeah, no, they don't.
Not
Because they're saying that
necessarily. Not
Let
if they're
some do.
out in the
If
world.
if they've got like a roof over them, then they will. But if
Yeah,
they haven't,
the
then they
cooking
won't.
pot ones.
I think that Breath of the Wild's greatest strength actually is your freedom of mobility.
Exactly.
Because
Yeah.
you can climb anything, you can go anywhere, you can get anywhere, any way you like, which is great. I've been playing Metal Gear Solid Phantom Pain recently. You cannot like walk
No.
up a half
Chest high
meter
wall, man.
shelf.
Oh, it's
It's
just too
like-
high.
There's
I can't
if you're
do
in
it.
Afghanistan and there's a range of mountains, it's very difficult to get around what you need to do. Even though you can see, I could just hop up there.
Yeah.
I could
See that mountain?
save
You can
a
climb it.
half
But you
mile
can't because you're not allowed
journey.
because that's not
But
the
you're
way
not
we want you
allowed.
to play the game.
In Zelda, it's like go anywhere, and that's great. But then
Unless
it
you
rains.
try to,
But
unless you're at the edge.
the thing with rain, though, is that what they want you to do there is they want you to go, well, it's now harder for me to climb, but I still can climb. Because you've got like 8 seconds, I think it is, of climbing before you slip again. Or
Yeah.
you automatically
Yeah, I
slip
think
if you
You
jump.
do, or you could go around. But in
Or you go around.
some cases, there are places where you can't go around, or
Very
you're
true.
halfway up a wall and it starts raining. And it's like, well, fuck me then.
Why are you
game.
halfway
Yeah.
up a wall when it starts raining?
Because I was climbing a wall.
But
and
why
then
are
it
you climbing when
started
you
raining.
know it's going to change to rain?
I didn't know it was going to change.
But
to
you
rain.
should have done.
Well,
Well,
because
if
I
you-
should
if
look at
you,
the
like,
sky before I like
No,
start
because
climbing.
because you have this very nice thing called a HUD.
I,
And if you've turned
I
it
don't,
off, that's
because
your
I've
fault.
Turned it off.
If you've
because-
turned it off, that
I mean, yeah, but if I'm focused on a task, I don't want to go. Oh, I guess I'll go somewhere else then.
bring
I
lots
don't
of stamina
think,
potions, mate.
I
That's
don't
what they
think
want you to
rain
do.
is necessarily too much of a problem. If there had been an item or a set of clothing that you could have got throughout the game at some point that would give you a bonus to climbing in the rain.
I
And
think that the
there's-
climbing set should have had that rather than jump costs less stamina.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think it should
Yeah.
have done, and I think that's a fair comment there.
And I think there
That is
should
a fair
be,
comment.
because there's so
Same.
many potions in the game that you can make potions out of anything. Why not make it so that there's a potion you can make
Yeah,
that's,
an effect
that's
for
cling
rain,
plus or something
no
like that.
slip potion or whatever.
And then you'd
that
have
would have
this
been more
thing where
entertaining.
throughout the game the player is climbing in the rain and they're going, God, I hate rain. God, I hate you, Nintendo, for doing this
I
to me.
have had moments where
But-
I've not liked it, but at the same time I've then
but
gone, well, it
then,
makes sense. I
as you
also like
progressed
how
in the game-
the rocks right next to waterfalls are always wet and you can't climb them
Yeah.
properly.
Yeah.
I think that's cute.
But
I like that. That's nice.
If there had been these items in the game, as you progressed in the game and you got these items, you'd be really stoked to get those items.
I
You'd be
agree,
like,
and there would have
"Yes!
been more
I have
rewards
just
for you.
found the
It would have been
thing
more
that
interesting.
Stops me from falling off when I'm climbing. It's great. And I don't think there's enough of that. I think there's a lot of places like shrines as well. You'll complete a shrine and you'll be like, I know I'm getting an orb. Okay. The shrine itself should be the reward, actually, for
I
finding
agree
the
with
shrine.
this, and
and I
oftentimes
enjoy
it
the
is not.
shrines. Yes, oftentimes you do a quest and then you get a shrine. And
The
it's
shrine
like,
is just,
"Oh,
here's a
here's an
shrine.
orb."
Hi.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I
it goes
think-
straight to the end. Yeah,
I think
well done,
something
you.
like 25%
Yes, they
roughly
are.
of the shrines are either here is an orb shrines because you found the shrine.
Here's a treasure
or
chest and
they-
an orb.
Or they are tests of strength, which
Yes.
are, once you've done a couple of them, you know
You've
the
seen
strategy.
it at that point. I
and
mean, they've
you've
got
won.
all of them have little gimmicks that you can do with, like, oh, here's some some blocks of metal that you can raise up in the middle when it starts charging at you, and
Yeah,
other
the
stuff
whole
like
floor
that.
is water, so you can use.
You can use
cryo.
cryonists
Okay,
and stuff
but
like that.
my strategy for them is always the same. It's pull out my ice blade, hit him, pull out my best weapon, hit him, pull out my ice blade, hit him, and he doesn't get a hit in. It's over.
My
my
strategy is wait until he starts lasering and then beam the fuck out of him with the parry.
Yeah.
Because that's the way you kill him. I mean, at the start of the game when I didn't know you could parry the laser, because why would the fuck would you think you can parry a laser? I realised that when he gets into his, I'm going to fire my laser phase, you just run around him, you circle strafe him and he can't hit you.
Yeah.
At close range, and then you just wail on him for a while.
Yeah.
I like those fights though, overall. I think they're entertaining.
I like them, but there's
I
too
don't
many
think
of them.
they're like 10% of shrines entertaining though.
Yeah.
Which I think is a pity.
And I think the dungeons as well, the dungeons are quite homogenous because they all look the same. I understand why they look the same, but that's a bit boring.
See, I
same with the
think they
shrines.
could have done so much with it. It could have been so much easier. For example, in the bird shrine, they could have had little flying guardians with wings. Could have had feathers on them. Something like that. You can make it visually distinct.
But nope, the flying guardians are at the lizard.
Yeah, they are as well.
Yeah.
But they could have had ways of making each one visually distinctive.
All of the dungeons have a very similar gimmick as well.
I feel like they were all repurposed shrines ultimately.
And yeah, the shrines, I've had shrines before that I felt this feels like it would make a good dungeon. Actually.
Yeah, I
This is
agree.
quite a
And
big
you've
one.
got multiple shrines in an area might
I've had
fit
shrines
together into
that
a dungeon.
take longer than a dungeon to complete in some cases.
Because some of the dungeons are really, really simple.
There's also this problem with having all the items at the start of the game means you don't have anything to receive for the end of a dungeon.
That's very
and you
important.
get Ravioli's Formulae and you get Mipha's Grace and Darok's Protection.
But they're not the same.
But then
I mean, Ravioli's thing is really good and is like an ability in its own right. But all the others, I think, are they're just like buffs, basically.
Yeah.
Not that interesting.
So you don't get, like, when you're going through, say, I don't know what temple, you're going through Jabu Jabu's belly and you get the boomerang, it's like, oh, this is cool, I can hit things with this boomerang. You get the bow from the Forest Temple, and it's like, yeah, now I can shoot stuff that's far away. And you get the hook shot in Dampe's graveyard, and it's like, I can go anywhere with this thing as long as it's made of
You
wood.
don't get any of that, which I think is unfortunate.
And then you get the second hook shot in the Flying City, and they go, what?
Yeah, and you
exactly.
go down the crab.
I feel like what the champions should have had is they should have had a combat ability. So like a move, a technique in the way that you had in Wind Waker and in Twilight Princess.
Yeah, that would
that would have been more entertaining.
Yeah. Or
because they're all supposed to be warriors. They're all champions. They're we're the best. But
Ravioli is an ace archer. Mipha known to carry a trident.
Yeah.
Like they could have had Ravioli give you like a slow-mo bow shot where you can line up targets and then hit them all at once.
And Daruk punches things, I guess.
Daruk could have had like a
Power gauntlets. Again, power gauntlets.
Power gauntlets, the ball and chain from Twilight Princess, perhaps.
Yes, I love that weapon.
Urbosa's Fury should be like a level 3 charge ability rather than just like a charge ability.
I would have said that Urbosa could have given you a sword and shield upgrade. Sword and shield technique. Because her weapons
has
are
a sword
and
and a shield, oddly enough, yeah.
And
weird that, isn't it?
Yeah. Can we talk about the fucking Yiga hideout?
Yes, let's do that.
I haven't done it yet, but
should we avoid it?
I think I know a bit about them, so I'm probably.
Do you know what the most annoying part about that dungeon is?
Is it something to do with bananas?
It's partially to do with bananas. It's more the fact that it is the only time in the game where there is an unavoidable
stealth
one-shot.
section.
Unavoidable stealth section, but also one-shots. And even if you've got Mipha's Grace and Fairies, no, motherfucker, you get one-shot,
But that's
you die.
because the game is
Back to the
forcing
start of
you
the dungeon.
to do a stealth section.
You
isn't
can't
it?
save in the middle of the dungeon.
I hate
You can't use any of those abilities that you get throughout the rest of the game. It is a pure stealth section.
Yeah, and I think the very last guy to distract is really difficult to do.
Well, you just throw bananas at him, it's fine.
Throw bananas.
Oh yeah, you can
drop
throw
bananas.
Just throw bananas at them, it's fine. That's all you need to do. And then you can stealth them. And if you stealth hit them in the back, it's always a one-shot on them, no matter
you
what
can do
you're
that
using.
as well.
So you can do that against them. And again, you can do all of these things. You have some freedom within it, but I think it's one of those things where it's a dull moment of the game. It's a dull beat.
I didn't know that.
I thought finding the banana pantry was pretty funny.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
it
also
is.
think
It
that.
is actually.
I
Yeah.
also like how on there's like a set of mountains near the desert. On top of it, there's like a little camp and there's some bananas there. And I went there once and I thought, oh, there's some bananas here. Is there like a Yeti here or something? And I looked for the Yeti and then I came back at night and I got ambushed by like 5 Yiga people at once.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck is this?
So apparently, if you have more bananas in your inventory, you're more likely to be attacked out on the road.
Oh, that makes sense. Because I went to the jungle and found lots of bananas and suddenly found I was meeting more of them. That makes
Actually,
more sense.
let me check how many bananas I. Ow, my back. How many bananas do I have? Where's the controller?
Not enough bananas is the problem.
I have like 200 bananas, I think.
I actually talked to a traveler who ended up being a Yiga, and he was selling. He had like 99 bananas to sell.
I love the travelers. I love how you can just see as soon as you meet someone.
Yeah.
Traveler, oh, okay, there we go.
Yeah, but
See, they've
it's so
caught me out.
fun.
Because I was in the snowy area, climbing up to the snowboarding mini game, and I was like, "Oh, there's a guy sat at that camp. Why is he out here? It must be cold." So I went to talk to him. I was like, "Yeah, what's up, dude?" And then it dawned on me, and then I was like, "Shit, I shouldn't have talked to you.
188 bananas.
You are gonna get
That's pretty good.
so attacked by
Have
those
they
assassins."
have they started spawning blade masters at you yet?
I haven't been to the Yiga hideouts. so I
They
assume
will do it
don't
once you
that
get
yet?
to a certain amount of shrines. So
Oh,
everything in the
okay.
game, by the way, if you hadn't worked out already, is based on how many shrines you've beaten.
I think the enemies are actually based on how many of that enemy type you've killed. So if
Is
you
it?
kill more moblins, you get black moblins.
That
and
would be
silver
interesting.
moblins
I
or
was under
something.
the impression that everything in the game is based, and including like the difficulty and what they spawn at you,
Actually,
is based on what you've beaten of the game.
I know
since I did the desert area first, I got to the Yiga clan very early,
Mhm.
and the first Yiga that actually spawned was a Blade Master.
That's interesting. Maybe it's not then.
I know the blood moon is calculated by well. It's more likely to appear depending on how many enemies you've killed
Yes.
since the last one.
I've had two within the space of 2 days before, which was really fucking irritating.
Blood Moon.
among other things.
Blood Moon annoys me because it's
Just the cutscene.
it's not because of the cutscene. The cutscene was cool the first time it happened, and I was like,
I
oh,
was freaked the fuck
was
out by it
scared.
by the first time I saw it.
Yeah.
But then you're scared the first time you do it, and then you realize actually nothing's changed because the way it's presented, it sounds like all of the enemies will be buffed tonight. They can't die tonight. They're gonna mess you up tonight, and then actually they're just all normal and they've
Can
respawned.
I have a little story here about how the blood moon fucked me once?
Yeah.
Hmm?
I was fighting a Lionel, I got it to 10% health, and then the blood moon happened.
Oh.
I had killed a Hinox, and then the blood moon happened and rezzed it.
I was on Eventide Isle.
I fucking love the blood moon, bro. It's fucking fantastic.
The best thing that happened to me, I was sneaking behind a moblin. I killed it with one hit, sneak strike, and then the blood moon happened. I thought,
Yeah.
oh hey, he's here, and his fallen comrades' items are still lying here. Stab.
I really like the Castaway Island.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it
Eventide
is-
is a
it's
very
a-
good
it is-
little dungeon.
Yeah, it is.
It's a nice
Even-
little piece of game design, and I appreciate it.
And
I
that's-
spent like 3 hours there.
That's one of those quests where when you do get the shrine at the end, you're okay with that because you had such a
because
good
it's a
time
long,
getting to that
involved
shrine.
process.
Whereas when it's something like someone tells you, "Oh, use the trident and jump off the waterfall and hit the pedestal and it will spawn," it's like, yeah, but that was just putting
I
one
That
and
was
one
a little
together.
bit obscure. I'm okay with kind of little obscure side quests having them from
I
time
actually
to time.
Funnily enough, I had trouble with that quest because I would leap off the waterfall and then do the down
I
attack,
did
but
that,
that's like
yeah.
a down forward attack, which won't register it.
Yeah.
I did that at first too, and I hit the ground hard, and
And then you died.
I
probably.
got Mifa's Grace pop
Because
up.
fall
and I was
damage is
like, "That's
fucking
alright."
severe, mate.
Fall damage is severe.
Nice for a change.
Um,
Can I also put in my appreciation for the ragdoll system in the game and
Yeah.
how much I love and hate it all at once?
I don't
Yeah.
like it when
You
you
can
get
roll
knocked
down
a
the
hill.
mountain.
You
and
get knocked
die.
down a hill and you roll for fucking days.
But what's interesting is if you get hit by a laser or something that knocks you down, and then you get hit by another laser, you don't
don't
take
get hit,
damage
no.
from the second
They
laser.
can't OTG you, which I'm so happy about, because otherwise
But
that would be
if you get
ridiculous.
hit and then you roll down a hill, you will die.
Some of the late game Guardians will do like rapid fire 3 lasers at you if you don't reflect back at them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it gets fucking severe and that happens. It's really
I think-
annoying.
It's my favorite thing about the ragdoll is when you're shield surfing and
Oh, God,
the shield
yes.
breaks and it
Oh,
just
God.
eats shit down the whole mountain.
Yeah.
Shit
It's
down
like-
this whole mountain.
It's like when you
Ah!
get wasted in skate.
It's like
isn't
it's
it?
the
It's
it's the
like-
Simpsons Homer Simpson falling down the mountain scene.
yeah.
And it's the
Yeah.
best thing. It's like all my hearts are gone. What else do I have to say about shrines? Because I had something else to say about shrines, and I can't remember what it was. Do we like the shrine detector? Yes or no?
I don't use
Yes,
it.
I do.
I do.
I have
but
used it on a number of occasions, and now I'm at like 90. I'm using it all the time because fuck me, some of them are hidden so fucking well.
I
It's
think
not even
when I
funny.
get to that point, I'll look up where the side quests are to find the side quest
It's not
ones.
just side quests. Some of them are just hidden.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
I'll just look up a
There's
map,
there's
'cause
one quite
I'm
early in the
over
game. I missed
Yeah.
it in my first playthrough through. I actually started another file to just try some things out, and I found it on my second time through. It's near the Twin Peaks area. There's just a bombable wall on the side of a
Yeah.
mountain next to a river.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? I didn't even see this was a thing, and I wouldn't have known
Yeah.
about it unless
I know there's
I know which one you mean.
I've
It's
heard of
ridiculous.
that one. Yeah, I've heard.
There's-
people
There's some
talk about
behind waterfalls, which I'm okay with because you should check behind waterfalls because
Yeah.
you're
Because
playing
it's
a Zelda
Zelda.
game. What the fuck are you doing?
And there
one
are
of the
in the
ones,
snow area that are a pain to
Oh.
find.
my favorite one in the snow area is the one where you have to roll a snowball down a hill until it becomes a massive
Yeah,
boulder
I know
and
the one,
smashes
and then you have to
yeah.
block
escape.
out the sunlight. Yes.
There's
Some of the little sub quests are really good for shrines. I really
Yeah.
like them. They're really entertaining, and some of the little riddles that they give you, they're kind of like Zelda 1 obscure hint style
Dodongos
things.
dislike smoke.
Yeah, Dodongos dislike smoke, for example.
Actually,
Yeah, but the
Dodongos
better
don't
because they're
exist
not terribly
anymore.
translated.
Yeah, they don't. It would seem. What a shame.
The other thing I really like about the game is how it does feel very like a lived-in world.
Yes.
All of the NPCs have a schedule. They
They
get
have
up
a
in
name.
the
They
morning.
have a schedule. They
they
have
walk
personality
around.
of some kind.
Yeah,
No,
they'll
don't
talk to
jump.
you.
You know, don't jump,
Yeah.
man. That was nice. I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
that was funny. And also, if you follow a person like a traveling merchant on the road, you can just follow them around all day.
Yeah.
They don't
Yeah.
despawn. They just
Nope.
keep walking.
They just keep going.
Yeah,
I like
it's-
how Beedle is everywhere.
It's,
Literally
yeah,
everywhere.
it's good how if you arrive at somewhere Beetle is, it always looks like he's just
He
arriving
says, "Are you
there.
stalking me?"
Yeah.
One time, Beetle asked me if we had been married in a previous life.
Yeah,
I was
same.
like, Beetle, man, our
Have you
relationship is
picked up
getting
a
a bit
beetle
too
yet?
close.
Is the question because
Yes,
lots of
yeah,
people
he
I know
loves
have
to
not
buy-
picked
he
up a
loves to buy
beetle
your
and
Yeah.
beetles.
shown it to him because he goes fucking insane.
He goes, oh!
I was actually farming beetles for a armor upgrade, and then
Yeah,
so he
same.
asked me if I wanted if he could buy it, and I said no, and he started mumbling to himself
He's
about
gonna
how
steal
he'll
it from
wait.
you.
Yeah, he'll wait till I fall asleep and then replace
He
it with
loved-
the
that
regular
man
one.
loved
Oh,
He
beetles.
the
actually-
dark side of Beetle.
He actually started to be really passive aggressive to me when I denied it.
Yeah, it's great. I love how they all have personalities of some kind, and that's one of the things I really appreciate is that they didn't make a kind of open world game filled with shit
NPCs.
that doesn't matter. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
No name NPCs.
No name NPCs, but every NPC has a name in the game in some way, shape, or form. It means that someone has paid attention to that
Yeah.
NPC at some point.
Yeah. I like it.
I really like all the little details that you
The
just
little
find
details.
randomly.
The little details are what make Nintendo games at the end of the day.
Yeah.
That's it's one of
If
the
you-
things that
if
they
you
are
don't-
better
you're not
at than
re-
other people.
Yeah,
Ultimately.
the best example being if you're not wearing pants and as an extension shoes, and you open a box from any other
Yes.
side and then
Yeah.
from before, you hit your toe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Link stubs. his
I like
toe.
the fact that I go into like a random clothes shop and I can't find the attendant for the shop, and I realise she's in the corner, and you
Oh, I
can
did
ask
that,
her
yeah.
why she's in the corner rather than in the middle of the shop, and she goes, "I just feel more confident here."
Yeah.
I love the little things.
She's dating the guy from Bolson Construction as
Yeah.
well.
I
love-
also love
I
how
love
the
it.
construction worker is so fucking camp. I
He's
love
great.
Yeah.
the boss, how camp he is.
I love it.
Yeah.
I actually took to screenshotting every single one of his little things. I have them all saved. I should go.
He's
look
very
right
Yeah,
now.
my favorite. Remember the time you dazzled me? It's dazzling time again.
It's
dazzling
dazzling
time
time again,
again.
boy.
That's probably a nice segue into the music. Can we talk about the music?
Yeah.
Can we talk about how fucking good it is and how everyone that says it's shit is wrong?
Whoop whoop.
Okay.
Because I've had this chat with Cats. Cats is aware of this conversation that I've had with him.
Let's bring
Um,
Cats in. Cats, what's your view?
Cats, we had a conversation about Zelda music,
Yeah.
didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. Everyone's saying it's shit because it's all ambient plinky plonky
It's
stuff.
definitely not shit, and they just don't understand it. .biz.
It's
Biz.
different, but it's not bad.
It's ambient play. Can someone link me to? I make a lot of ambient plinky plonky stuff myself. Can someone link me to like a particularly good track?
The horse music is very ambient, plinky plonky.
It's
Yeah,
not.
it's not plinky plonky though. This is the thing.
Well,
It's-
I'm gonna be the judge of that because
I don't think Mike's music is plinky plonky either. If anything, I
Let me
think it's
find.
more
Would
as
you
like
rather have Riding
twangly
Day or
twangly.
Riding Night? 'Cause
I've already got him riding knight.
yeah,
Riding Night is.
I like
that's the one with the main Zelda theme, isn't it? In the background.
Yeah.
I think I've always liked Zelda music. I like this music. I find the Zelda soundtracks are very good to listen to if I'm working on something, like any of them.
Yeah.
And I have had no problems listening to this as a standalone soundtrack while doing some work. I also think that the nature of the music, that it's not always there, means that it can be there in places and bring out emotion in a scene because you're not used to it. So one example I've got is, what's his name? The accordion player guy?
Cass.
Yeah. So
Big Barra Bird.
the first time I met him, I was walking through the jungle, and it was that time he gives you the side quest to go look at the Dragon's Mouth Shrine.
Yes.
And I felt it was the first place I went actually after leaving the plateau. So I felt very out of my depth. I was quite scared of what I might find in this jungle, and just like finding this lovely accordion music and someone who was there, like in the world to say hi.
Okay, I just got a good
out.
sample of this.
Yep.
How can people have a fucking problem with this?
I know.
How?
Yeah.
I mean, even no, just from that, like it's all right. It's gonna fit into a bigger soundscape with like sounds of like wind and like a horse. Like it's not.
Birds
And
chirping.
the rustling of wind through grass.
Look at what the alternatives for that would be. Would you want some very distinctive big?
This is the other
orchestral
one.
That is
kind
what
of
people
production.
want, though. They want
Yeah,
a
then-
big,
in
bland
this
orchestral
case-
score to follow
That-
them everywhere.
That one is the one that I think gets a lot of plinky plonky. And that's a battle music, by the way.
That's
the Guardian
good
one.
because it builds up and it's like there is a guardian looking at you.
Blinky
That
plonky.
music
It's
gets
called
you
a
going.
fucking piano.
I know.
I had a problem with the horse music because it loops end on end. So if you're riding for a long time, it can get a little tedious.
I think.
You want to know what's tedious? The background music for Hyrule Castle.
What?
It gets repetitive so quickly. I'm
I'd
sorry.
agree.
I like
actually,
it
with
enough
that.
I
that it
don't
doesn't
think that
bug
got
me.
old every time I
And
listened
I mean,
to it. I enjoyed
it has
more.
it has one of my favorite Zelda songs in it. It has small bits of the Ballad of the
Ballad
Windfish
of the
in it.
Windfish. It's got the Zelda's
Hyrule
Lullaby.
Castle, of course.
It's got a bit of the
Message
Wind
from
Waker
Ganon,
Hyrule
it's got-
Temple.
It has Ganon's
Hyrule
theme when
Castle.
you're inside.
The Rito Village music is really good.
yeah,
but that
well,
also
everyone loves
stems
Dragon
off
Roost,
the
When all
right?
the
Dragon
birds
Roost Island.
start singing at the same time as well, and then if you like
Okay,
set
so
a bomb
that-
near one of them,
This boss music is fucking fine too. It's an actual original thing,
I know.
and it's actually done in kind of a clever way. All right, so all of the piano things are panned really hard, either like left or right, and they're all in this kind of higher register. So they don't actually overlap with sort of the sound of the fight, which is gonna kind of be in the more. Why would people have?
So the whole point of the
problem
Guardian
with this-
battle theme is that you're fighting like an ancient but very technologically advanced enemy.
Yeah,
So
no,
it's supposed
I mean,
to be
I saw-
kind of
I
off-putting in that way.
Yeah, no, I saw
I-
just like it's okay, like free tonal piano music. It's I hate to do the pretentious. I went to a school with an avant-garde music program, but Jesus Christ, like there's a huge precedent for this kind of for music like this, and this is a way more palatable form of it.
I just think it meshes really well with the game. I think it is. I think it's outstanding.
It's fine. I've got no problem with it.
Yeah, there was a game that did an entirely solo piano fucking soundtrack, and it was actually pretty good. And Katz knows this game.
Which game is it? I don't remember it.
Monaco.
Oh,
Monaco, yeah.
Oh,
yes,
That's wonderful. Yeah.
Piano is a great instrument, and I wish people used it more often.
The piano is really versatile.
Not even just like just say piano itself, but just a score that really emphasizes specific instruments. So Austin Winery, the guy who did Monaco, he has this thing where he does do like the traditional orchestra, for kind of big sort of moments, but he always hires a few soloists to fill out like most of the soundtrack. So he did Journey, and that soundtrack
That's
is
got a
just
nice soundtrack.
yeah, it's just like
Journey's got a
it's
good soundtrack.
cello.
Yeah.
It's the cellist is just the full on like fucking star of that.
Yeah, the thing is, the cello is very expressive.
Oh wait, well,
Yeah.
yeah, of course.
Very, very much so. Yeah.
And it goes kind of away from like a lot of the mid range in kind of orchestral things. It's going to be this big brass and it's epic and then loud ass fucking timpanis. So kind of hearing a stringed instrument in that range sort of take charge is really good. But yeah, no, people have problems with this music. I mean, when has there been a fucking giant sweeping Hans Zimmer fucking production in a Zelda game ever?
Well, I'd say a lot
Skyward
of them...
Sword had orchestrated music.
Zelda
Well,
has
no,
big orchestral themes, but
it
they
does.
play very rarely.
Yes.
Twilight
Yeah,
Princess's Hyrule Field, I think,
Yeah.
is pretty
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, but I
I
mean,
love that though.
and
What's-
the earlier Zelda games, from like sampled, sound like synthesized kind of things had they implied an orchestral
Yeah.
kind of thing, but
Yeah, like
As far
Dark
as you could
World
go
from
with
Link
boop,
to the
beep,
Past.
boop, beep, boop in the
Yeah.
in the
But-
NES, for example.
But if they remastered it, they wouldn't like fill those out with an orchestra if they say had to make
No.
those games again. Like part of the charm was this lack of bass.
There's a
I
really,
really
good
liked
group
the,
called Zelda Reorchestrated who
Yes.
Yeah.
do all of the Zelda games in orchestra, which is really nice.
I don't like their stuff.
One
I'm
of
gonna
the
be honest.
interesting
Oh.
things I did, I think it was last year or the year before, is there's a repackaged version of Link to the Past called MSU Zelda 3, which is the MSU it's a not real enhancement chip for the Super Nintendo that you can kind of do on flash cards now, and you can do it on emulators as well. Basically gives it CD quality audio, and people did the Link to the Past soundtrack kind of orchestrated with CD quality audio, and that was quite an interesting little experiment, which I quite enjoyed.
I really liked the in Breath of the Wild, the music in the snowy mountain areas.
Yeah,
'Cause it makes it feel really empty.
Yeah.
And barren and cold and
There's
Yeah,
a lot of
just
really
Wasteland.
uncomfortable.
ambient
Just
bits that I like. There's a lot of really atmospheric pieces that I like the dragons, for example. Anytime you meet one
Yeah.
of them,
Those are good.
And it's a little
the
bit
dragon-
Chinesey sounding as
Very-
well.
It
They're
is,
like
actually,
Well,
because they're
Chinese
Chinese
that's what
style
they're
dragons,
designed
I guess.
after.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Chinese
there's-
dragons.
I like how it comes out of nowhere as well. I
Yeah.
played on the bus today on the way back from looking for a sofa.
How dare you play video games in public?
I know, Quentin would
What are you,
kill
some
me.
kind of...
Quentin Wood.
But I was doing it regardless, and the wind started picking up in the area I was in, and I was like, I don't think there's supposed to be wind here. And then the intro to the song starts, and you go, oh, okay, it's one of those. The first time it ever happened to me, I shat myself, because I had no idea what the fuck it was, and I went, oh my god, it's huge.
yeah, I was in the
Yeah.
forest and I just saw something huge and yellow move behind the trees.
When you meet the Lanayru one as well, and it's
Yes.
like, oh,
Was-
that's
I-
what's
I-
at the top
so
of
I
this
did run
mountain.
first. The thing that gets me, by the way, is that if the sun is out while the dragon is out, it casts a fucking gigantic shadow from the sun.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
And the first time that ever happened to me, I went, what the fuck is this? And I looked up towards the sun, and it was
I've done that before.
obscured
even when
by a
I've known
dragon,
about
and you're
the
like,
dragons,
oh
and
my
I've gone,
god,
oh
this is
dear.
amazing.
I think I saw the fire dragon first, and my
Yeah.
first thought was, I'm not even going to approach that.
I like
Yeah.
how its thing is, it bears you no ill will, but it will fuck you up if you come near it.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't mean to, it just is, you know?
Just,
It's
fire
one of those things.
spews from its anus.
There's I know, fire spews from every pore on it. Despite that it doesn't appear
I
to have
think it was
pores.
kind of annoying how in like the wild set, how to upgrade it fully, you need a bunch of materials from each dragon, and so
I
you end
kinda
up
like
farming them.
It's not difficult to farm. It's kind of busy work, which I don't really like, but at
Well,
the same
that's
time,
what I mean. It gets
I
tedious.
don't mind it because it's really easy, which is part of the thing.
I
Yeah.
can't upgrade anything at the moment because I don't have enough hightail lizards.
Oh boy, hightail lizards.
They're really easy to find.
They are, but I can't be bothered to
They're
go and
fucking
find
annoying, is
50
the
of
point.
them.
Have you upgraded the radar?
Yeah,
Oh,
but
there's
I
that as
don't
well. I
like
always
the
forget- I
radar.
always
The
forget about
radar
that.
annoys me.
I
don't
always
like the
forget that
noise
is a
it
thing that
makes.
you can actually do, and it makes the game so much easier, so much
Yeah.
less busy work.
I had to use those for the like Thunder Beetles or whatever.
I haven't looked for Beatles yet. I probably should do.
The only thing I don't like about the music is the bit that I've just posted in the chat. There's a point at about 1 minute and 6 seconds in the main theme where all of the instruments stop.
Yeah,
And
that's from the
it
trailer.
sounds wrong.
Yeah.
People
is
said
the
that
trailer.
all the way
Is it
from
the main
E3
theme?
trailer. People were saying that.
I thought
It's-
it was the trailer at the time, and I thought that'll be fine. It's something to do with the way they recorded it, but
Yeah,
it
it's-
sounds
it's-
like it's cut.
The thing is, that track is never played in the game.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Is it played in the game?
Final Battle?
Yeah, but that's a different version of that.
I think it still does it. I remember
There's,
when I
oh,
was
wait,
fighting
wait,
Ganon,
there's
or
a-
maybe
there's
it
like
was
a
in the
lull in the
credits.
song, but it doesn't actually stop
yeah,
in that way.
speaking of the
unnaturally.
final battle,
Who
when
not
you're
everyone here
suppo-
has done yet, I assume.
Yeah, but there's a part. You're supposed to do something in this battle, and if you just pull it, if you just don't do it, then you just don't do it because you need to get in position first.
Yeah.
The same part of the song will loop the
Yeah, it
same
will.
like 3 seconds again and again and again and
It's
again.
also that was such an easy fight, and it was so
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's designed to be
it's
there because it's
piss
designed to be
easy.
beatable when you're at 3 hearts. I mean, it was going to be the case. It's designed so that you can do it whatever your skill level is,
I
and
think
whatever
you
your
actually
equipment
have to-
level is.
You have to actually try to be hit to actually get hit.
You,
at that
that's
point.
what I found as well. I was trying not to get hit, and I thought, okay, well, it's fairly
And if
easy
if
not to
you've
get
just
hit.
done the boss rush and just beat, second form, then
Yeah,
you're
it's
just
unlikely
gonna
to
plummet
be a massive
difficulty.
struggle if you've managed to do that. But I think
you can
that's kind of
stock
the
up on
point. Is that
fairies
Yeah.
before you go.
It tells you get out of here and do the divine beast and then come back,
yeah.
or get good.
But the piece of music that I was probably going to be on my show and tell is this one, which I think not everyone has realised yet, despite there being a fairly high profile YouTube video on it at some point. It's called Tarrytown, which
love
is the best
Tarrytown.
you can do. And it is 9 minutes 46 seconds long because it is. I know, it's such a good little line. Did you notice, by the way, that whenever you get someone to go back to the
It
town,
gets another instrument, right?
and it gets another instrument, but as they're leaving, the cutscene where they leave from where they are,
Yeah,
there's a
plays
little
this.
piano, just a little ditty. Where
I
it's
love
cute,
Tarry.
Yeah.
How the fuck can someone hate this?
It's the Tarrytown is probably my favorite track on the entire soundtrack,
That's my
purely
favorite side
because of
quest.
the variations that
How
it gets.
the fuck can someone hate this?
And the
What
best thing is that the little variations that you get are other instruments coming in playing the town theme of where you got that character. So
Oh,
you
wow.
get the Goron town soundtrack,
Which
you
is
get
ridiculous,
the
by the
Zora's
way.
Domain soundtrack. You
Yeah,
get
the Goron part I think is a little annoying because of how brazen the brass is at some
it
parts.
is, but it also makes sense because the Gorons are that brazen. Thematically, that kind of makes sense. I'm okay with that.
It is,
love,
but it's
love
still
this,
it's so
love this,
Yeah,
love
well,
this
even
idyllic thing. You know what I'm getting shades of. Civ 6. That's what we're on. Yeah.
Yes, Civ 6.
Civ 6, America's theme,
Yes, exactly.
which is
With that
It's a,
actually,
front, it's a
Hamburger
frontier.
music.
Tarrytown is a frontier town. That's kind of the point.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
a brand new frontier town that
and
they've
it's
created with your help.
it's got that same thing. Like America's theme in Civ 6 is
It's fantastic.
the medieval version is the best version, but
It's
but
just the banjo,
uh,
just on its
it-
own. It's great.
it's no, the medieval version is the
Oh, no, the
full
ba- no,
kind
sorry,
of
that's the ancient
bluegrass
version, the medieval's different. It's got
band and
brass
string
as well, yeah.
quartet.
Yeah.
But it's just a version of like this song from 1850 something
Mm.
called "Hard Times Come Again No More."
It's really good.
I love it
Yeah.
when traditional stuff is used.
It's,
They
Oh, there-
do
there's
that
the
a
horn.
lot in fucking Civ games. They like
Baba
all of the
Yetu
songs
Yetu
in
Ye-
Civ 6 are all fucking.
they're all traditional to the culture that they are representing. At that
Except
point.
they kind of butchered like the like Arab and Persian ones.
Yeah,
but you
I'm
know
sure
what?
they did.
You can't. There's only
You
so
can't,
far
you can't be
can go.
perfect all the time, right?
That's all right.
You
Are they
can't-
still
Cultures
using?
don't play video
Do they still have
games.
Baba Yetu in it?
No, but it has what is it? Il Sogno. It's the Song of Flight, isn't it? I think is what it is. I can't remember.
The same guy.
Yeah, it's the same guy, Christopher Tin. Yeah, and it's really good. It really is really good. The main theme for Civ 6. It's really fantastic game on an audio level. I really liked all of it.
Yeah, but I think I this music is fucking great, and anyone who has I haven't even played the game. Anyone who has a problem with it can go fuck themselves.
Yep, pretty much that was
I think the problem, it's not a problem with the soundtrack. The problem people have with the soundtrack is it's not what they were expecting, and it's different.
Oh,
Yeah.
And they don't want
no,
the change.
something subverted
Something
my expectations.
different. What a shame.
What Jesus
I mean, it's
Christ.
not like we've been complaining
You know-
about Zelda for the last 10, 20 years, whatever it is.
you
How
know-
dare they change it
I
when we've
think
asked them
it's
to
pretty
change
weird
it?
too because the gameplay has been completely
Everything was retooled.
subverted.
Isn't
Yeah.
this a
And
Zelda
they have
cycle?
no problem with that, but they have the problem with the music.
Maybe. Maybe it
Nice.
is a Zelda cycle. We'll see what
Nice.
happens, I guess, but...
You know, I was playing Bloodborne, and I was liking it until all those screechy, scratchy string instruments came in, and that
Also,
just I was
I'm gonna
waiting
keep
for
posting
choirs
music
to
'cause
go.
I love this one as well.
You know, I was waiting for that, and this just ruined my Dark Souls experience when I played Bloodborne. All those notes in Bloodborne are out of tune.
It's not like it's supposed to be out of tune because what you're seeing is completely fucked up.
They're not even out of tune. It's fucking atonal music.
I know.
It's God.
It's great. I like
Read a
like
fucking
how
book.
they integrated lots of old Zelda soundtracks into this game.
Listen to a fucking book.
Listen to a book already, yeah, great.
No,
Take a look, it's in the book.
People talking in a very just people
No,
pretending
music
that they
shit,
know a
no.
goddamn thing about music when they clearly don't just irritates the shit out of me.
Yeah, I had
Like,
this
how many-
conversation with Cats the other day where I said that I think that music or audio in video games is like easily as important as any of the other main pillars of it, like gameplay or graphics or whatever else you choose.
I
to-
mean, it's very
have.
genre dependent.
On a level
but-
with graphics, I'd say.
I'd
definitely.
say that a good soundtrack can save a terrible game.
Yep,
Oh, yeah.
definitely.
Oh,
in
I
the same
tell
way
you
that
what,
good gameplay can save
some
a
of
terrible,
my favourite game
terrible graphics
soundtracks,
or
I've never
whatever
even
else.
played the
Yeah.
game. Like Mad World soundtrack, Anarchy Reigns
Oh, God.
soundtrack. I love
Yeah.
those.
Oh man, you know it was a great
Never
game
played
that
it.
was that good God, you just gotta fucking turn off the goddamn music.
Go on.
Mountain Blade.
Mountain Blade. Yeah, that's true.
I can't even remember the music from Mountain Blade.
Yeah, you have
Be-
because everybody turns it off
Be glad.
quite immediately.
I got
It
another
was
one.
you could tell like it was originally a Turkish husband and wife, and they just hired someone to go like play European music,
Yeah,
The thing
European
is,
medieval music. It's
I don't know.
it's fucking terrible.
But yeah, I love the music in Breath of the
My
Wild, and
friends.
if anyone fucking tells me that it's bad, I'll fucking fight you.
Here is the music
I'll fucking
that
fight
should
you.
be muted.
What is this one?
Oh god.
No, I can do better than that if I've still got the, where is it? Where's my bookmark? Where's my bookmark? Oh, please tell me that. Oh, I didn't
That's
save.
God
That's
damn it,
pretty
you got
close.
me with Mansion Basement again.
Wait,
Okay, alright. How about this one? Have you seen this
Wait.
one before?
where's the desert bus one?
No,
Crazy Bus.
I've just done it. This
My one was YouTube Doubler, and it was that, the Mansion Basement, with the intro to Yoshi's New Island, I think it was.
God.
Oh yeah.
And it was that
Kazoo.
one mixed in with
Oh,
it was
man,
both of them at
Crazy
the same
Bus.
time, and it was the best thing.
If you open Crazy Bus,
This is
play
Crazy
Crazy
Bus,
Bus
this
in like
is-
seven different tabs, and it will cancel out all the music. Honestly,
this is I haven't heard this before. This is some Forbidden Planet shit.
You should listen to the platinum mix of the Yoshi's New Island theme
What?
someone did. They replaced all the instruments with burps and fart noises.
Doesn't
I
surprise
bet
me
it
at
sounded
all.
the same.
But no, so yeah, that was my thing, I guess, for this episode, for Zelda at least, that I wanted to get off my chest.
Yeah.
Was I
All right,
fucking
all
hate
right,
it when
so-
people say
so
that it's
here
shit.
we go. Just go to that timestamp.
What is this? What is this?
What the fuck?
What the hell?
I'm almost reminded of like the Gen 3 trumpets from Pokemon, which were...
Oh!
Out of
Gen
nowhere,
3
that
trumpets.
just turns into Banjo-Kazooie music.
Oh, that's
That's
can we
the
talk about
fucking-
Burger
that's
music
the
as well while we're
fucking
here?
thing.
The return of
I
Burger
like
music.
Banjo-Kazooie music.
No, but it's Mountain Blade. it's just in the middle of it's like, okay, I'm part of a large I'm in a huge mountain combat. People are dying around me. It's this
And then
big
there's that.
chaotic battle, and then all of a sudden it's Nintendo music.
This sounds
you're
sort
right.
of like the synths that come with FL Studio.
Exactly.
Nice.
and to harp on earlier, nobody else really does Nintendo's thing.
Yeah,
And
it's
there's
true.
a reason it doesn't fit everywhere.
Before I stop with Zelda music, can we take a second to appreciate the fact that we've got a Zelda game where the main character does not play any music of any kind
That
throughout the
annoys
game?
me a bit, actually.
It's another convention that they've dropped, which I
think
found very odd.
But
It
I
does
think
what?
that could have helped with some of the issues, such as rain, where if you'd been able
You could
to
have
get
had
a
Song of
song
Storms.
that
Yeah.
stopped the rain, then that would be another.
Maybe Abosa could have taught you that, considering that
You
she has
could
control
make it
over
so
lightning
that
and thus
you
Yeah.
played a
weather.
violin
You
or
can
a
actually
cello, and
weaponize
his
weather.
bowstring on it broke.
You can
so
weaponize
you'd have
weather,
to go
which is
make a
always
new one.
entertaining.
But he can
Storm's brewing.
Yeah.
That's
It whistles.
true. I guess you can do that. You can also use that to glitch the game and just not lose stamina while you dash. But hey,
do.
I've never worked out how to do that.
you mash both down on the D-pad and B at the same time, and it seems to work perfectly.
Oh, what, you like alternate them?
I think you just mash both of them.
Okay,
It doesn't even need to be timed or anything. I think
cool.
I'm
there's
gonna
probably
try.
a more elegant way of
Gonna
doing
have
it,
to
but
claw
that's
for that.
the easiest
I'm
way.
gonna try. 1 second.
It's not difficult to do. It just gives you more speed and less stamina usage, or no stamina usage.
That whistle reminds me of that. There's a part where you're with Daruk's ancestor, whose voice is like, really bad.
Yeah, but,
But,
Yeah,
to be
well.
honest, his role
He
does
is
not give
voiced
him a lot
by
to do
the
with.
voice of Brock from seasons 9 to 13 of Pokemon.
Yep.
Well, it just sounds so
as,
weird
as
coming
from
out of
the
a
info
Goron.
sheet that Specs linked earlier.
Yep.
In other news, you can actually use the whistle to attract enemy attention, which I always find entertaining as well.
Yeah, but
Because they don't tell you you can do that, but you can, because it makes sound, and why wouldn't it? Because sound
Okay,
is part of
I'm,
their little engine that they've got in there.
Okay, here's what I do. I use the right stick with the left stick with my middle finger. I hold down the down button
That is wrong.
and I mash B, and he's just running while sweating and having his hands in front of his face,
Yep.
and it looks ridiculous.
But there are
It's
so
like he's
many
running
little
away from the
things
prom.
in Zelda that I like. So many little things, audio-wise and gameplay-wise and everything else. I think it's a game of little things for me.
Yes, yeah. I think
Yeah.
For me, it's very much that.
little frame drops here and there.
Little frame drops. Well, I'm not
Yeah.
getting them so much anymore, I'm afraid.
I actually haven't experienced any frame drops in a long time.
Even
There-
they
there was
even
an
fixed it in
update
fucking
recently
in the
that
Kokari
fixed it
Forest.
on
Fuck
the
me.
Switch.
Yeah.
Fuck me.
I was on the Wii U, and I don't actually remember getting any frame drops in the Korok
You
Forest.
remember incorrectly.
You remember incorrectly. It dips to like
Yeah,
15
well,
in there.
Yeah.
Keeping in mind that I have a mediocre computer and that
Oh,
barely
right.
runs at 30 FPS, I don't really have that distinguishing eye.
It got pretty obscene for me. I did.
Oh fuck, Yiga.
I'm pirating Amiibo now. By the way, I'm gonna say this completely like. I'm just gonna say it. I'm pirating Amiibo now. And every
Cool.
time you drop an Amiibo in there, fuck me, the frame rate just tanks like a fucker. Also, killing moblins for some reason. I'm never entirely
Yes,
sure why that
their
happens as well.
ragdoll physics cause it to slow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
do for
I had
whatever
it
reason. There must be
freeze-
kind of skeleton issue in there.
I had it freeze on me several times
Yeah.
for like a second or so.
Yeah,
with
it does.
both
It does that.
moblins and bokoblins.
Very odd. Very odd.
What's the name of that huge Korok with the maracas?
Oh, not
Oh, the
Hestu.
broccoli,
Hestu.
the piece of
Hestu.
broccoli.
Hestu, that's it.
Yeah, can we
Hestu is the best.
set aside some time to talk about how adorable the noises he makes are?
Yeah.
Why don't we talk about him
I
now?
love.
Can we not just talk about
Yeah.
Yahaha?
Yeah!
Yeah.
And then you drop the rock right back
And
on
then
their
you-
fucking head.
I like the Koroks. I like how they're handled. I like Hestu. I dislike the fact that you start off with so few inventory items.
I missed Hestu the first
Oh
time.
my
'cause
God.
How?
You
I
poor
didn't
soul.
go straight
It's
to
easy to do. I
Kakariko
also
Village.
didn't do any story content for like 5-6 hours.
I went
do
to
anything.
Hateno Village at the start, and then from there I climbed Laneru Mountain, and I
Yep.
went in the back of Kakariko. So I had to
Yeah,
look
it's
up a
very easy.
guide on where to find Hestu, because while he's obvious if you go the way you're supposed to go, and
Mhm.
the game tells you go down here and go up there, because it's so free roam and you can go wherever you want, it's like, well, I missed him, and so I was walking around with so few item slots for so long.
It took me a long time to find him the second time because I was avoiding that whole Hyrule Field area because I figured I'd
Where he
tackle it.
stays in one of the stables,
wait.
doesn't he? It's like
Yeah.
the main stable for Hyrule Field. Does he go straight there, or you go straight there though?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
I didn't know. I mustn't.
don't know.
I mustn't have found it yet because I think it
went
was
to
the next place I went
Oh, yeah.
after I talked to him.
I
fo-
love the theme for the Lost Woods.
Yeah, it's really good.
I find it incredibly creepy, which
It
is
is.
which is what it's
that's
supposed
the whole
to be.
point.
Yeah.
Good.
Who brute
Creepy
forced
and
the puzzle?
disorienting.
I figured it out. I'm so happy. I'm so smart because I figured a puzzle out for babies.
You
Which
are
is which is what I love
clever
about
man.
Zelda, by the way.
What the
I
thing with
actually
the thing in the Lost Woods? You mean?
Yeah.
Oh
I
god!
actually- I actually had to
Follow the
look it
fire,
up.
bro.
Yeah, I
Follow the fire.
climbed the mountain in front of me to see if there was a hint up there. Looked down, saw the torches. Oh, I'm an idiot.
Well, I got two of the things wrong. First, I thought I had to follow torches, and there's no torches after a certain point. Then I noticed
Yeah.
that the torches ended at a tree that had a big grin on it, so I had to follow those, and that actually works for a
That's
while.
kind of what I did.
So that totally
Yeah.
threw me off.
Same.
Yeah.
And then I said,
I
"Oh,
didn't
sparks."
figure it out. Didn't figure it out, and I still got there. Which
I-
is good.
I'm-
It's good.
I'm
you can
very
get there
proud.
without
I'm very
figuring
proud
it
to
out.
say that I only needed help finding 4 shrines, and I only needed help with 1 shrine quest.
What were the shrines that you couldn't find without spoiling too much? I suppose.
One I just never noticed that one.
Okay.
The other one. Wait, let me see.
There were a couple
I actually
that
don't remember.
were in areas I had thought that I had been to, but I hadn't actually walked over there.
There are several
Yeah.
that are quite obscure because you can't find them with the tracker.
Yeah, unless
Because
you
if
open
they're
doors.
hidden, if they're under the ground and need to be revealed, then you can't find them that way.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
Most
when-
of those you can get from Cass, and there's like a list of places where he is within the game, which is I think is a really nice touch. I like the fact that they put that in there.
Yeah,
you go to his house basically, and it's his list of places where he's going.
Well,
is
it's
there.
not his house. It's
Oh,
like
okay.
it's where
It's
he
his place
stays.
where he hides from his family that he's abandoned. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, if you do all his quests, he'll be
He
back
goes
at Rito
back.
Village,
And
and,
then he
he
goes
has
back,
a
yeah.
complete version of the accordion song.
Yes, it does. Yeah,
I like
which is really
that.
nice. And you get to hear the accordion song doing
Musical rewards are the
Dragon
best.
Dragon Roost Island.
And
but
if you find him at a stable, he's playing Epona's song.
he is.
Yeah.
I also like how the horse god does both Zelda's Lullaby and Epona's theme at the same time. That's quite
Yeah.
cute.
I haven't found the horse. god yet.
The horse god was the first fairy fountain
Oh
thing
my
I found.
god.
Yeah, I
What
thought it was
the
a regular.
fuck
is this?
I thought it was a regular fairy fountain, and I'm like,
So
what
did
the-
I.
I've only
Then
found
this
3
thing
of
climbs
them so
out.
far. I've got one more to get. So
I thought it was funny that she basically threatens to whoop your ass if you do
Which
anything
one
to your
have
horses.
you found? Which ones have you found?
I've got the one near the Rito village. I've
Yeah.
got the one near the in the Akala region,
Yep.
near Tarrytown.
Mhm.
I've got the one, the obvious one in Kakariko
Okay.
village. I
You
ignored
want-
Kakariko village for so long. I went there, talked to Impa, and then just like instantly left. And
Yes.
it was hours and hours until I came back and did the whole of Kakariko village.
I
Do
haven't
you
done all
want
the
to
quests
know
in
where the
there
last
yet.
one is?
I know where the last one
I
is.
think I want to find it myself.
I'm
It's
not gonna.
probably
I'm not
in
gonna
the
I'm not gonna
Kakariko
tell you
village
where it
somewhere.
The fairy that is there is easily the best one.
No,
Yeah, definitely.
I hope it's a man.
No, but it's the best one just because of the behavior. It's great. I love her. She's my favorite.
Yeah.
I go to her even when I could go to the others.
I've
just to
heard
talk
that
to
it's
her
a
again.
bit lewd when you get 4-star upgrades. Is
Uh,
Yeah.
I wouldn't say lewd as such, but it's suggestive.
I mean,
it's suggestive.
it's every single one has been an upgrade, so to speak. So yeah.
I mean, the game is suggestive as fuck anyway. I mean, getting into Gerudo Village, for example, is just...
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
fantastic. I like it.
And just
They know their audience.
Guys-
On
Yeah,
top of
guy
this,
who's
they
try-
know a portion of their audience. They understand, which I'm okay with.
Another thing that I have a friend who's also a furry, and he hates Nintendo, but he's gotten so obsessed with the Gerudo outfit,
Oh my
and
god.
he has now the outfit, not Link in it.
Yeah.
Well, Link in it too, but that's something else. But
Yeah, I think that's
he has now
besides
a
the point.
massive conflict of interest here. Because, no, I can't like this, but
But I like it.
From what I've seen, Cass has a really disproportionate following
Cass's
lewd
Bara.
fan
This
art.
happens with
He's the Bara.
Nintendo games.
He's that guy.
yeah,
Yeah.
same with Zidon.
I'm
Oh,
not
Yeah.
yeah,
gay,
no
but
one
that word is
swims
fucking
like
hot.
Sidon. No one.
What's
No one
what's,
says like
what's
that
the
on.
character's name?
I really like
Cass.
Inside On.
Cass is the
Cass.
bird. He's the bird.
Kass.
He's the like the blue, the big buff macaw dude.
I
like
was
the
really
way-
surprised. Why does everyone like this bird? And then he says, oh god, okay, this voice, okay, this does
He's
it.
the Norwegian blue, very popular breed.
He's
Very
just
popular.
resting.
He's just resting, mate.
He's pining for the fjord.
Pining for the fjord. Pining for the fjord. Kind of talk. No, let's not go there.
Guys, guys,
Yeah, we'll be here all day.
Tell me
Yeah,
true. Is it gay as a straight man to be attracted to Link when he's in the Gerudo outfit?
No,
No,
I
He's
can't-
a woman,
I can't-
right?
he's
I
a woman.
can't- I
he
can't
can
tell
be
you
whatever you
because I'm
want him to
gay.
be.
He's a good little guy when he's in that outfit.
As
Yeah.
as a gay man, do you find Link attractive when
The
he's in the
argument
woman
is-
outfit?
Absolutely not at all. He looks like a child.
He's a
The
twink.
argument is that it's not gay if the dick is feminine.
Well, I'm sure Link has a very feminine dick.
Yeah, I'm sure it
This
must
is-
be.
Vagina bones.
This is where
Jenny.
I kind of fall out of that whole very inclusive like gender thing because for me it's very simple. Just into men, you know. I don't get to have these fun little questions
I
where it's like,
kind of-
is this gay? Is this gay?
I
Well,
kind of
it's
feel
very
like
clear
the
cut
whole
for me.
Gerudo area subplot thing that they have going there
what?
is because they recognise that the female portion of their audience likes that to a large extent. I think when Shiny's not going to take part in this thing because she does not want any spoilers whatsoever. If you start even talking to her about Zelda, she fucking flips out. But when she's finished,
Shiny
she's going to
flips
love
out
that
at
entire
anything.
section of the game.
I love
Among
that.
other things.
I love that section of the
Well,
game.
Everyone
I'm
loves that
just
section of the
starting
game.
there.
It's good. It's a good section of
I
the
don't think
game.
it matters if you're a man or a woman. Oh, I bet there's some men who are super manly men.
I
who are
of
really
course.
think there are
competent.
going to
They're
be
like,
more
I-
women that end
I'm
up
a
liking
woman.
you than
I
there are
mean-
than men, though. And I don't mean
I'm a counselor, and but I still consider myself at least somewhat manly. And Jesus Christ, I don't have a fucking problem with it.
I don't think it's so much you have a problem with it, but there's a difference between actively liking something and going for more of it and not disliking it in that way. And I think there will be
I can
more.
see that.
I think there will be more of the female audience that actively really enjoy that particular piece of the game than there will be men that do so.
From what I've seen, no.
Yeah, but we are kind of sequestered out here in the middle of our little niche bit of the internet. I don't think that responds to the 925,000 people who have bought the game on Switch, despite the fact they've only sold 900,000 Switches. Very odd. That's
You
another
gotta,
thing
keep,
entirely,
you
though.
gotta keep one as a collector's edition.
Yeah, well, this
yeah.
is that's what they say people are doing. In fact, very odd.
Also,
I have
more
got
copies of the game
You've got
on
to buy
Switch
one to eat
than they did
because
Switches.
you know that it tastes funny, and then you keep the other one.
Ah,
You got to taste them all. You know.
I
All
see,
the
I
time.
see the game,
what
but I've
the
got
fuck
the Wii U
was
and
that?
the Switch version, so-
I only saw that headline. What the fuck happened with that?
So
okay,
apparently,
basically what Nintendo did is code the game cartridges in a very, very artificial bitter.
It's the thing that they use to make like toddlers stop biting their nails and stuff. It's nasty shit.
It's really,
It's-
really.
It's
gross.
For the
harmless, but it's
exact
nasty
purpose
shit.
of not having children accidentally eat them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But dogs will still chew them.
Yep.
stupid dogs.
Stupid
And then
dogs.
they ruin your save file.
Yep.
It was a copy
Actually,
of
they
One
can't
to
ruin
Switch,
your
so
save file
no.
in this case. Because for the Switch version, at least, the save file is on the Switch, not on the cartridge. Because the
Nani?
cartridges are read-only. That's a cartridge. The game card is read-only.
Okay, that's
So
cool.
all the save files are held on the machine.
Oh,
You
that's
wake
good
up to
know.
see your dog has mauled your game cartridge and somehow managed to find all the Koroks.
But then I can't take my save to my friend's
Fucking
house
doggos.
and play it at my friend's house.
Doggos
on my
are in the
friend's
game
Switch,
as
but
well,
I
they're
can
pretty
take
good.
my
To your
Switch
friend's
to my
house.
friend's house.
You take the Switch to your friend's
Oh,
house.
Technology.
Nerd.
How long before Sony copies it?
You'll be that nerd. You'll be that nerd if you do that. But it's fine.
Bring it round your
Do you remember
So,
that
will
thing
Sony
with
copy
the
it?
friend's house on the roof? you
Sony
know,
will
for the roof
arguably say
party?
that they were copying it years ago when they made the Vita, which is partially true because that's their big portable.
The only
Yeah,
thing I
but
can
what about the
remember
Game
from
Boy?
the Vita is its weird cameo in House of Cards.
God, yes, that was fun. I liked that. Fuck
Is
it, I
that
liked
a
House of
PS
Cards.
Vita?
PS Vita. He plays the shooting games on it.
PS Triple.
PS
I
Triple.
love that scene from Wayne's World where
Oh, God.
it's just non-stop product placement and they do it in the most beautiful,
Yeah.
self-aware way.
I don't mind product placement if it's really like
Have any of you seen
If it's not ironic, I guess.
the
but
Power
if it's
Rangers movie?
The
tongue in
new
cheek,
one?
thankfully not.
No, I've seen the old one where
Because
they
all
start
I
off by
ever
like
hear about is
skydiving.
Krusty Kreme, Krusty Kreme, Krusty Kreme.
Oh god.
Well, have you played Final Fantasy 15 Quest for the Cup Noodle?
Cup noodles, mate. I gotta get me some cup noodles. They're the
Cup
best.
noodle. Oh,
How
let's
do you
talk-
like your? What do you like best in your cup noodles, Specs?
We need to talk about the DLC they're bringing out for that at some point.
I have not played it since I beat the game, and I
I
really
haven't
really
played
wanted to go
any
and
of
get
the
all the
game,
royal tombs and
but,
stuff, and I haven't done it yet.
Let's talk about DLC for Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, we can do actually.
Yeah.
What do we think it's going to be about? What do we think it's going to
Well,
be
there's
like?
a hard mode, like immediately. I wonder if they're gonna take the hero mode approach. Where
Isn't it? They're doing a story mode first, and then later on they're doing the like.
I think
I
the
think-
story
hard
mode
and
comes
stuff.
out at the end of the year, and hard mode comes out soon.
Oh, okay. So it's the opposite.
I
of that.
There's a
expect
release
it to-
schedule for it.
I expect it to be something that has to do with the ending teaser
yeah,
of
maybe.
the
Oh,
game.
I haven't
the
seen
main
it.
story.
I think it will either be the ending teaser or it will be a flashback to like the original.
I'm thinking a flashback. Yeah.
I think that would make more sense.
I mean,
it will build
have
the
a-
characters more for a start, and they should have done that to start with, to be honest with you. But hey, we've had that conversation
Okay,
already, so no need to do it again.
Currently, the expansion pass includes 3 new treasure chests, which hold useless items other than the Nintendo Switch T-shirt.
Yes, they do that.
Yes.
DLC Pack 1 adds a Cave of Trials challenge, a hard mode, and an additional map feature. And DLC Pack 2 has a new original story, a new dungeon, and additional challenges.
Hmm.
And that's Winter 2017. DLC Pack 1 is
If
Summer
the dungeon
2017.
is the same as the dungeon in the dungeons, I guess, in current Breath of the Wild, that would be mediocre.
I'd like to see Cave of Trials. I'd like to see something that is a little bit like random, a bit procedurally generated.
I think
so.
the problem. Go on, sorry.
I want it to be something that I don't just do once and go, yeah, that was all right. I want it to be something that, because it's such a fun sort of systems-based game, I can go in there and I can display feats of combat and I can be like, I'm going to see how far I can get in this dungeon. And I want it to be hard so that it's hard to get to the bottom and it takes multiple plays to get through to the bottom.
Like that, the one in Wind Waker, where you
That was
get
hard.
combo-
Like,
I think the problem.
like a roguelike. I
The
want
problem with
like
something
that.
like a Cave of Trials in Breath of the Wild is that combat isn't that interesting.
That's true.
Yeah.
And I
Yes,
think
yeah.
if it's a Cave of Trials in that it's combat trials over and over again, it will be in the same boat as like the Guardian trials, the tests of strength.
Yeah.
It will get dull very
Oh,
fucking
that'd be
quickly.
terrible
Even
if
if
it's
you've
just
got
room
like,
after room of that.
have 2 savage Lionels at the same time. Woo!
I want it to be like a big cave system that I can ignore enemies and run through, and then have hundreds of enemies following me through the dungeon.
I-
Which won't happen because there's not the power in the,
No, there
the
isn't.
Switch to have that
I
enemies
think
follow me for so long.
It would be more interesting if they have a heavily curated more set of puzzles. And I think that's probably
or I
where
could
they'll go
with
with
a
it.
heavy puzzly
Mixed in
dungeon.
with some combat, don't get me wrong. Or they can make combat more interesting, which I don't think they'll do, because
I mean,
that's a big change.
There's 2 dungeons coming out. So there's the Cave of Trials, which I very much expect to be a lot of fights. And,
Yeah, just a
until you get to
gauntlet.
I would
and
be
then there's
okay
the new
with
dungeon.
it if it's like Hyrule. If the Cave of Trials is like a reverse Hyrule Castle, if that makes sense. So it's a race to the bottom rather than a race
I'd
to the
be
top.
up for that. I
Yeah,
love
I'd be
Hyrule
up for that
Castle.
because the Hyrule Castle's a really good area
Yeah.
That's
of the
good.
game. I think it's very well done. That entire thing.
I thought
Um,
it was really interesting that they have that. What's the name of that shield?
The
That
the Hylian shield, I guess.
I think that
Or the
unique
Hyrule shield,
shield.
the hero shield, I guess. It's the shield, you know. It's
There's
it's
a
the blue
unique
one.
shield that you get from killing a Hinox in there, and I blew me away that you could totally miss that.
Yeah, you could. I missed it
I
when
missed
I went in
that.
there myself. I had to
There's
go
a
back and
Hinox
find
in
it.
Hyrule Castle.
There's a
Yeah.
Stalnox at the bottom of Hyrule Castle. Yeah,
Oh, I didn't know that.
it's in
What,
the big prison
in the
lockup
prison.
area. It
Oh.
is
Yeah.
guarding the best shield. So
Oh,
it's
that's
guarding.
where I
it's
started.
guarding
That's
the Hylian
That's where I
shield, the blue
started
shield,
in
the
the
iconic
prison.
one.
I didn't
I
know
missed,
that.
I missed that, and I
It's
beat
easy to
that
miss. You have to
Hinox.
bomb some walls. You got to actually do some puzzles to get in there. It's easy to miss,
I'm
and
very
it's always
surprised.
there as well because it's like underground, so it's not like you have to go there at night or something.
I
Yeah,
really
okay.
like that they have that NPC in Terrytown that will sell you the unique gear
Yes.
that you get if it's broken or lost.
If you sell it, if you lose it somehow, he'll sell it back to you. It's great. It's really useful.
Can you lose gear?
Yeah, I can't remember.
Yes.
You can sell
You
armor,
can break
so yes,
unique
you can.
stuff.
You can sell
yeah,
stuff.
You can sell your. I was so annoyed doing the Goron bit because I got to the Goron village just with potions. I
Oh
didn't
God,
get
yes.
like the trousers
Oof.
or helmet
You
or whatever it
fool.
was from that guy. So I bought 2 pieces of armor at the shop. And then I went back down to the guy and I was like, "Yo, give me your helmet." And he was like, "No,
2,000 rupees, mate!
you get these trousers." And I was like, I wasted my time.
Yeah,
Should have
I
just
actually-
collected 100 lizards for him.
Yeah, I
10.
did the same thing. I walked
It
up to
felt
the
like
thing and
100.
bought the full set, and then I had this thing where every time I bought the environmental set, I didn't want to be totally vulnerable, so I dropped everything I was doing to go gather the stuff to upgrade it.
Yeah.
I like how in lots of areas in the game you can make up for not having gear and potions by using other gear and other potions, if
Oh
you will.
yeah.
Yeah,
So,
Running,
like, you can carry an ice sword in a hot area and it cools you down.
Yeah,
you can carry,
yeah, those are really
you can
tough.
carry a
Flame
fire sword in a
sword.
cold area
oh,
and
and
it
there's
warms
those
you up.
Koroks who are under like big ice cubes.
Yes.
You can stand by them just as Link, and his body heat will
It's
melt
cute,
those.
isn't it?
You
It
can
is
stand
cute.
by it with a flame sword; it'll melt faster. You can light a fire next to it, and it'll
Yep.
melt faster. The more fires you have next to it,
Yep.
the faster it'll melt.
I just fire arrow them at this point because that is easily the fastest way of doing
I
it.
never have many fire arrows.
I have too many.
Yeah,
I always have
My
arrows
game-
are a fucking resource in that game. They're
Oh
a
yeah, I
fucking
always
resource
buy
in
them
that
up
game.
when I see
preservation
Beetle. I'm like, "Give
instincts
me all
mean
the
I only
arrows."
use the normal arrows, even if I have like 20 normal arrows and
Yeah.
50 bomb arrows.
Yeah, I know.
That's-
What you mean.
That's every game though.
Bomb arrows I can understand because bomb arrows are legitimately dangerous. They
Yeah,
are actually fucking ridiculous. Especially if you
Especially-
try and use them in Death Mountain. Ha ha
Yeah.
ha ha.
Oh,
ha,
God.
Oh, that's funny. I
It
like
just
how
explodes.
if you shoot them when it's raining, they don't explode.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's also entertaining.
Yes.
Unless you shoot them
I
at something
think
that's on
there was-
fire somehow when
There
it's
was
raining.
a similar thing in Divinity Original Sin with the exploding skeletons.
Mm.
Yeah.
I like
ju-
how
you
everything
can just
fits
make it
together
rain.
mechanically. It's interesting. I like how lightning causes fire, and the fire causes an updraft, which means you can get in the air, and it's
yeah.
entertaining.
So, with this story DLC, considering that the game is so open world and, you can do whatever, are we thinking there'll be a new map? Are we thinking...
It'll be
Add, like a
interesting.
new island or something.
Maybe a new island or something.
Yeah, it could be something it could just be the new dungeon, I guess.
I'm
and then
wondering if
maybe a
there's going to be
town
like an
surrounding.
opening somewhere in the main map that you go in, and then there's a sub map. If you
Oh,
will.
they do like a
Like
Shivering
Hyrule
Isles
Castle
thing.
was.
Yeah.
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 Could you imagine if they just dropped this DLC and surprise, it's like 3 times bigger than the original map, and it's
It
just
won't
the
be.
I
3
can't
quarters
imagine it
around
being
it.
I can't imagine they'll
I
do
think
that.
the map's too big, honestly.
Yeah. What are they? CD Projekt?
I never felt the map was too big. I also never felt it was really too small either. I felt
Yeah.
that it was always just right. There was
Because-
always something that caught my attention and says, "Oh, I'll go do that next then, shall I?"
I think
it
Yeah.
never
That's-
got old.
That's true for me at the moment, but once I have been to all of the areas, I will then, and I'm exploring for shrines then, I think I'll get bored of seeing and
Well,
having to
you
go
can't
across
pass
this
Actually,
large land.
here's the thing. When I started the game and I got the map for the Great Plateau, and I just looked at all this empty space, and just, oh god, it's so huge. And now I look at the map, oh wow, this is really tiny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not really a bad way, but especially when I'm somewhere high up, really high up, and I can see the surrounding area that is out of bounds, basically. That is looking more realistically like a real world out there, where nothing is crammed together like Hyrule. And I just see Hyrule where everything is so tightly together, where there's a desert, there's a snowy area, there's a volcano, all crammed
Oh yeah,
together.
and you walk from the desert to the snowy area, and it's like, oh, these are right next to each other.
Well, they don't really
I
work
like
because there's a
that. I
mountain
don't mind
range.
that at all. I think that having those biomes like really close together is entertaining as hell.
Like
I
playing
like how the Gerudo Desert is right next to a set of Gerudo mountains that are ridiculously tall, and they are ridiculously tall when you actually look at it.
Well, that's how
Well, then
deserts
that
are
makes.
formed.
I mean, that makes sense for a snowy area. Then
It does, and that, as you say, that's how deserts are formed as
Yeah,
well.
I guess
And-
that's true.
And
Which
the
is
volcano,
interesting.
the volcano and especially the lava lake is right next to the Great Forest.
Yep. As
Yeah,
you do.
it's a little off.
I mean, that's Zelda, though, at the end of the day.
Yeah,
if
of
you
course,
look at
of
all
course.
the Zelda games, they all
Of
do shit
course.
like that.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with it, and it's pretty cool at the end of the day.
I'd like the world to be a bit smaller if it meant having more dungeons.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Something like
yeah.
that. You have
I like-
trade-offs,
I
and
like
I'm okay
the shrines,
with that.
but I think it would have been nicer to have the shrines amalgamated into dungeons.
I think
rather
that for a
than-
certain amount of dungeons, for a certain amount of temples, shrines, if I get there eventually, I do agree with that. I mean, they could have easily kind of amalgamated some of them into,
It's like
and some
you
of them
said,
they
there
were.
are some
You can see some of the
themed
dungeons were shrines as well, because you've got like the Gerudo Divine Beast, which has the electric puzzles in it, and all of the puzzles around the shrines around Gerudo Village they're all
electric.
They're all
yeah.
electric related. So they've chopped and changed little puzzles from each different area and said, we want those as shrines, we want these as dungeons, we want these as environmental, just out in the open map stuff. And it's entertaining, I guess, but I would have liked more kind of like in-depth proper dungeons with proper rewards.
Yeah.
It would have been more
I think that's
entertaining
where
that
the
way.
dungeons suffer, because you don't get an item in the dungeon.
No.
The puzzles are all things you've done before in other shrines, potentially.
Yes.
And there's nothing too unique about the dungeons.
I mean, they put in the movement mechanic.
Yeah, that's interesting.
That's interesting, and they do that for each
but
of
it's
the
the same
dungeons
for
as
each.
well.
It's
But
almost the same for each beast.
It's kind of similar. I mean, the water one is different in the way that it works, which is interesting.
Oh, that's the only one I've done then. So maybe I'm
You've done the
talking
water
crap.
one, yeah?
I've only done the water one.
So the water one has the trunk. The trunk moves water though, and the water moves water wheels and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's an interesting way of kind of shifting it up.
Oh.
The others move parts of their body,
They
which
just
orients
move.
the dungeon differently
yeah,
or
that
something.
sounds a bit boring. Okay.
Yeah, I thought those were really cool touches. The problem is the dungeons themselves are too short.
And they're
Yeah.
dull and uninteresting to look at, which was
And
my main
Sadly,
issue.
The bosses, while I understand that why they're all quite similar in design,
They're
I
all
guess
Ganon.
it takes away from
Little bit dull.
you'd get to the boss room and you'd be like, what's gonna be in here in previous Zelda games, and like what's it gonna look like,
Mm.
and what scary monster, and once you've done a couple
Oh,
of
it's a
dungeons, you'll
guy
be like,
with red hair.
oh, I know this is gonna
Yeah.
be something like Ganon, and it's gonna look like the last one.
Part of my perception with this at the moment is being based on the fact that I'm playing a lot of Link to the Past randomizer. I mean, a lot of Link to the Past randomizer at the moment. So I don't mind like 2 or 3 minute dungeons and 5 minute dungeons, because all of my dungeons in Link to the Past I've now heavily optimized to the point where I can do them in 5 minutes at the very most for most of the dungeons. So I'm okay with the length of the dungeons, but it's how visually distinct and how interesting they are in that respect. And I think they weren't that interesting in Breath of the Wild for
Yeah.
the most part.
And again, the
Yeah.
shrines as well. All the shrines look exactly the same.
Yeah, and that's
no matter
another
how
part
different
of
the
that
puzzles are, you know what it's going to look like when you go in.
I mean, the test of strength puzzles would have been far more entertaining even if there'd been like minor visual differences in the guardians that you meet there, based on what weapons they're carrying, what area of the map you're in,
Yeah.
whatever, stuff like
And
that.
again, that comes down to enemy variety being quite lacking in the game.
Yeah, it does, and I think that's part of the problem. But even if the behavior of the enemies was the same, making them visually distinctive would have been a good step, I think, towards lowering that kind of fatigue that you get. Oh, it's this thing again. Oh, it looks slightly different this time. Well, that's nice, I guess. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
I just think they threw a little bit too much away. They threw out the baby with the bathwater when it comes to like the Zelda conventions that they stripped out.
Yeah.
I think they just went a little bit too far.
There's enough Zelda there for it to still feel Zelda.
Oh, it absolutely feels like a Zelda game.
I'd like the next one to be somewhere in the middle between.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't want them to go all the way over to the other direction, but at the same time, I think they did
You
relatively
don't want
well.
it to be a shit open world game, you mean?
Yeah, pretty much. At the same time, I think what they did that thing that Nintendo do in that they tried something for the first time and pretty much nailed it on the first time.
This,
which
which
is-
means this next time will be.
Yeah, but it took them long enough, didn't
It did take them long enough, in fairness. Although their track record on that previously is really good. I mean, you look at Mario 64, pretty much fucking AAA fantastic as soon as it was done. Ocarina of Time at the time that it was released, I mean, we've got like nearly 20 years on it now since it's been released, so we're a little fatigued with it now. But at the time, it was fucking revolutionary.
Oh, it's still a good game.
Yeah.
It's still decent, but it's
But
like
it's
all the
still
other stuff that
probably one
aped
of
it.
the places you'd tell someone to jump in if
Absolutely.
they said,
If someone asks me to like recommend me a Zelda game, Ocarina
you
of
tell
Time,
them either
3D,
Link to
there
the
you go.
Past or
Fill your
Ocarina
boots.
of Time.
Yeah, one of the two, depending on what
Or
they
if,
want. Whether
or
they
if
want
they
the more
something a bit
character
babby
experience
then
or
go for Wind Waker.
yeah, well, yeah. Because
Not
Wind
that
Waker's
that's
the
a
only
bad
game that
thing,
exists in the GLA.
It's an easier one. Barrier
Oh,
skip
Barrier Skip
exists!
happened! Woo,
Barrier
lad!
skip happened!
Woo, lad! And
I
the
like the
internet
jump.
went fucking ballistic for like 2 minutes and then stopped. That was entertaining. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed watching like speedrunners just blow up about it for like a day and then it just die. It was fun.
It'll just continue to happen.
Of course it will. All these things happen. You can't do that. I just did it. Look at me. I just did it.
Yeah. Well, any kind of closing thoughts on Breath of the Wild?
Just since we're on speedrunning as well, Breath of the Wild speedruns are going to be interesting, I think. We're down to about 45 minutes now.
They figured out that they really can't skip the plateau
you can't
yet.
skip the plateau, which
So
is
far.
annoying.
Yeah, because there's
People
a
have
death
managed to
box
get off of
outside.
it, but as soon as you get onto, I think it's done vertically. As soon as you get to a certain vertical height, you die and you get put back onto it again.
Basically, you drown and you wake back up at the edge of the pool.
Yeah,
Typical Zelda thing.
Yeah, which is fun.
You could get down with the stasis.
People have done. People have got down like loads
I know.
of
I
times.
know. It's very Dragon Ball. The image, throwing a pole and riding it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm gonna knock this
Major
bowler
Tau.
into the sky and ride on it. Also, people who have made like minecart like stuff where you can ride a minecart into the sky.
Yeah, you can just fly it around.
I need to try this.
It's entertaining. Even people who didn't do that but did like 5 kilometers on the or more on the how far can you float test.
Yeah, because with
bomb
arrows,
and
updrafts.
just putting yourself up. Really neat. I like all the little mechanical flourishes in the game, how they all interlink with each other.
It gives you a lot of freedom, which is what makes it good. Also, the thing with the Ubisoft towers, I like that after a certain point, each tower becomes a challenge in some way or another.
Unless you go for ravioli first, in which case you can just jump.
Breaks the game.
Ravioli,
I've got a problem
don't jump up to the top
with the towers, which is not related to climbing the towers or anything like that.
It's not.
It's a problem relating to having to wait around, and I'm going to sound like Ego Raptor, opening up sections of the map, such as when you get orbs, there's that one bit where the cage breaks that you can't skip.
Yeah, you can't skip it.
Yeah. It takes time, and it's like, I've seen this 119 times before. I don't need to see it again.
Just a little addendum. Should we talk about the reward you get for all the 120 shrines?
It's the proper clothes, isn't it?
You say the proper clothes.
Yeah, but it's still, they don't look that good, and the bonus you get with them is
intentional.
Utterly useless.
I mean, if you want a set of like the green clothes that look good, that you can make them by dyeing the Hylian set green for a start. B, you can get Amiibo and you can do it that way instead. And you can get like the Ocarina of Time one, which looks fairly decent.
With the Hylian set, though, do you?
No, you get a hood though, and basically it is just like a hood.
If you want to play as Assassin's Creed Link.
Yeah,
that's fine.
What I did is I took the tunic of the wild and dyed it green because it's more vibrant.
Can you do that?
I don't think
you can dye the tunic of the wild.
I thought you couldn't dye the tunic of the wild.
You can't
the tunic of the wild is the only one you can dye.
Oh,
you can't dye the champion's tunic. I don't understand.
What's the tunic of the wild? Is that the?
That's the one you get for all the shrines.
Right. Okay. Sorry, I'm mixing it up.
I don't get why they made it so that this blue outfit was the outfit.
It's because they recognise that the blue tunic from Link to the Past is objectively the best costume that's ever existed in Zelda. Fucking fight me. I will fucking end you.
I'll take you on.
It's a fucking costume.
It is. It doesn't matter at the end of the day.
It's a T-shirt.
It doesn't. But when you think about Link and you think about Zelda, you think of the
green tunic.
The green
I think
clothes.
The thing is that what the fuck is with the name, by the way? Having just thought about Tunic of the Wild, Breath of the Wild never even comes into the fucking story. What is it? Why? Why is it called
what the
this?
game feels like.
It
They
is,
named
but
it after
it's
the
nothing
game's
to do with the
concept
game.
rather than But
There is no MacGuffin called the Breath of the Wild in the game.
Are you saying you like it when they look
I mean,
were you saying
are you saying that
we
that
truly
at
are
some
the
point
Last
in the
of
game,
Us?
We truly are the Final Fantasy 13.
you know, when you really think about it,
Returns.
it really was the Breath of the Wild that brought me to this journey.
Yeah.
The
I just-
tuning of the calamity.
No,
I
what
just-
I want to
I-
hear Link do is
I
walk
kind
up
of
there
like
and
the
go,
fact that they had a thing going with the Zelda names where they kind of made sense in the context of the story of that game.
but you don't have a thing in this
Yeah.
game.
You don't have
Well,
any
here's the
MacGuffin in
thing.
the game.
Here's
other
the
than
thing.
Sheikah
the
Slate.
Wind Waker. You don't have the
They could have called
Ocarina.
it Link. They could have called it Legend of Zelda and the Magic iPad.
Here's
I
the
mean-
thing. Here's the thing that they never. It's not the breadth of the wild,
Yeah. Yeah.
which would have been the thing. You know, that would have been the.
It's interesting. I like how they dropped almost all of the conventions for Zelda except waking up at the start of the game, which was entertaining.
And they dropped a D.
And they dropped a D. We've all dropped a D.
They dropped the tablet controls.
They
Which
did,
kind
yeah.
of
That was
annoys
obviously
me,
going to be a
actually,
bigger
for
thing
the
at
Wii
one
Yeah,
U.
point.
with the exception of the gyro
They
controls.
left the fucking gyro controls in there, didn't
Of course they did, because it's
I
objectively the
actually-
better way to aim
I like
precisely.
No,
Gaming
when I
with
say
the
gyro
gyro
controls,
controls.
what I mean here is the fucking apparatus shrines.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Like the
there are
ball
only like
maze.
5.
Yes, but they're still there. The fact that there's not very many of them is
There's some
irrelevant to
that
the
are
point that they are
stupid
there.
as well. That it's like, I want you to hit this ball with this hammer using gyro controls. It's like,
Yeah, boy! Get
But-
some momentum. By the way, you can't build any momentum with this, sorry.
yeah.
Yeah.
What was that about?
That was we built this thing for the fucking Wii U with its tablet controller and with the gyros inside. Holy fuck, it made more sense on that, but it doesn't make any sense anymore. Oh
So-
well, we'll fucking detool the game so there's less of it now.
One-
There was going to be
well,
more of it. I
one
reckon there was
thing-
going to be so much more
One
of
of
it.
my
In a
problems with
week-
the game is actually the HUD. So I've turned the HUD off because I
Yes,
don't
you
like
have.
how it looks. The minimap is too large. I don't like how the powers look, the way they like go down the left side of the screen,
Yeah.
like Ravioli's Formuoli. They should go across, because then they take up kind of less space on the. They also don't look very good.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of the UI elements that don't look very
I
good.
would like those to live on my tablet, which
It
tells
reminds
me
me-
constantly to press the tablet to play in tablet mode, and I'm like,
Yep.
no, I want to see the map there, please.
Yep. I think part of the problem is that, first of all, they had to retool it for the Switch.
Yes.
So they had to make both of them the same, because that's how
But
Nintendo
they
works. They
didn't.
make both of them the same.
But they didn't for Twilight Princess.
But they didn't for Twilight Princess, it's true. Maybe they learnt the lesson since then and not made Link right-handed like the fuckheads that they were.
He's
Um,
right-handed forever now.
He's not right-handed forever now. Is he right-handed now? He is right-handed now, isn't
right-handed
he?
in
Yeah, he's
Breath of
right-handed
the
now.
Yeah.
Things I've forgotten about. Again, playing too much Link to the Past. Sorry. Yeah, I think they retooled the game a lot from how it was originally going to be. I think originally it was going to be a much more linear thing as well. I think that all the story beats that you see in the flashbacks of all the memories that you collect were originally going to be the story of the game. A lot of it. I think there's a lot that went on there that we don't know. Did anyone see the GDC conference that they did, by the way, where they showed off
Yeah, that was
The,
really
the
good.
concept art?
2D,
Yeah,
not
they had
2D
concept
Zelda?
Yeah.
That was interesting.
It was
Did you
very
see the-
entertaining.
did you
also,
see the concept
also Alien
art?
Invasion.
Yeah.
And
The
Alien
concept art-
Invasion, Link
the-
in like a Metroid suit.
Yeah.
and things.
Link wearing a hoodie and riding a bicycle. No!
Link in a fucking war zone, by the way. Just want to point that one out there, with explosions everywhere.
Yeah.
It's very
Well,
entertaining.
that's where they got the idea for the Guardians, isn't it?
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise, to be honest. The Guardians, I think, are quite well done as well. I like the fights in general.
They're creepy the first time. Just dramatic piano solo. You're strolling through the forest, minding your own business.
As soon as you hear it, you go, okay, I'm fucked now.
As soon as
Now
you
for me,
hear
it's,
it, you
it's
go,
more of a,
"Oh,
okay,
there's a
well, where
tree
the
I
fuck
can
are
hide
you?
behind."
I'm gonna parry the fuck out of you, and you're gonna like it. That's what's gonna happen here.
I thought it was neat that the Master Sword actually powers up when you're around the Guardian.
Yeah. I should probably point out Cass is not here anymore, by the way. He has gone. He has nominally left me in charge for some reason that I'm not entirely sure about, getting a sign off at the end. Cats is not here right now.
Cats is not here.
Cats is not
Damn.
here.
Oh
Riot!
my
I was-
god!
All right. Well, now the cat's is not here. Let's stop
Shall
talking
we
about
talk-
Zelda.
what else do we wanna
Just to
talk about?
really
he said he's going
drive
to
it
release
home.
this as a Zelda-only segment, so don't worry about talking about anything else. Today.
Oh, okay. So is he going to cut this section out and make it its own section, and we're going
I
to do
believe he
more?
says that he has said, I have to nip out now. I'm leaving you in charge. Please do a sign-off at some point before the end. I will release this as a special Zelda-only episode.
All right. We
So-
messed it up. We messed up the whole podcast with our
Oh
Zelda.
no!
It's fine. It was going to happen. It was going to happen.
I'm back.
I mean, it's a new Zelda game. It's like the biggest game release in some time now.
History.
Since the last big release that was the biggest thing ever.
Which leads to the question: when's the next Zelda going to be? We've got this DLC content coming out. It would be nice if it was the size of Majora's Mask, but that's probably not going to happen.
I reckon 5 years, 6 years. Again,
Do you think we'll
At
have one
least.
within this console generation?
Yes.
Do you think there'll be another one on the Switch?
there will, and it will be for the next Nintendo console, whatever that ends up being at the same time.
I mean, they've got.
The Switch XL.
I hope not. they've got the engine. So
It'll be interesting to see if now that they've got the engine, whether they can do another one. What it will come down to is whether they've got a decent content creation pipeline that goes along with it, because it's entirely possible to make a very good engine that has no decent, efficient content creation pipeline that goes with it. I mean, you've got
Final
stuff like the
Fantasy
Fox
13.
engine for Metal Gear Solid 5, for example, that they demonstrated,
Yeah,
which
but that's
had really
because
fucking efficient content creation stuff that let
Konami
designers
messed
just go
up
in and make
with it.
shit. If they don't have that goes along with it, then it will be ages before we see another one.
Konami messed up though, and
Yeah,
now
they did,
they
but-
don't exist anymore.
Yeah,
Um,
well, that's
So you
neither
know,
here
we
nor
could have
there.
had. I would have loved to see like remake of older Metal Gear, not even Metal Gear Solid, Metal Gear 1 and
The
2.
original Metal Gear, anything would have been interesting. And I mean, they used Fox Engine, they ended up making Pachinko Metal Gear Solid 3 with it, so hey. We
Yeah.
got that.
Hey, hey, fuck off. Okay. They have Metal Gear Zombies.
Survive.
They got
I'm
Metal Gear
excusing-
Metal
Zombies,
Gear
man!
Survive.
I
No,
apologize
actually-
for the noise because I'm starting a print.
Okay.
That's really good of you. Thanks for that. Really helps me out.
Oh man, so I've been playing video games.
What have you been playing video game?
Just shoot me already. I got decent at For Honor.
Oh god.
I know, I got
like
it.
For
I got
Honor.
it.
I'm not gonna.
I
got it for my birthday.
Zelda's voice actress is in that.
I
See if you can pick her out of the
I bet she's
crowd.
a fucking peacekeeper.
But fucking yeah, no, I got pretty decent at that.
Who do you play?
Lawbringer.
Lawbringer's decent. I like Lawbringer. I play Warden. so.
They actually balance the fucking game.
Have they?
recently.
I haven't played it in like a while now. I'll be honest with you. I kind of left it to the side for a while. I was playing Warden all the way through the tech tests and the beta and everything else. So I keep playing Warden because I like Warden. What can I say?
Yeah.
I like playing Male Knights with two-handed swords.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I chose whoever I could make look the most like
yeah,
Hannibal.
and that's definitely
Yeah, but no, it's
Definitely Lawbringer.
after with some tweaking. Like it's a good fighting game. It's just their fucking free to play model is just
How did you
dog
feel?
shit.
How did you feel when people said, please remove guaranteed guard breaks? How did that make you feel?
I feel like there should be some guaranteed guard breaks.
Because people were saying, oh, you shouldn't be able to guard break after a parry. And I went,
no, you absolutely should be able to.
Exactly.
No, and they need to do something when you're exhausted.
Yeah.
So because right now it's just a state where it's you just can't attack because anyone who isn't shit will be able to parry you.
Yes. Or guard break you alternatively.
Yeah, yeah.
There should be like an
exactly.
overwhelm attack that you can't block or parry, but it's so slow as to be worthless or something. I don't know.
Even something just as simple as like, if you're exhausted, you only get 2 dodges until you get all your fucking stamina back because, or dodging will take stamina because again, right now it's just you can't attack and you can't sprint away.
The thing with exhaustion is you're already punished the first time you go into it, or you should be, because you should get knocked down as soon as you become exhausted. That was my experience, at least, was that you get thrown to the ground and you're exhausted. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, but no,
I mean,
I like it as a game. I think it was really interesting. And I think they marketed it like shitheads because they positioned it as like a MOBA. Something stupid.
Yeah,
with that mode says.
When it's actually like a decent 3D fighter.
Yeah, it is. It really is. It's really fun.
It took a lot of stuff from Mountain Blade. Obviously, the directional blocking, all that
Did
kind
it
of
take
shit.
the music?
No.
I
Thank
wish.
fuck.
No, but for some reason, like this could have been a $20 game, and that fucking cash shop would have been way more tolerable.
Yeah, I agree with
for
that as
people. But instead, they tack on this useless fucking corny ass fucking single player. It's like
the single player should not exist in its current
the single
state.
player is like if all of these characters were action figures, and this is how kids would play with them.
Yeah, pretty much.
So is this basically like a Mortal Kombat single player?
No,
it's worse.
No, it's much worse.
God.
And the bad guy.
The dialogue is so ham-fisted as to be ridiculous.
And also the bad guy's a social Darwinist.
Yes,
that's the biggest
that's
cliche.
The big thing. I want all the people to fight so we can evolve and be better.
Yeah,
only the strong should survive.
So
I'm the big baddie.
But yeah, that's For Honor.
And then the Weebs killer. Yeah, Weebs, go Weebs.
Yep. But that's For Honor. It's a solid game. If it's ever on sale or something, I would say just try it for 2 hours on Steam and then return it if you don't like it.
Can I, before we go any further, can we do a sign-off for the Zelda segment? Because otherwise Cats will be looking for it for fucking ever.
Go ahead.
I'm just trying to think of a witty retort to kind of come back on the sign-off for the Zelda. This has been Gentlemen Discussing Zelda with me, your not-quite host who wasn't introduced at the beginning, Moogle Pies.
That sounds good.
Yeah, I didn't play it, but I have strong opinions on the music.
Yeah, Rusty.
Me, Fast Grace is ready.
Saber.
I miss CATSMANBOT.
And Specs.
The voice acting just needs to go.
There we go. We're fucking over. That's it. It's done.
Okay,
right.
so
there we go.
So bonus section though, in addition to For Honor, I've been playing Stellaris got DLC.
Oh
and it's excellent. It's like every Paradox is always kind of like experimenting and tooling around with like how they price their DLCs, should it be a DLC or expansion or whatever. But no, Utopia for Stellaris is just fucking great, and it came with a free patch that for anyone who just owns the game redoes all the governments.
Neat. I like how people completely retool their games.
Are you building?
It
Are you building
me.
giant balls now?
Yes, you can build they have a rich thing that they can tap into, which is just sci-fi cliches. So yeah, you could build a Dyson sphere.
Nice.
They're gonna do fucking super weapons at some point. You can play it.
I think my favorite space game super weapon was Sins of a Solar Empire with the Galaxy Gun, whatever it was called. That was fun. I enjoyed that.
Here's the thing that with Stellaris though, that instead of super weapons, you can it's a very mechanically like strong game. So there's a lot of fucky shit you can do.
Isn't it like there's lots of cultural stuff you can do as well for takeovers and stuff like that as well?
Yeah,
so...
there's so with genetic engineering. A guy actually figured out how to weaponize it.
Nice.
Which was basically you find like a shit planet that's just got habitability that's just enough for people to live on it, but so poor that they want to move immediately. And you genetically engineer a species that's decadent, so they can't be happy without slaves. They're repugnant, and so other species just don't like them. And then they're also just really unhappy. They're lonely, and so you also genetically engineer them to be very nomadic. And to be rapid breeders, and you move all of these population
you basically breed them out of their homes, and they don't want to stay there.
No. These are you can only do this to species in your empire. So what you do is you genetically just make them the worst guests ever. And then you put them on one planet that's at the edge of your empire that sucks, and then you gift that planet to the AI, and just these malcontents. It's like what immigration hardliners actually think is happening.
Yeah.
Like it's what you're doing.
It's like getting the Quarians in Mass Effect. No one wants them. Just
Yeah,
send them
no,
away.
Especially in 3, because they kind of, that was a war of aggression. Sorry,
Yeah,
the
it was.
The Geth were right. They
The Geth did nothing wrong except like genocide. Except that.
Oh, speaking of which, there is very advanced genocide and slavery mechanic. So you can't really game it too much. You set rights now based on what species they are. And so there's a million different, it's like is it
That's
slavery?
cute.
Is it a caste system? Are they kept as livestock? And yes, when you and there's like what 4 or 5 different purge types.
The fuck? Halo Wars Definitive Edition got released.
Oh,
What?
What?
Why
That
do
was in
people-
December. What the fuck? Why is that in the top sellers now?
what? Yeah, what is top selling on Steam? What are people?
It's
into
fucking
these days?
Halo Wars.
The first one?
Yes.
This is clearly planned by Microsoft's marketing
the fuck is
strategy
that?
team. So
They
what they're
desperately
doing
try to
is
stay relevant.
they're all buying it up
Sorry.
to make it a
Player-
top seller.
It's
Player
not relevant to
Unknown's-
this conversation
player-
whatsoever.
PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds is also very high. My
Yeah,
roommate's
I
been
see
playing
people
that.
playing that in my friends list all the time. I've no
I've
idea what
watched
it's
I've
about.
watched
It's
Humble play it.
it's DayZ meets Battle Royale.
I see.
Yeah, it is like
So completely
it's the calling
irrelevant
just
to my
better.
interests, which is
Yeah,
fine.
yeah. Just
I'm okay
like
with this.
my roommate tried to get me into it. I'm like, it sounds cool. Like it sounds like I have fun. I don't like shooters.
I don't mind shooters. I like Titanfall a lot at the moment. Titanfall 2 is my jam at the moment.
I can do really like jumpy kind of agile shooters
Yeah,
that
that's
have
Titanfall at the
something
moment.
cool about it, but
Partially,
like
at least, that's Titanfall.
the everything descended from Modern Warfare. I struggle with.
Yeah.
Also it's DayZ. Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
Although,
I played and did not enjoy.
Speaking of jumpy, bouncy things,
Don't say
ukulele got
ukulele.
released,
Don't say ukulele.
and it is
Burger music.
it is
too
a
late.
very nostalgic game. It is so nostalgic that it has a 64 as a rating.
That's a good one. What's wrong
I
with the
have
music?
ukulele. It is okay. It is exactly
Does
what
it-
they promised it would be.
Does it
and
Yes.
feature a ukulele?
Probably somewhere.
Yeah.
I'd be surprised if there wasn't some
Is
ukulele
it
music
that?
in
But
there
wait,
somewhere.
not prominently.
No.
Knowing Kirkhope, it is somewhere.
It's
in the
a Grant
background.
Kirkhope soundtrack. Well, it was also a David Wise soundtrack. It's both. So the soundtrack veers from "Oh my god, this is fucking incredible," David Wise, to Burger music, which is Grant Kirkhope.
Yeah,
Yes.
but that's what we love
Burger
it for.
music.
Let's
Burger
be
So wait.
honest.
Thanks,
Is
Catsman, for teaching me that.
Is Burger? Yeah. So wait, is Burger music what British people call dad rock?
No.
No, burger. Let me get you some hamburger music.
Hamburger.
Earthbound has
I've got some hamburger music. Anything by Grant Kirkhope is hamburger. Yes, that one. What Rusty's doing.
So
I need to.
interestingly, when Kirkhope wrote the soundtrack to Banjo Kazooie, the main theme when you're out in the overworld sounds very much like Teddy Bear Picnic.
What the fuck is Teddy Bear Picnic?
Yeah, so he didn't even realize that wasn't intentional. If you go down to the woods today, you're sure of a big surprise. If you
Okay.
go down to the woods
All right,
today,
Speaking of nostalgia,
Hamburger
though,
music.
speaking
Speaking of hamburger
speaking
music.
of nostalgia, though, I played and beat the new Torment, Tides of Numenera, which was all right. It's all right. It's got a really kind of strong opening. The whole game has this kind of this kind of a vaporwavy sort of thing. Like there's the whole idea is it's built on previous civilizations and old technology, so you do have like old statues next to weird 90s futurism. And the plot like almost spirals out of control in the second act, but once you kind of get to the third, it pulls a recovery and manages to tie a lot of shit together.
Here, I found Happy Man's playlist
it's
of
all right.
hamburger music.
It's the hamburger music, all right.
Hamburger
Hamburger music.
All right.
Not wrong.
So, all right, then
Catsman
the
says
base-
that everything Grant Kirkhope does has a very large burger quotient to it. So I will trust.
It's
So-
something to
he's
do with
never
having
defined
brass and
burger
trombone,
music.
isn't it?
So fucking like jazz from like the 20s and 30s.
I don't think there is any set definition for burger music, and I think if you tried to
It
pin
just
Cats
has to
down
have
on it,
that.
he would slither
It
away
just
like
has
the
to have-
snake he is.
It's got to
It
have
just
some
has to
oompa
have that quality.
Yeah.
It's got that oompa quality to it, exactly.
Oompa,
It's
oompa,
not
oompa,
entirely
oompa.
clear.
There's a je ne sais quoi.
There is a very much a je ne sais quoi about hamburger music. But that is pretty much what you're looking at this point. So everything Grant Kirkhope does is hamburger music, and everything David Wise does, it shit
It's a
turns to
masterpiece.
gold and everything. Yeah, exactly. Because David Wise is pretty fucking good when it comes to video game music, among other things. That isn't even my favorite track on that soundtrack. That isn't even my favorite piece.
How dare you?
It's the Mine one, which I can't even remember the name of. Mine Music, DKC2, what is it called? It's called Mining Melancholy. And it's this one.
Oh
here.
yeah,
That's-
oh yeah, yeah.
that is my
Mining
favorite
Melancholy.
piece of music
Yeah,
that's true.
in DKC2.
I still need to play through Tropical Freeze.
Yeah, it's on my
Tropical
backlist to
Freeze
finish.
is Great.
It's
Yeah,
a
I
very
know
good
it's
game.
great, but I'm waiting for someone to play it alongside me. I'm so lonely.
Good luck.
I
Fucking luck,
feel
mate.
it was hideously underrated as well.
Of course it is, because it's a Wii U game, and every game on the Wii U is hideously underrated.
Except for Breath of the
101
Wild.
Donkey Kong
evidently.
Country,
Donkey Kong Country.
Donkey Kong Country 2's soundtrack is yeah, that's
David
that's
Wise,
classic.
motherfucker.
Yeah,
David
that's
Wise.
a classic. Though I'm kind of happy that we are kind of reaching an end of the big nostalgia wave of Kickstarters.
Are we?
Shenmue
Are
3.
we?
That they're sort of kind of fading back down.
Shenmue is coming. We've got
Is it?
Barkley, which is still being made.
Barkley
I
will never
heard
come
Barkley
out.
shut up
nothing.
and Jam
Barkley will never
Gaiden
come out,
2.
you are correct.
And yes, Pillars of Eternity 2 got fucking funded again, but I mean that's not too far off of what Obsidian already fucking does.
The thing is, even with that being said, the main line industry is going for it as well with remasters and remakes. So the nostalgia trip portion of video games is not going anywhere for a while.
I just
I
like
think
that the
is-
first wave of all those old developers, kind of getting together and we're gonna do one last thing, as it's at least subsided a little.
Yeah, maybe for the time being. I mean, we've still got Bloodstained coming out as well.
Oh, it's
And I do
Don't
I
want,
don't
give a
like
shit.
modern Castlevania. I don't like the Metroidvania style, so
I do
not.
want Playtonic to continue what they're doing. I mean, they put out they got their Banjo-Kazooie thing out of their system. I want to see them try new things.
I don't know if they will.
yeah.
I don't know if
It'd be
they
interesting
will,
to see if they will.
but
I'm
if they stick to
told
things they
Biden-
know.
I didn't really play Banjo and Banjo-Tooie that much. I am told that what people wanted was Banjo-Kazooie, and what they got was more of Banjo-Tooie. So I am told.
That's not so much what I've heard. I think people are annoyed because it's not got enough levels. One of the
Yeah.
levels everyone just complains is terrible, and it's just not as good.
I mean,
think is the issue.
A
It
lot
ha-
of
it
my,
hasn't
I say
advanced.
complaint, it is a complaint. A lot of my complaint / criticism with it is that they didn't make a collectathon game in 2017. What they did was they made a collectathon game from 1997
Yeah,
in
that's what people are
2017.
saying. Yeah.
But that's what they promised. That's what they said they were going to do.
Yep.
So there's a lot of stuff in the game that I find really fucking irritating because it's stuff
90s.
that design-wise I think should have been fixed a long time ago. But it's what they said that they would make, and they made it. So I can't really criticize them for that. Very difficult,
Yeah,
at least.
I mean, I played a lot of Banjo-Kazooie when I was a kid, and I never completed it. So it's a game I've gone back to a couple of times
Yeah.
since to try and complete again. And it's actually a really boring game because it's very collectathon-y. It's got so much collectathon going on, and you can quite easily just blast through the levels because there's not much challenge. You've just got to pick up all the jigsaw pieces. So you need to get all the jigsaw pieces in each level to unlock all of the levels, I think, pretty much. So getting into later parts of the game, when I played it like sort of in about a 4-hour stretch on my Nintendo 64 when I was home at my parents' house.
Yeah.
At one point, got to the exact same point I got to when I was a kid, and then just dropped it.
Because you got bored.
Because I was bored by that
Yeah.
point. I picked it up on an emulator again.
Oddly
I think
enough, that's probably exactly what happened when you were a kid as well. You got bored at that point because you were bored.
Yeah. I talked to Cats about this, and he said sort of I think it was Cats I was talking to about it. Like games like back then weren't meant to just binge on and try and play through in
you were
a
supposed to
single.
play at the very most. You were going to play an hour at a time.
Yeah, because that's what we were allowed to do.
Because that's what you were allowed to do, and that it was designed for kids who didn't have that kind of free time allowance. But things have changed, and even kids these days have more free time than they used to.
Yeah.
And cell phones.
Yeah, now that they're not climbing the chimneys and
Yeah.
going down the coal mines.
God, I miss the old days.
Yeah.
I know.
Well,
I know.
don't worry. Vote Theresa May in the
Yes!
next general, and
Oh
you
my
will get
God.
back your coal mines.
Anyway,
God, yeah. Let's.
I've never actually really liked Rare's N64 output that much. I really liked their SNES output. I think that was really
Snake
fucking
rattle and
solid.
roll. Snake rattle and roll.
I
SNES,
never really
actually.
was exposed to their NES output, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
But the SNES stuff I had a lot of. I really enjoyed DKC, DKC2. DKC3 I didn't really have, so I was less enthused about that, but it was solid. Battletoads,
Yeah.
solid stuff.
God, Battletoads is so hard.
I was okay with all these things, but I kind of didn't like the direction they went with the N64. I never really got the hang of it. It wasn't something I enjoyed.
God damn it! You know, all right. You know it's sneaking under the radar, and I feel like this was a lot of people, the YouTuber people, like really gave it a lot of praise when it came out, but the fucking sequel to Divinity Original Sin.
Yeah, I saw that came out. I never played the original, but I saw that the sequel
didn't come out. They did the same thing as the original. They did early access
I
to
see.
get like bug testing, and
Yeah.
they actually used early access for what early access is supposed
My
to be
goodness,
for.
that's shocking.
They just have like the first act. You can only play that, and then they're using that to balance and like
Good.
find fucking solutions.
Good.
And dude, have any of you guys played the first one?
Briefly with my brother.
It's a CRPG, isn't it? It's like the old Western RPG style stuff. Is that the one I'm thinking of?
Yeah.
I never played it, but I kind of monitor it. I think it's on my wish list still.
The big fucking thing with it was how well they did environmental effects. So like a poison barrel will leave like a poison surface on the ground, and poison can light on fire. And when it lights on fire, it makes smoke that blocks your view. They like account for nearly anything.
Sorry.
Like there's a
My
puddle
amiibos.
of water. There's a puddle of water on the ground. You shoot a fireball at it. It's full of steam. You can run an electric current through that steam. That will
Nice.
stun everything.
Yeah,
And they've just go ahead.
You can also, I believe, there's one thing that like clerics can do, which is a debuff, but also makes them the enemy hut. So if they walk near a brazier or something, their clothes will catch fire.
Ooh.
Yep. No,
Get my
there's
amiibos.
and they what they did for the second one, besides like so two really good changes in terms of how status effects work, but like they added cursing and blessing things, so you can make blessed fire, which heals you while you're on fire, or fucking, or like
I love goofy as shit status effects. They're so much fun.
Blessed smoke. You walk through it and you turn invisible for a little bit. But they added something because all of these like status effects and environmental effects were just getting completely out of control. They added just physical armor and magic armor, and it's just an extra little hit point bar of like, say you're covered in armor. Until that physical armor is depleted, you can't get fucked over by any physical effects. Same thing with magic armor. So like you can't. As long as your physical armor is up, you can't get stunned or knocked over or bled or anything like that. It was an elegant solution. But either way, it's criminally underrated. I never get over how underhyped people are for this.
I never really played Western RPGs when I was young because I didn't have access to a PC, which is where they all were.
Yeah.
So I never really had that. The only one that I have really ever played in any length of time was a modern one, which was Dragon Age, which I enjoyed. But I can.
You played the most mediocre.
Yeah, I know.
Of
I
the
played like the most
WRPGs.
middle of the road thing that you can possibly expect, and that's fine. I'm okay with this. It's not a genre that I ever really had any proper interest in. I can appreciate the stuff that is put into it though, because I like mechanical stuff anyway. So
yeah.
And now to farm for amiibo shit. Oh boy,
Yep.
with my
Now
fake
shoot.
amiibos.
Did you buy
Little
some of those NFC rewrite?
It's NFC tags, but what I've done,
tags, yeah.
because I've been canny, is I went to a craft shop and I bought little plywood circular tabs to go along with them that are exactly the same size. So I have little plywood tabs. So there you go.
So are these single-use NFC
They
things?
are single write, but the amiibo data is on it now, and can't be removed. So it works as an amiibo.
But so you cannot just make this is now a Link amiibo. I'm going to turn it into a Mario amiibo.
No, but I have like 50 of the tags because they're cheap as fuck.
Yeah, I could 3D print some amiibos for it.
That's nice, but not necessary. Thank you. You could do though. If you've got a modern smartphone, you can just do it, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
Just buy little NFC tabs. Because I've got some amiibo, and I'm okay with the ones I have because they were the figures that I wanted. If that makes sense. But I'm not fucking shelling out like ridiculous amounts of money for little things.
Yeah.
So...
Oh, fuck. The fucking Red Dead Redemption GTA 5 mod got shut down.
Shock.
I know, right? It's just... But
At some point,
release a good fucking PC port and no one will do this.
I know, right? At some point, developers are going to realize that if they fucking released their games, maybe they wouldn't see this. And B, people are going to realize that the days of easily modded games and well-modded games are probably now at an end, I think.
Well, I mean, no.
That is why we need paid mods.
No.
This is, well, I mean, not that. Fuck you. But no, like Paradox, for example, loves to let people mod the shit out of their games. And they're completely okay with that. They actively encourage it.
When I was saying what I said, what I meant about was AAA games, however.
Well, yeah,
Whereas you used to find like total conversion mods of AAA games, for example, you will not do that anymore, I think. With some exceptions, like games that are designed specifically for that. Some RTS games, for example, some workshop-supported games, like Skyrim, for example, you'll see with it. But for the most part, when it comes to most AAA games, you're not going to see A, officially supported, or B, officially sanctioned or condoned modding anymore.
Well, I
think that will go.
So something like StarCraft, obviously, but if they have mods, it has to be entirely like in-engine,
absolutely, and it has to be from
Blizzard's
their store,
control,
by the way, as well. Because that's the way that modern StarCraft works, and I'm kind of okay with that in a way because Blizzard actually supported the custom StarCraft map scene quite heavily.
Yeah.
To the point where they even not only allowed but properly marketed the fact that there was someone that ported all of the StarCraft 1 campaigns into StarCraft 2, and they still haven't stopped that, even though they're now selling StarCraft 1 again with a HD remaster.
Yeah, but it's also, I mean, StarCraft. Well, they're selling Brood War, but they're doing it primarily for the sake of multiplayer, which is
they're doing
it's
a
fucking
market,
institution.
They're doing it for the Korean market, and the Korean StarCraft play is fun to watch, so I can see why they did that.
Yeah, but let's see. Who else? Fucking all right. So fucking StarCraft 1 though. There was some amazing shit that happened in just the custom content. There was a game type that I haven't seen like fucking replicated at any point, and it seems like completely set up for like a multiplayer thing. They did the thing. So everybody starts outside.
Oh god, the thing, as in like John Carpenter's The Thing.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Everybody starts outside. It scripts the map like scripts, so everybody is colored white. Like, so you can't go, oh, this guy, so you see on
it's
the
that guy.
Yeah. The thing is that guy. But everybody starts outside. Your Vespene gas is your body temperature. And so they just had this big interactive base that had, like, you could go to the security cameras and, like, a bunch of supply depots that were, like, on the next level of the map would be the security cameras. You could go blow up the generator. You could, and then you would have to stand by fireplaces, which were invulnerable Terran buildings that were at, like, in the red for HP, so they had the little fire sprite on them. There was the lab where you could do the blood test, and the entire thing was one person
is not your friend and will be trying to fuck you.
And so it has these. It openly encouraged people to just, like, debate it out in the chat to kind of figure it out.
It's a social game before social games were a thing.
Yeah,
which is entertaining.
Unlike, you know, whatever they call it, like Mafia or Werewolf, or, you know, whatever they call it, where it's like this kind of forced round thing. It was just completely freeform, so people
all done
would
in real time. Was the important thing.
Yeah, people would get really, you know, suspicious of nearly anyone because you can also
something like that. Basically, it's a little bit like, you know, your stuff like that came
like
later on.
Battlestar Galactica, the board game.
No!
Oh my god.
Also, talking of board games, in
I
2 or 3
played that
days...
once, I was drunk as fuck.
In 2 or 3 days, I should have the Dark Souls board game, which I'm looking forward to immensely.
Is that the one that got kickstarted?
Yep. Looks pretty decent as well. I would lie and say that I'm not completely buying it for the minifigs so I can paint them up and have them look all attractive, but I'm totally doing it for that purpose.
Yeah,
I could 3D print them and send them to you.
No, not the same.
Yeah.
Also, there's a board game that comes with it, obviously. So hey.
yeah. I've been doing Numenera pen and paper, which is
that's neat.
Yeah, I'm doing it with a couple people over Skype, and I've got my also regular D&D group. So that's fun.
When you summon in, when you use an amiibo in Breath of the Wild, what it does is it summons in some stuff plus a treasure chest if it's a supported amiibo.
Yeah.
And when you do that, occasionally, I think for Ocarina of Time, is it Ocarina of Time Link? No, it must be Wind Waker Link or 8-Bit Link. It summons in barrels. Some of those barrels are explosive from time to time. And the chest can fall on them and detonate the barrels.
And that means the chest goes flying off.
Yep. Among other things.
Oh, well, it's just got, like, fish in it anyway.
Yeah, it does. The treasure chests, however, are fairly fucking good because they've got good stuff in them.
Yeah.
So,
like a tuning.
So the amiibo, one thing you can do with the Wii U version is you can spoof amiibo straight from your computer, which is quite fun.
And you can do the amiibo that they only recently announced and haven't released yet, among other things.
You can get the Fierce Deity amiibo.
You can get Fierce Deity, you can get Squidward.
Squidward Sword. I think the amiibo thing is not a good thing in Breath of the Wild because it gives you unique items that cannot be obtained through other means.
It does.
That is not cool.
I mean,
that is not.
They're all
that
kind
is
of
not cool.
I say they're all kind of mediocre. I mean, they're unique visually, which means they're fashion, which means that they are relevant because fashion is the only thing that matters. But at the same time, they're not actually that good.
You can get a Epona, who is the best horse.
You can get a Epona, who is the best, however. That is true. I will give you
that. That is also the most common link that gives you the Epona one. It's the Smash Bros. One.
Yes.
Yeah, but
which I haven't
I'd
created
still
yet,
have to pay for that amiibo if I didn't already own it, which I do.
I mean, ultimately, it's not that different from what we've seen other companies do. So on a level of, well, they're doing things that other people aren't doing.
You can't say that. You can't say because he's
doing it.
I'm
not saying that
it's
good
okay.
because they're doing things that other people are doing. I'm not saying that. I'm not willing to give them like special criticism though that I wouldn't give to others, which I think some people do with Amiibo. On the topic of Amiibo, if you're willing, I say if you're willing,
worse than microtransactions. But it's not cool what they've done with this. It's lots of content. I think there are other worse examples of amiibos that do this. The thing in Smash Bros with the amiibo is actually kind of a dick because you get access to better AI through the amiibo. You know, it's a whole portion. There's a bit in Mario Party 10. There's a whole section of the game you cannot play without having an amiibo.
Stuff like that is what annoys me.
Yeah.
And
Amiibo Festival.
it
No one
annoys
bought
me
it.
more because they've obviously planned it in advance to be part of the game and then excised it
Yes,
for Amiibo support.
it's already there.
That's probably
The
what
amiibo
annoys me.
is a key.
Ultimately, though, I'm not averse to the idea of you buy one piece of DLC and it works across multiple games.
Yes, which is
But the
why.
problem with it is that it is not consistent.
Yeah.
If it had been like buy Amiibo, as in there is an Amiibo, you buy it, and then you have all of the stuff, then I would be okay with it. It's the fact that there are now like dozens, hundreds of Amiibo that you can get, and you need to get all of them if you want to get all the stuff. Which is where my piracy comes in, because hey, I don't give a fuck anymore, they can do whatever they want.
Hey, I mean, I've been getting all of my games from Nintendo completely free just by asking for them.
I
for a long
do
time.
have to sign off
That's
at this point.
That's fair enough. I mean, we've stopped anyway at this point, so...
Yeah.
I'll be
I mean,
going
I'm
to
getting it for
round.
free without asking, because I've got a 3DS that's custom firmwared up.
That's what
See
I'm
you.
saying. Yeah, you just.
It's
ping
the
their
only time
server
I've ever
and
felt
they go,
really
"Yep."
bad about pirating, if I'm honest with you. Like, legitimately really bad. Because ultimately, I'm not only am I pirating their stuff, I'm taking it from their server. And
I
that-
feel better about it because it's teaching them a lesson.
I
on
don't
such
feel good
shit
about it because it's
security.
insult to injury, and I don't really like
I love
insult
it.
to injury.
I love rubbing it in. Over recent years, since I guess the announcement of the Switch, maybe I've started to feel really like annoyed by Nintendo. I've always been a big Nintendo fan, and their business decisions. I guess since Iwata died, actually,
Yeah.
I've just thought, Nintendo, you are being shit.
The Amiibo thing I don't like. Other stuff I'm kind of okay with so far. I mean, they finally fucking got rid of region locking. Fucking finally. Which is a big kind of feather in their cap as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, that's good.
That was like the
online
big
now.
thing growing up was fucking region lock. And I fucking despise it. And they finally understood that their fucking strength is handheld and gone full fucking handheld, which I'm okay with. They can call like the Switch a home console if they want. The more I play it, and the more I have played it over the last now like month and a bit, 2 months nearly now, in fact, the more I recognise it is a handheld. It's not a fucking home console, even if they want to say it is. So I'm okay with that as well. There's other stuff towards the sides that I don't like. Like, I'm not a massive fan of treehouse localization. And
see, it doesn't bother me that much. This thing with the Zelda voice acting, that is terrible. And I think that's but
that's the kind of stuff I don't like.
The
That's the kind of stuff I actively
localization
dislike that they
itself,
do.
the things people were going on about with like Xenoblade Chronicles X, that didn't bother me too much.
Yeah.
The things with Sharp FE,
The censorship
Shin
stuff
Megami
I
Tensei,
care less about.
I don't
mean,
care
I'm
too much.
kind of like,
I prefer
whatever.
it wasn't there, but it's not going to stop me buying the game.
Exactly. I'm kind of like, well, I'd rather you just translated it and tried to, rather than localize it into a way that I understand through my own culture, let me understand another culture. Because that's why I play games from other cultures, because I find something about that particular thing that they're doing attractive. Like,
I'm fine actually with localization because I think that can help a game.
Localization,
like the Paper Mario series is great because it's localized. Like they had
I
to
phrased
completely
it
redo
wrong
this.
in that I said I don't like localization. I like localization, but decent localization shouldn't just
insert memes,
give me a
is what
perspective
you're
through the
saying.
prism of my own culture. It should help me attempt to understand the culture that it
I
has
see
originated
what you're
from.
saying. I think it's probably a very case by case basis.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I don't have too many problems with it. I know some people are very for like direct
Give me
translation and
transliteration,
stuff.
I hate
And it,
you. No, I
it's
don't like
like
that.
I don't want
That's
that.
not appropriate.
No, because it comes out sounding strange. often.
Absolutely, I completely agree. And I'm not advocating that in the slightest, and please don't ever let me convince you that I am. But at the same time, there is a lot more that you could do to make it more accurate without sacrificing the readability of and the enjoyment of it. Ultimately, I don't think I think there's more that they could do. I think that's more. That's not just Nintendo as well. That's lots of people that do that. But hey, that's another argument entirely. So I'm not that bothered.
things.
Basically, the sum total of this podcast should be go and play fucking Link to the Past randomizer because it's fucking fantastic. That's all I've got to say.
But I have to finish playing Metal Gear Solid. Well, as much of it as was created.
I now have a sub 150 in Link to the Past randomizer, which makes me very happy.
And is it randomized as in the dungeons are randomized, or your items
what is
are
randomized?
or...
Every item location in the game has had whatever you get in it randomized.
Okay.
So where you would have a treasure chest, what was in that treasure chest is not likely to be in that treasure chest anymore. Where someone would give you an item, it is likely that they will not be giving you the same item. There is a logic to it so that the game is always beatable. Also, the item that you get for beating the dungeon, so whether you get like the Pendant of Power or the 7th Crystal or whatever else, that is also randomized. Which is important as well.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on what mode you play, you might not start with a sword as well, which is always entertaining. Open mode does not start you with anything at all, including a sword. You have to get what you can find. But what I now know is every item location in the game, so I know where to check whenever I've got whatever item combination I've got. It's very entertaining. There was a one-off of it made. So basically, it's seed-based, so that you make a seed for the ROM, and then that seed is what you get for that particular ROM. But there was a handmade seed which also randomized every entrance and exit in the game.
Oh my god!
So every place that led to somewhere completely different.
And if you exited somewhere completely else as well?
No.
Okay.
Not that way, but the exit would lead you to where you entered, essentially, but it is not where you thought it would be originally. Which includes all the dungeons as well, which is entertaining, considering that some of the dungeons have multiple exits and entrances.
Oh no.
But they managed to match them all up. So Hyrule Castle has 3 entrance/exits. Is it 4? 3 or 4 exits/entrances. They managed to match that up with another one that has 3 or 4. And the Desert Palace has 3 as well. They managed to match that up, and it all matched together quite well, which is entertaining.
So does an exit always lead to the overworld?
Yes. That should be the case. I believe that was the case. But it did things that even like 100% speedrunners of the game wouldn't know, because you wouldn't. Even people who play the randomizer didn't know where they were going, because even in randomizer you don't go into fairy fountains, for example, because you don't need to. So you don't know where all the fairy fountains are in the game. But if you know, but you had to know where they were in order to finish the game, which was fun.
Mm.
So Roosty, are you picking up Mario Kart?
Of course.
Good.
But it's...
Online is still free, so yeah.
For now.
For now.
It's. Do you really play enough battle mode to care over the new version?
I have 3 brothers.
But I would absolutely play it on the train. No joke. I would absolutely play it on the train.
Yeah. Or on trips.
I don't really play Mario Kart other than with my family. So.
I have a 4-hour commute specs. Pity me, please.
Yeah, and there's nothing else on the Switch to play, I guess.
Well,
yeah.
I can still play Zelda, and I still would play Zelda.
Is Disgaea out yet? That'd give you some grinding hours.
I've never played Disgaea, so I probably wouldn't play it anyway, but I think it is out if you go... You buy it off the American store.
Well, ARMS is coming out soon. You can play that on the...
ARMS! It's ARMS, the fox.
ARMS! Soon followed by legs!
Yeah, maybe not.
Maybe heads.
But I'm okay. I'm okay with that. Puyo Puyo Tetris is the more important game that's coming out.
Legs already came out. It's called Dropkick.
Yes, it did.
Dive kick.
But fucking Puyo Puyo Tetris will be good. It'll be fantastic. It'll be AAA fantastic.
A surprising amount of people I know is really, really interested in the Octopath Traveler.
That's interesting.
I guess it's because it reminds them of traditional Final Fantasy.
Meanwhile, I've been playing Weeb Game as well. Weeb Game 5 is pretty weeb.
What's Weeb Game 5?
Weeb Game 5, the big Weeb game that came out. Yeah.
That you are not allowed to stream.
That you are allowed to stream, but only up until a certain point in the game.
It's so stupid.
It is so fucking stupid. I've already waxed lyrical on this one.
Which one is more stupid?
It's a fucking 7-month-old game, Atlas. You pieces of fuck.
Which one is more stupid? That you're not allowed... this one with the streaming, or Sakurai with the, I'm not going to do another Subspace Emissary?
No, that was stupid.
The Subspace Emissary is an excuse. It isn't the real reason why they're not doing it.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. Let's be honest.
They were trying
the
to
real
develop
reason they're
two
not doing
games
it
at the
is
same
because
time as they had for doing one game.
and the fact that they have probably, I would imagine they have probably done like focus testing and research, and have discovered that most people just did not give a flying fuck.
I liked it. But...
It is amazing.
I like
love
it because it is a not very good Kirby game, and I like Kirby games anyway. So I'm okay with this.
On top
But
of which,
at the
the
same time, I
cutscenes
can-
are incredibly funny.
They are, and that's what I like about them. But I understand that most people who buy Smash Bros. Probably just did not give a flying fuck about Subspace Emissary.
I'm so upset about Smash Bros. Because Smash Bros. 4, like, I have not played as much of it as I want to or as I should have. So I played like 800 hours of Brawl total, and that's not including after I modded it. And like, I put so many hours into modding that game. I made my own mods for it and stuff. And I have a friend who... He likes Smash Bros. too, but for some reason he gets really angry when he plays with me and my other friends. So I cannot play Smash Bros. Anymore
unfortunate.
because I upset my friend by playing Smash Bros.
On the plus side, if you ever do come to a bank meet, or a bong meet, or a meet,
or any meet
of some kind,
you'll
you'll end up playing themed Smash Bros. Fights. So it's great.
Nice. I look forward to it. Once again, the mods are occurring on Smash Bros. 4. I have been modding the shit out of it. Gonna start.
Oh my god,
cris-chan's
t-shirt is sold. His shirt is sold. Oh my god.
What?
$25,100
For what?
for his shirt.
What do you mean
What?
his shirt? Which shirt?
Cris-chan's shirt.
You mean that shirt?
This shirt.
Oh my god.
$25,100 dues.
25,000.
Someone bought the Sonic totem pole as well and showed it off on V as well, which was entertaining.
How much?
$1,500.
And that money to cris-chan.
And that money to Christine Chan.
Christine-chan.
I think you said it. She signed a certificate of authenticity that went along with it, by which I mean took a piece of paper, wrote certificate of authenticity in handwriting,
As you would,
and then signed it.
Exactly.
Yeah. As you would if you're Chris Chan.
Oh, the saga
makes
of
it
cris-chan
makes it even
continues.
more authentic.
Doesn't
it?
Have
It
you
never
s-
ends.
Have you seen all the stuff that's come out of Sonic Boom with cris-chan and
I lost all my
character?
tabs. I'm fucked.
there was a character in the Sonic Boom cartoon that was loosely based on cris-chan.
Loosely.
Yes. The arms.
But there was another episode more recently as well where they go to play a game called like Hippo Fighters 2 or something.
Nice.
And they say, "Oh, I don't know what happened to Hippo Fighters. Why don't we play it anymore?" And someone says, "Well, Hippo Fighters never translated well to 3D movements,
Yeah,
and nobody really enjoyed it."
They poke
And-
fun of themselves.
And Sonic said, "I just couldn't get over the fact that they coloured Hippo Fighters' legs blue." In the,
Love it. I love
I
it.
love
Yeah.
it's.
I
Sonic
love how
Boom
Sega
is
actually know
legit
and can poke
funny.
fun at themselves, even if
It's
they
not
ironically
Sega,
don't
it's
do
the
shit
animation
posting,
studio.
Yeah, the writers on that show are hilarious. It's
Yeah,
such a
The
good
Sonic
show.
Twitter is still my favorite video game related
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
Twitter as
quite
well.
funny.
And more Twitters like this are popping up, like Wendy's, for example.
Yeah, Wendy's do it. Wendy's and their fucking Game Grumps fucking love-hate affair.
What's that place? Arby's do the
Arby's that do the cardboard thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is
Twitter
really
Sonic.
really,
Sonic
really
the
cool.
Hedgehog. At Sonic Hedgehog.
yeah.
The official Twitter feed. The Sonic Mania CE will change your life forever. I'm sure it will. Looks like a Mega Drive cartridge. Neat. What I've been playing recently, because I've been using my Wii U again recently, was Bayonetta. So
That's just come out on Steam as well.
it has. I played it on Steam, and then you know what? I really want to play Bayonetta 2 again. So I played Bayonetta 2 again.
I need
Holy
to play
fuck! It's such a
through-
good game.
I need to play through Bayonetta 1 again because I know I missed some weapons in my first playthrough of it.
I kinda want a Bayonetta 3 for the Switch. Just to
I'd
see
be fine with
all
this.
the people
I
whining
want to see
again.
I would
I
like
don't
to see
know
the
that it's
shitstorm
gonna
that happens
happen.
there as well.
I don't know that it's going to ever be a Bayonetta 3. I don't think it's profitable, is it?
It's obviously not. I mean, it's a platinum game, so platinum games never ever sell to start with, and it's a platinum game
that didn't sell for a Platinum game.
I want to see a Vanquish PC port.
I
really
would
want to
like
play
to
that.
see them do Bayonetta 2 Switch. Because that would be an interesting benchmark of, are people willing to get this? Because part of Bayonetta 2 could have been, partially at least, the fact that
People didn't want the Wii U.
people didn't want the Wii U.
Yeah, that's true.
So more people are buying the Switch, and it might make people... Again, I think we'll see a lot of Wii U port / remaster / whatever's on the Switch to start
Get
with.
Lego City!
I
It's such a
am not
great
interested in Lego
game.
City, but I'm aware that it is of decent
It is
quality.
such a funny game!
I don't
Holy
like the
shit.
Lego games since they started doing voice acting in them because I found
Actually-
the visual jokes very funny. In
I like
the
I like
earlier
a
ones.
visual joke as well. It
Well,
is
they
much
do
more
a lot of
entertaining.
references and some sort of references through jokes. And there's only one character that is annoying in Lego
Oh
City.
god.
Yeah, it's Honey.
This thing here.
Huh?
This thing? Can
Clickety
can I
click.
just go straight to this? I don't know how Twitter works. I am marvelously oblivious.
I want a proper WarioWare
Copy
game
link to tweet.
that
I
that
think
utilizes the
1-2
Joy-Cons?
Switch should have been a
I like the
WarioWare
Twitter
game
feed.
and should have been better.
Yeah.
And
I
things.
agree.
and I want a Monster Hunter.
Monster Hunter, I think, is inevitable.
I think Monster Hunter needs to step up its game and stop being the same game every time it's released.
The
because
problem is it's exactly not been that. Or maybe no, they changed the wrong things.
yes,
The thing is, Monster Hunter is Japanese COD. It's
That's
Japanese
true.
Call of Duty. The problem, and this is as a player who played a fuck ton of Call of Duty over the last 10 years, let me tell you about Call of Duty for a second. When you go up to someone who plays Call of Duty and you say, why do you play for the same game every year? It's the same fucking game, why are you doing it? They will look at you and they will go, this person doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about. Because the differences between each version are large enough, if you play the game and appreciate it, that they won't care. Because they are different. And the way that you approach each game is different, the equipment that you use in each game is different, the maps are all different, the people that you play with and how you play with them are all different. So what you're looking at is you don't have the appreciation to say, this is the same game every time, when it isn't.
okay,
And that's what it is with Monster Hunter. When you play Monster Hunter, you know the differences between each version of the game, and you appreciate the differences between each version
I
of the game.
do, but I like Monster Hunter, and for me, it's not enough. And Monster Hunter games come out rapidly enough that I can't have played enough of the last one to like be
I
done
can
with it before the next
broadly
one
agree with
comes
that.
out. What I want to see is now I'm going to use the term open world.
You
and
want
I
to
don't
see
mean-
non-partitioned off sections
yes,
of
that's,
the map.
That's what I mean exactly. Yeah,
Yeah, it could work. It could work.
I want to
it
see
could-
some more hunting in Monster Hunter.
I think the thing with areas and loading and whatever else is that's part of the game design and balance. That's how you can balance out enemies having fucking ridiculous move patterns and moves, because you can just go to another area and they can't affect you when you're in that other area, and you can take the time, you can heal up, you can do other stuff.
You can
It's
sharpen.
far more difficult to do something like that and retain the same kind of flow of the battle if you don't have that partitioned loading.
Yeah.
That's why
Plus-
they do it, essentially.
Plus,
I
on top of
guess.
which, they utilize this transition to basically make you walk huge distances.
Yes. I'm not saying
theoretically.
you're wrong, by the way, in that they shouldn't make a kind of open-y, worldy style in that you've got a larger area that isn't partitioned off.
Yeah.
But that's the reason that they do those things,
Yeah.
because it gives you that ability to say, nope, fuck it, I'm out, and then leave for a couple
That's
of
true.
minutes.
I
it's
find
not
that
like-
if I'm playing in a party of people, though, usually I will be able to say to my friend, "Can you take the boss for a bit while I sharpen up my sharpen up my weapon?" You know, I don't often leave areas to go and sharpen, or I'll
It's-
wait until the monster is running away to sharpen. But that wouldn't be a problem even if there weren't areas. So.
Part of it is understanding that there are very, very different requirements between us people in the West who play Monster Hunter, and people over in Japan playing it, and they only care about the people in Japan who play it. The fact that we like Monster Hunter is kind of incidental. It's nice, but it's incidental to them. They only care about the Japanese audience. They will only do what the Japanese audience wants. And they very much want them to keep it the fucking same. So I don't think you'll see it for quite some time.
I mean, Try and 3U worked very well.
Try to switch it up with water combat, and they got rid of a lot of the bloat.
That was the first one I played. That
They
was
got
my
rid of
introduction.
huge amounts of bloat.
Same. Try.
Mine was,
I have the huge chest. The huge
mine
chest
was
version.
Freedom Unite on the PSP. There is a lot of bloat in that game because it was the last game in the series at that point, I guess.
Yeah, that's the final point of. It was basically
the
2
final
Ultimate.
point. I never found my slippers, by the way. I still don't know where they are. I'm very confused. My feet are starting to get cold, so I'm
But
going to look for those in a
for
minute.
example, I just could not get into 4, and I think it has a large part of it has to do with the 3DS.
Yeah, I can agree with that in parts, but it was also released at the exact same time at... Oh, sorry, not 3. No, 4 would never got released, did it? I was thinking of 3 Ultimate there for a second.
No, 4 Ultimate on the
no.
3DS.
4 Ultimate on the 3DS. Yeah, I can see why that would be a
That's
problem.
the last one I've played. Those are the only 2 I've played, actually.
I
played
like X.
4, and
X is fine.
I think I've played
or Cross,
X
or whatever they
actually
called
now
it.
as well. But I haven't had time to play Monster Hunter since 3, really. So I haven't played much of 4.
I haven't. I also don't play anywhere past G rank, so I get to G rank and then I do a little bit more and then I tend to stop. Which I realise I'm playing like a fraction of the game by doing that, but that's I tend to get fatigued with the game long before I reach the end game. That's just how I work with games at the time.
Mm.
The thing is, Monster Hunter for me needs to be on a big screen, not on a small one.
I
with a
would
low
prefer it
resolution.
on the
That's
biggest
why
screen.
I'd like it on the Switch, because then you could have it
You've
on the
got
big
both.
screen.
Exactly.
And I think that's part of why you will definitely see it on the Switch, because the Japanese will lap it up. They will lap it up.
Yeah.
It will be exactly what they want. And it will be all things to all people. The Switch, in fairness to it, I wasn't convinced when they said we're going to make a machine that's all things to all people. But they did.
Yeah.
And it is all things to all people.
I
pretty much.
think it's a very good idea and it's a good concept because they've also managed to combine their task forces so they
Yes.
can put out more games.
They can put out
Because
portable and
the
console games at the
drought
same
on
time.
the Wii U has been awful, and it busts that up because you can produce twice the amount of games in the
Yes.
same space of time. But where was I going with this?
3DS?
It's 3DS. I can't remember. I've completely forgotten my point now. I'm sorry.
It was combining their task force into one
Combined
and
their
one monthly
task- There was
repayment.
something more I was going to say about it, though. I mean, like
the concept.
Oh no, I remember where I was going. Concept is good. They aren't realizing it yet.
No, they haven't.
There are not enough games coming out this year.
It's difficult when you release a console. I mean, I look at other consoles. I look at throughout history. The opening year of a console is rarely fucking amazing and fantastic. Rarely. I mean, you get outliers like the Super Nintendo, which had a fucking amazing year one, but I can't remember many consoles or handhelds that have had great first years. Then you get the PS4, which had a bad first year and a bad second year. For me, at least.
Yeah, I keep thinking I want to get a PS4, but then if I think about it hard, I think, what games do I actually want on the PS4? And there's actually very few.
There are.
There
I
is-
have very few PS4 games on my shelf.
I
I'm happy
currently-
with the ones I have.
Currently, there is none that is really interesting me.
No, I
Like,
can see that.
There's a lot of games that I think I would play that because I would have a PS4, but it's not a reason to get
Yeah, I
PS4.
agree.
So there's Bloodborne, which I know you like Bloodborne very much.
I don't
and,
play
people
Souls games.
like
I
Bloodborne.
do.
I don't really play Souls games, so if I had a PS4, I might get it and play it
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I had a PS4. I want to play Persona 5, but
PS3.
PS3. I don't have a PS3 either, but I can
Oh,
play
okay.
it. The PS3 emulator is actually coming along very
Neat.
smoothly. And my friend, one of my best friends, my brother's girlfriend, she also is really into Persona, so we're going to play it together at her
Neat.
house essentially.
Nice.
So I don't need to get Persona.
It's a fun game.
I could
Do
get.
you like Persona games in general?
Oh yeah,
Or-
I played Persona 3, Persona 4, and really liked those.
Yeah,
I'm
you'll like this then.
halfway through Shin Megami Tensei 4.
You'll like
which
this
I
a lot
really
more
like.
because there's a lot more SMT influence in it than Persona 3 and 4.
Yeah, so
And-
I've heard that there's demon negotiation.
There
and
are indeed.
Since I started playing SMT4, I've been like, if there was a Persona game with demon negotiation, that would be the best.
The thing that a lot of people
JRPG
didn't like about
ever.
Persona was how they kind of took like little bits of SMT, but they weren't willing to commit. Like the shadows, the monsters, I guess, they weren't really demon related, even though sometimes they were. All of the shadows in Persona 5 are demons from SMT. All of the bosses are demons from SMT. It is they went full SMT with it, as far as they can go, while retaining the Persona formula.
Oh, I like that. I think
yeah, I don't have any major issues with it, if I'm honest with you. I mean, I've never really played SMT properly. I don't really have any interest in it because my overall interest in the JRPG genre is very low as a whole. So I'm not going to do more than one or two at most a year. If like one every couple of years, maybe.
They're a big investment, to be fair. Like it's.
I mean, ultimately,
I
keep going back to action games, and I put more time into action games. I put more time into shooters like Titanfall, where there's like high skill quotient and I can compete in them. I put time into fighting games. I put time into older games like Link to the Past, which I keep doing speedrunning.
Yep.
Gotta do that randomizer, mate. Speaking of, when is he starting? Is he starting today, or did he stream yesterday? I guess he streamed yesterday. Oh well. There's a weekly race for... Actually, no, it's going to be in about an hour's time. That's great. There's a weekly race of like 30 people that do Link to the Past randomizer. And I enjoy watching it.
Yeah, that sounds fun, actually.
You're on the same seed, so it's not like you're all on different seeds. So it's not like that.
Yeah.
But you're all doing the same game, but no one knows where everything is. So it all comes down to, is your routing good? Do you know what you're doing? Do you know where all the items are? Do you forget anything like a fucking retard and lose it for 50 minutes? Watched people do that before. Like people with like...
It's always so sad when that happens and someone's just behind for the entire...
Like, it's not even for the entire thing. It's like they can be ahead for the entire thing and then forget something. I've seen people who have got like sub 130 times in the main game, so in the base game. That's really good, by the way. Sub 130 is really good. Just forget that they've not checked a particular place, and that one place has the one item that they need to continue the game. It's got like the hammer, or it's got the moon pearl, or something stupid. You just forget. But randomizer
What does
is really
the moon
fun.
pearl do again?
The moon pearl is what stops you from being a bunny in the dark.
Oh yeah.
You can still go to the Dark World with it, by the way. You don't actually need it to do quite large portions of the game, but if you can't find it, you have a severe issue. I've also watched people hold off on doing something that they absolutely positively do need to do, but they don't want to do it because it takes a long time. But if they'd done it earlier, they would have been ahead. So it's stuff like that. Stuff like doing Agatnim, so like the Hyrule Castle. You don't have to do it most of the time in Randomizer. You don't have to do it at all, because you can normally get to the Dark World without doing it, and you can normally get to the Pyramid without doing it. But there's one item that requires you to do Agatnim, and that's the Lumberjack Tree. You cannot get into the Lumberjack Tree without having done him. And if you can't get into the Dark World, you have to do him because he is the only way into the Dark World if you can't get there otherwise. And his there's a logic to how there's logic to how the ROM hack places the items, and if you play it for long enough, you get a kind of feel as to where it likes to put certain items. So I know, for example, in the older version of the one, they released one like 2 days ago that I'm now on, but in the older version, they liked putting the Pegasus boots up in Death Mountain. And I don't know why they did that, and I don't know why that would be a thing, but I found it there like many times when I was playing through the game, and I was like, okay, well, you put that there, do you? Well, that's interesting. Flippers on the pyramid was a thing. I don't know, but it's really interesting. Flippers on the pyramid.
It's quite absurd, I think.
Quite absurd. But no, I streamed it a couple of times on the channel.
Hey, the orange asshole is here.
The orange asshole? Oh, cat.
Yeah, cat.
Slap
I love
him!
your cat.
Slap him! We'll have that. I think that's still saved as a clip on
It is, yeah,
Twitch.
it is. Hey, cat, are you an asshole? Bap.
Yeah, I remember that. Right, I'll talk to you guys at the next podcast. I
Whenever it
guess.
happens.
Yeah.
Fairly well.
Yeah.
On the next Angry Jojo.
Bye!
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 Are you gonna stream Moogle?
Not right now.
Oh, okay.
Bye!
Bye!